क्या?
पता नहीं भाई कौन जीतेगा। हमारा चैट किधर है?
जितने लोग भी @VCT करके डाल रहे हैं ना, उन सबका वो ट्विटर का जितना भी ट्वीट होता है वो सब यहाँ पर आता है नीचे की तरफ। टीम है ये, पता है ये जो वाइटैलिटी पेरिस, ओ ये एस्पेरोटी, ये हाँ 3 गेम। अबे पगला है क्या, ये देख ये अभी 10 नहीं, ये बजेगा 11 बज जाएगा, 11 से 12 बज जाएगा जी का, ठीक। 12 बजे से लेकर 2 बजे तक उसका चलेगा, 2 से 3 मैच होने हैं, सुबह तक चलेगा ये सुबह के। सोनम गुप्ता बेवफा है। ओए ओए हैशटैग वीसीटी सोनम गुप्ता बेवफा है लिखना। ये लिख, तू यही लिख। कौन स्ट्रीम कर रहा? ये लिख, स्ट्रीम कर रहा, लिख दे। पहले तू लिखियो सोनम गुप्ता बेवफा है हैशटैग वीसीटी। क्या कर रहा यही लिख। रोटी अरे बैंड क्या बस इंडिया इंडिया ने चालू हो गए, बस बना दिया इन लोगों ने। कर कौन लिख रहा? लिख 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 सोनम गुप्ता बेवफा है। ऐसी मजा आएगी ना। मैं ट्वीट में जाता ना, वो देखिए जो नीचे एक ऐड आ रहा है उसके नीचे देखिए एक वो ट्विटर का वो चल रहा होगा, उसमें सबका जितने भी लोग हैशटैग करके लिखते हैं ना वो जाता है। तो वही उसमें मैं बोल रहा हूँ हीलिक्स को, हीलिक्स का भी लिख के आएगा वहां पर सोनम गुप्ता बेवफा है।
हेलो, अरे मुझे ये बता तू, ये तो मोबाइल से स्ट्रीम कर रहा है?
मोबाइल
तो स्ट्रीम कर।
बिंग सब है, बिंग क्लियर है ना उसका, बिंग का।
नहीं, मैं भी कर रहा हूँ, परमिशन मिल गई।
देख रहे हो पर सिटी वालों ने बात कर ली इसने। जरा हमारे हमको बैटल पास का थोड़ा सा पैसा दिलवा दो यार, बात करके।
अरे पागल,
हमें दिलवा दो।
देखने की परमिशन मिल गई है साहब।
वही तो। अरे थोड़ा सा फायदी बात करना, थोड़ा सा वीसीटी वालों से बोलना रायत बड़ी दिलाने के लिए।
अरे वो तू भी ले सकता है भाई। अरे बताता हूँ। अरे वो रिवॉर्ड्स में जा, वो इसमें जा। चलो भाई, थंबनेल कॉपी किया जाए रोम्बो भाई का। थैंक यू सो मच रोम्बो भाई। भाई रोम्बो भाई, थंबनेल तो भेजो पहले।
डालोगे तभी तो नाम आएगा।
अरे भेज दो यार, ऐसा मत करो यार प्लीज।
अरे
प्लीज
टीप लो
यार।
ना यार, राइट क्लिक मार के टीप लो।
मतलब
चालू नहीं किया अभी देखो। ड्रॉप का ऑप्शन होता है, वो ड्रॉप अभी चालू नहीं किया। अबे तू पगला है, रुक जा मैं ही कर दे रहा हूँ। मुझसे मांग रहा है आईडी, पगला है। रुक जा मैं ट्वीट कर दे रहा हूँ। अब थोड़ी ना ट्वीट दिखाई देगा, चालू होगा क्या? अबे पिक चालू हो गया क्या? अबे यार छोड़ दे ही ले।
Sinceramente, pelo histórico que
Iतना घंटा
eu
लग गया है
conheço
तो
da
निकालने
Vitality,
में
eu acho que é uma organização que vai puxar bem os players mais promissores,
इसको।
sabe?
तो रुको
Então, eu acredito que pelo tamanho da organização, a Vitality
इतना
leva
टाइम
esse
लग
jogo
रहा था
amanhã.
करने में, छोड़ दे अब
Porque a
थोड़ी
qualidade
दिखाई
dos
देगा, अब
players,
तो अगले मैच में
eu
दिखाई देगा।
acredito que seja melhor.
ये बोल रहा फ्रेंड्स
Então,
फ्रेंड्स
que
है
eu
वो,
conheço a
क्योंकि
Vitality,
वाइटैलिटी
até por
फ्रेंड्स है
isso
ना।
tem um peso um pouquinho assim. Aí você
ये तो
vê assim,
ब्राजीलियन बोल रहा।
você confia um pouco mais. Mas a Global Esports pode surpreender.
आने दो, कहाँ है इसके रोसे? देखो पहले ही दिख गया इनको ऐसे।
साइड में
As
था
I gaze
इसके
upon the beautiful sights of Sao Paulo, Brazil, I wonder to myself, did I leave the oven on back home? That's a future Alex problem to solve. Anyway, hello everyone and welcome to day
Hello,
8 of
VCTLockin.
Coming at you
Welcome.
live from the Ginásio do Ibirapuera, of course, right here in Brazil. I'm Golden Boy. Joining me on the desk to break down all of the goodness, it's going to be Mimi and Achilles. We
Pure
can't seem to
GE
get away
lineups
from
का
each
नाम
other.
बोलो
It's in my
XD.
writer, yet somehow I keep getting
मैं तो
paired with
Global
you. How you feel today?
Esports.
I feel good. I really hope you didn't leave the oven on. That would be pretty tragic. We're going on like 15 days here.
Yeah.
I also would hope that your wife would have turned it off by
चालू
now.
दे।
I
Surely
you know
she
what?
would have noticed.
Yeah, no,
Rombo
just
खोल के रखो,
plain
तुम
switch
ये
for
खोल
way
के
too
बैठो।
long. In any case, though, let's go ahead and talk about yesterday's first
अबे यार
wave of the
क्यों कर
Omega
रहा है
bracket
यार
matches because we
भाई,
had three
क्या
teams that
नाटक
entered
है?
the biggest VCT event ever.
तो मैं
And of course, first up, Team Secret pretty much ruined everyone's bracket.
अबे सारे
I don't
players
think anyone is particularly mad about that. They take down Team Liquid in a convincing 2-0 fashion. And I mean, Mimi, this was. I'm not trying to.
ये लाइकन का भाई देखा क्या?
Because,
लाइकन का भाई
at the
हंसते
end
हुए.
of the day, they played unbelievable, but man, we had high expectations for this Liquid squad, and they definitely fell short.
Yeah, Liquid very much disappointed. I think they know it themselves. But the moment was Team Secrets, and they came out and played Valorant so much better
देख रहे हो
than
हेलिक्स
what
स्पेक्टर
I
से कैसे हेडशॉट पे
expected.
मार रहे जा
The
रहे हैं.
players debuting on the international stage, for those that were new, looked fantastic. Jeremy in particular was having a really, really good game, and their ideas I felt like were really
अरे
solid
हमें
as
भी
well.
दिल कर रहा है
Good
लोग खेलने का,
coordination,
खेलते हैं
good
क्या थोड़ा
util
थोड़ा.
combos.
छोड़ो
It
ना
just
ये
looked like
VCT.
such a well-drilled squad that I'm
देखो
really,
टीम
really
कैसे
excited,
बनती है.
that they were able to find that.
खेल
exit.
खेलेगा थोड़ा सा मैच खेल लेते
It
हैं ना,
was
क्या
a
देखने का फायदा
monstrous
है?
performance from Secret,
It
one
was.
that we couldn't have anticipated, but one that I am more than happy to see go
भाई यहाँ पे हम बफर
teams.
करना पूरा
And
देखना.
yeah, I mean, a couple bright spots from the side of TL at times. Nats in particular going over to the Cypher looked very, very good. He was basically the one who was keeping them in that game. But they were very much outshined by Secret. An explosive performance from them, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in the next round versus Na'Vi.
Yeah, and of course, looking forward for us here. You know, we
अबे
did
रुक जा,
have that Na'Vi game,
अबे
as
रुक
you
जा.
mentioned, and they took on Crew. And again, another 2-0 here, a day of
A little bit.
चल गया,
Sure,
चल गया.
sure. Decided to go for Lotus. It looked a little bit wishy-washy from both
but they're still
sides.
facing off against Crew.
अबे रोम्बो का
But it was
अभी
a
जस्ट रोम्बो
bold
निकला.
choice, I think, for Crew to
मोटा
elect to go to Ascent. We have seen Na'Vi
इतना मोटा हूँ मैं
or
क्या?
FPX go absolutely crazy on
क्या
this
देख रहे हो?
map.
कहाँ
Now
देख
you've
रहे हो?
got
ये
Cena
Valorant
turning his
champion
jet
तो
back on Ascent. Those
ट्विच
things
में
go
चल रहा है
together
ना
like bread
ऑफिशियल
and
वो
butter.
ट्विच पे
Valorant
भी
का.
है.
They were able to just run
मैं
away
भी
with that
स्ट्रीम
one.
कर रहा था.
Little bit of
भाई ये सीक्रेट लेफ्ट से चेयर मिल जाए बस.
on Lotus, but then Angel just
कहाँ पे
started
स्ट्रीम कर रहे हो?
wow.
Interesting things. Angel was the interesting thing for me. This man was rolling back the years, teleporting into people's spawns, dropping, I think, like 30 kills on Omen. You don't see those performances from him very often, but it was very impressive. Obviously, the Lotus game plan didn't work out quite how they wanted. I think Crew had a good idea of how to play in that first half,
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
comeback still very impressive by Na'Vi.
Yeah, and then
match
moving
तो चालू
forward
नहीं कर
from
रही
that,
है.
though, our last match of the day, we of course had Leviathan going up against Zeta Division, and this one was an interesting battle because we heard about the scrim bucks from Leviathan. We all thought that maybe they were going to start to cash them in here in Brazil, and then for Zeta, Seth, we were worried what would happen with a team that hadn't really changed their
IT
components of the roster,
Akshat.
but mixed things up internally.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, it was a very one-sided affair. On Ascent, you could tell that things were getting very scrambled. The communications were a bit muddled. What with that TP there from Melzer just boldly getting himself up onto the box in heaven, taking them down.
भाई
They were able
पट्टी
to
वट्टी लगा के आ गया ये बंदा.
competitive map out of Pearl. 13-11 at the end. It was looking like they were going to be able to take us into that overtime.
और ये सब हाफ पैंट में कैसे आ गए?
Fall shy of the mark, and I lost
कुछ भी चल रहा है इधर तो.
a piece of my heart and a Pacific team that has to go home.
Yeah, but a piece of my heart grew with that one because watching Leviathan live up to those scrim bucks was awesome.
Sure.
We so often see teams that we hear these
इनका
amazing
स्टेडियम
things
देखा
about them
कितना
and then
अजीब
they
सा
play
है।
a
देखो
match
पीछे आ
and
गए
don't really
पीछे आ
live
गए
up to it.
वो देखो
And I felt
एस्करोसी
like
दिख रहा है मुझे।
Leviathan
हाँ हाँ
had
दिख
that
रहा है
bit
दिख
of
रहा
a
है ये।
say for the rest of their future in this bracket.
Yeah, well, let's just hope that the bank account continues to
अरे आते
pay
हुए
out
दिखाना
for
चाहिए था भाई।
Leviathan because we'll see where we are right now in the Omega bracket with those matches concluding. Leviathan will be waiting the winner of our first game of
क्या
the day,
क्या?
which of course is going to be EMEA's Vitality.
उनका कुछ कैमरा क्वालिटी कुछ ज्यादा ही वो मतलब
Esports,
डिस्टॉर्टेड
which
नहीं
we're
है।
all really excited about. And then
हाँ
we
ऐसा तो
have
लग रहा
our
है।
Q versus
तो ऐसा
FUT
मतलब
as
कुछ ज्यादा ही
well as
शार्पनेस डाल दी
Levi's
है,
taking
ज्यादा
the
ही गंदा
stage
लग
as
रहा है
they
अब
go
देखने में।
toe to toe with Edward's very own
यूट्यूब पे
Nvme.
स्ट्रीम कर रहे हो क्या?
So I
हाँ
am.
हाँ।
Hopefully we meet him. Here's
Edwards, surely it would be Edwards Gamers.
Edward's Gamers.
जी बादित्य
Edward
कोरियन
is
जेट।
Gamers.
अच्छा
Edward
देखते हैं
is
भाई
gaming. Edward is
एस्पेरो से क्या खेलने वाला है।
actually, and we're gonna see that
रॉसी
in a little while.
जेट खेलेगा या सोवा
You know
कोई
what,
इसमें से एक
guys?
चूज करता है
रॉसी
उसका।
रॉसी
Here today, and they're so talented.
हेलिक्स क्या खेलने वाला गेस कर हेलिक्स
Everyone brings
बैट
जेट
लगा हेलिक्स
खेलेगा।
different to the table, right? And I was thinking,
जेट
how
खेलेगा
cool will it be?
उसका ऑपिंग देखना है भाई सुने कि एस्केरोसी का ऑपिंग बहुत ज्यादा अच्छा है।
What would the
How's that
ultimate?
cool?
अगर कुछ अच्छा नहीं है उसका
तो है
Watch.
और उसके रॉसी को पॉटी बना दो।
What would the
पॉटी बनाएगा देख देख
player in Valorant? What would that
चैलेंज कर रहा है तू खड़े खड़े।
यार कोरियन वाले आ रहे हैं ना तगड़े
अबे
बंदे।
इसके रॉसी को नहीं आता है खेलना। मैं सिखाता हूँ इसके रॉसी को।
देख जा जा जाके तू खेल VCT भाई।
A super player.
अबे यार टीम में
Yeah,
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट
Kate
मिले ना
Kroll
अभी
is
18 का
so
नहीं हुआ।
insulted about this bit. But I like it.
अरे
Let's see
भाई
what-
मैं बताऊं
Yeah,
कोरियन
okay,
वाले
well,
अच्छे
let's
खेल
go
जाएंगे।
ahead.
मनी
Who
और
wants to- who wants to
मनी
take
एट
the
और
first
जितने भी
How's
बंदे
this
आए हैं
gonna
ना
work? Are we,
तीन
like,
दो बंदे
shoving-
और जो है वो अच्छा खेल सकते हैं।
तीनों कोरिया के हैं क्या?
We are taking the best parts
दो
of
कोरिया
players
के
and
एक
then turning
जापानीज
them
है
into one
बाकी दो हमारे
superhuman.
इंडियन है आर्यन और कहते हैं
Okay.
एस्केरोसी।
Okay,
With
I like
arms.
the illustrative.
That's what I'm
hand
trying to do
motions.
here,
Talking
all right?
with your
Because everyone's
hands.
got me on mute anyway, so I'm just trying to let them go ahead and see my hands.
Yeah.
So let's start with the
बीच में
head.
बैठा है
Okay,
शायद से
'cause
वही है
we
कैप्टन
gotta
मेरे
have the
ख्याल से
brains
आईजी
to
वही
start
बन रहा है।
things off. Who wants to take a stab first?
I can nominate
Okay.
a player. Out of the 6 teams that we're seeing today, I think one the IGLs did.
लाइकन ये तेरे लिए सही रहेगी?
I
Okay.
think last year with 100
ये बफर
Thieves,
कैसे
he
कर
elevated that
दी?
team a lot.
ये तेरे लिए सही रहेगी। एक ही अभी एक ही टाइम पे बफर कर दी भाई।
अरे 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 विटलेटी टीम है क्या ये?
And I'm excited to see what he can bring out coming in
100 Thieves की टीम।
here. So I think that
हाँ।
Stellar,
तो देखो सीमा को देखो सीमा को देखो
Okay, so
ए
Stellar,
ये
the
नया
lead
टीम है।
side, Anna as well.
हीको चला गया क्या?
Which
अबे
is
तो बस
obviously
अबे
Is that a
तो
criteria
क्या
that we're
खिला
looking
रहा
at
है
this one?
I would think so.
Jealous.
There it
अरे
is.
कौन
चला
चिल्ला
रहा
All
है
right, so
भाई?
we've attached Stellar's head.
टीम में चला
All right, let's
गया
go ahead and move
अबे
on to the right arm. This is for
अबे यार
aiming,
दिक्कत हो रहा है
because obviously we're all right-handed here except for
नहीं यार
the
दिक्कत हो रहा
monsters
है
that
देख ना
play
मेरे तो
games
कुछ
with
भी
their
नहीं चल
left
रहा
hand.
है
I'm kidding, of course. I know, probably, but he's a monster. Seth.
So we're focusing on aim.
तुम लोग का वाईफाई क्या हो गया?
Today.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's some good
वाईफाई नहीं
Then
दिक्कत
it
हो
has to
रहा है
be
पता नहीं
green
कुछ है।
texture. Unsurprising that I would go with this guy. Also, shout out to Hello
Shocker.
India, GE fighting. I'm gonna go with texture.
Global
This guy
esports
is
finally here.
One of the best Korean jets. I like that we just have his arm.
Yes.
And,
अच्छा को
yeah, this guy was the most consistent jet that we had in Korea last year. The performances that he's been able to put up, you could always
गाना
rely
प्यारा
on
तो
him
है।
to be able to get a trade, if not a 2-for-1. Just incredible player.
Well, surely you would want 2 arms from the same player. Surely you'd worry about coordination if he's
No,
moving
no,
up.
no, no, no. We want to
No?
just mishmash all of the body parts
Okay.
together. Don't you see we're creating a monster?
All
All right. Well, left arm. When I think of left arm, I think of
Using your
utility
keyboard.
usage and
Sure.
using your keyboard. What you got to do there. So let's see. Do you want to take a stab at this one, Seth? Who do you have?
I would go for, and this might shock people, Tebutal, actually.
Okay.
In this one. Tebutal, yes, I'm going for Pacific players. This guy was
Do you watch other
electric
regions?
all the way back in Champions, occasionally when they're competing in international competition against Pacific teams. This guy was the reason that they were in the game versus Optic, the reason that they were able, again, it's just an arm, the reason they were able to win that breeze. The guy dropped 38
कितने मजाक करते भाई ये
versus
लोग।
Optic.
Okay.
He got
All
That's
right.
pretty impressive.
That was it was an incredible
He
performance.
had some
and he
good
was
usage during that. Flexible player.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Seth. This makes sense.
Okay. Well, all right. No disagreement there. But now we got to figure out the chest. All right. What is the
what
chest?
could that possibly
The
be
chest
in
can be
esports
the
setting?
tenacity.
पैरी कहाँ भाग गया?
And maybe good luck.
ये क्या कर रहे हो रामू भाई ये
So
क्यों बता
who's
ये
got
क्या कर
good
रहे हो बार बार
lungs, maybe?
डिस्कॉर्ड खोल के क्या नाटकी कर रहे
I
हो
don't,
ये
I
तो
don't know about
फ्रेंच
inspecting players' lungs.
देख रहा हूँ।
Doctor, but I
चार
would
बंदे हैं
assume
अपन
that
इधर।
tenacity would be
हाँ
powerful.
स्ट्रीम की आईडी लीक कर दो बैठ के
For one of the teams debuting today. Vitality.
नहीं लीक होगा।
The highest of heights.
अरे वो मैग्मा आपकी स्ट्रीम देख रहा है बैठ के और वो देख रहा है डिस्कॉर्ड में कौन-कौन बैठा है वो सब।
Goes in place tier 2 with Vitality. Yet he still
वो कह रहा है मुझे तो मैंने उसका बंद करवा दिया VCT में, कह रहा हूँ YouTube में देखे बैठ के मेरा यहाँ बफर मार रहा है। या ये अभी भी लंगड़ा है यार, ये देख इतना हरामजादा आदमी है ये नेट सीनेट नावी में चला गया ये बंदा।
Great points, Mimi. Nailed it.
बफर क्यों कर रहा है भाई?
The movement. All right.
You don't move with your legs in Valorant.
Whatever, man.
ऐसे तो 90 आता रहेगा स्पीड जैसे ये भी अबे यार 1080p में देख ले भाई, तू मना कर रहा बे, इतनी स्पीड नहीं आती 10 एमबी की आ रही है।
But also, you know, we
ओए देख ले 10 एमबी
Sorry,
अभी
sorry.
44 पे चला है
I mean, from movement, as far as movement is what we had seen last year,
Chला
we're
दे
going
यार।
to be going for an Asian player. This is going to be Kong Kong. The guy took the world by storm. He unfortunately didn't have as strong of a performance at Champions, but on the chamber, he was so
यही करते रहो, बैठ के देख भी नहीं पा रहा ढंग से।
That counts as movement. But also just the way that he's able to maneuver
मेरे भी यार
around. I'm sure that we're going to be seeing playing some other things that are very movement heavy, such as
ओह
Jet in this
ये देख
tournament.
कितने मारा।
Yeah, I got to go with
चल
Kong
रही
Kong. So we got Kong
ठीक
Kong
ठीक
first.
चल रही थोड़ी
The
थोड़ी।
streets are talking. Kong Kong's been
बताओ यार
in the gym
कितनी
every day.
क्वालिटी
Every day
गिरानी
is
पड़ी।
leg day for this guy, and he has formed the perfect pair of legs to create the optimal esports player.
Can we show the picture again
Can we
just
see
real
the
fast?
our
I
entire
really, I just
क्या
want to see.
नहीं अरे मैं कम
just
किया हूँ ना,
the
मेरा
heinous
बफर कर रहा है,
amount
मैं
of
तो उसको सही दिखा दूँ यार।
How do we feel like we did?
I feel like
the proportions
the
are
proportions
all
are
off.
very
I mean,
off on
Stellar's
this.
head is massive.
या मैं
bro.
आपकी
But here's
स्ट्रीम
the thing,
देखूं
it's
बफर,
important.
अरे यार
So
डिले
you need the
आएगा,
brain to be
दिक्कत ये
big,
है।
you need the arms to be big, you need the legs to be big. Chest is not important.
मैं
to
ट्विच में
esports.
देख रहा हूँ ना बैठ
So,
के।
we've done it, everyone.
This is the ultimate player from day 2 of the Omega bracket.
We
Not of all time, but of today.
We have done it. We have done the impossible. But of course, why don't you guys go ahead and get on the social medias, you know, all that garbage. And why don't you share with us what is your Valorant Frankenstein monster. Use the hashtags VCTLockin and VCT so we can go ahead and check them out and be just as horrified as everyone else was in that whole bit. Of course, while you're on the hell site as well, why don't you go ahead and talk about today's poll. What is the best quality in a team? Is
Cool
it the
name.
shot calling?
मैं
Is
तो
it
देख
aim?
क्यों
Is
नहीं
it hard?
सकता हूँ बे?
Or is it just a cool name?
What is the
तो
name?
क्या
for it?
नाटक है भाई, क्या नाटक?
Abomination?
Oh, that's a good name.
Abomination Garcia. All right.
I sure hope you never have a child.
सुनो का माइक बंद है पहले चीज।
Fun fact, I
does
told
not
my
seem like
wife
you were
if we
very
ever have a
interested.
kid, I want to make the middle name Megatron, and she totally shot that down
Okay,
right
Elon
away.
Musk.
I wonder why.
Of course, scan the QR code and have a good time. We love you all. Thank you so much for bearing with me. But after the break, we're going to dive deep, into global esports and vitality. And as always, you already know what I'm going to say.
मुझे
We'll
यहाँ
see you on
काम
the other
करना
side.
है, मेरे सर का काम भी आया हुआ है। और कोई जगह नहीं है क्या जहाँ पे देख ले बैठ के? अबे रुक जा, YouTube में देख लेते हैं ना, शायद से YouTube में भी आ रहा हो। चल गया भाई, चल गया भाई।
ग्राफिक्स की शीट बनाने की वजह
वही मुझे भी है देख, अब वैलोरेंट वाले नहीं कर रहे यहाँ पर। क्या आ गया? इसका भी अपडेट आ गया है क्या? बहन अबे लॉजिटेक का अपडेट आ गया, इनको भी तो अलग नौटंकी है। नो थैंक्स।
देख देख क्या आई डोंट नो द टीम्स टुडे बट प्रोस प्ले वेल एट
डर नहीं लगता ना चूतियों को, डर नहीं लगता ना, खौफ है खौफ। भाई क्या नाटक है, मैं ना देखूं क्या 1080p में भाई? रंबा आपका माइक बंद है पहली चीज। क्यों बफर कर रहा है भाई, क्यों?
good, everyone? Welcome back to the lock-in here. Let's go ahead and talk about our first match of the day. It's, of course, going to be Global Esports taking the stage. Of course, Hello India, as well as Vitality. And you know what? Let's just
अबे
first
इतने
start
लोग
off
खेल रहे बे वहाँ बैलो
because,
खेल रहे कोई कुछ कर रहा है
they
इसीलिए
have lived up to the
अरे
name
तो
of
रात
their
को ऐसी नेटवर्क
organization,
बैरियर
Nvme.
लगा
They
दी
have pulled players in from all over the world.
That they have, and they've had a very interesting way of creating this.
देख ले यार थोड़ा सा
Players by
अबे ये
role
तो
or by
अबे
history,
देख
just
एरिन आ गया
क्या करूं?
who do we
टेक्सचर है
know who can perform, and we can
ओबे
build
ये
them
क्यों ना
into
खेल रहा है
something new.
इंडियन
And with that
में
mentality,
छी
like
बे
you said, they went
छी
truly
साला
global. They have Indian players, Canadian players,
3 बंदे
Japanese
इनके वो
players,
है कोरियन आ
Laos,
गए
Indo
एक
players,
बंदा
and
जापानीज
this
है
is truly
वाह भाई
probably the most
टेक्सचर
international
टेक्सचर का
roster
दिखाया नहीं कभी थोड़ी देर पहले लीडर बोर्ड में दिखाया था
100%
ये भाई ये
the
टेक्सचर
most
जी का
diverse roster that we have. I mean, especially when you consider
Aaron
the
नहीं खेल
language
रहा?
is spoken.
नहीं
So it's
एरिन
really
वो
interesting
खेल
to see
रहा
how
है
they did this. They kind of
दो एरिन है
throwing a little bit of a
आर्यन
ball.
है
This guy's got good
इंडियन
stats,
बंदा
this
है
guy's got good stats. Now
एरिन
let's
जो है
take
वो
them and let's
कोरियन
mold
बंदा है
them into different roles. And now we have to see if it's going to work.
Yeah, and there's also just been a lot of conversation about this team on social media as well. I know we got a few tweets that we'll be flying up here in a moment, but it just seems like overall it's like everyone's just excited to see this, and also everyone's excited to see a team with, led by Indian representations, Indian owners, be here as well, because that means a lot to that region.
We have a lot of teams that mean a lot to
मेरे उस पे देख लेना यहाँ
but this
पे
one is India's team. Well, it's an international project. It's going to be the first time that we see
हाँ ये
Indian
कर ले
players
careful
debut
करा दे
on an international stage in Valorant, and that means a ton to that fan base, which is pretty big.
यही कर ले
Valorant
ओए
is just kind of untapped thus far on the competitive side.
Yeah, and it's
मैं वो
amazing
बात
that
इसको
that is the case,
हाँ
right? And
आवाज
one
नहीं
of the
गूंजेगी
players we
इससे
definitely want to highlight here,
या फिर
it
ऐसा
goes
करते हैं
without
एक
saying,
ईयरफोन
is
तू
SK
पकड़ एक
Rossi.
ईयरफोन मैं पकड़ता
Because even when talking to the
फिर
owners, Seth, the owners are so big on this young man because they truly believe that he is the future. Not
इसी
only
में
for this
Discord
team,
साला
but
जब
just of
जब
Indian
कुछ देखना
esports,
तो
but
तभी
there's a lot
कुछ
going on
चीजें
that young player.
Oh, it absolutely is. But he
ये
does have
होगी
at
ना
least
गांड
a
पड़
little
गई
bit of
थी मुझे गलत चीज नहीं
international
डालना कुछ
experience. Hasn't gotten to play on that stage, but you'll go all the way back here in these clips to that LCQ of 2021 playing online, and SK Rossi took the world by storm.
क्या गिरा?
And myself and Paperton, our jaws were on the floor with some of the things that this guy is able to get away with. He was playing the jet, which is just
देख कोई माइक
absolutely
का बीच में
phenomenal.
रख ले
There's a
यार
reason why the ownership has such a so much faith in this player, but also why he's got so many fans back.
माइक तो
home.
खोल लो
He is-
इतना शर्मा
Yeah, he really is. This guy is going to be the face of India for this roster, and is also going to be one of those very, very strong individuals that we're looking at to be a player to watch here.
Yeah, so of course, when we talk to the community as well about the team's philosophy heading into lock-in, right? SK Rossi actually said that, what we happen to do is we give everyone every role, even, he's played every role, even though he's like a god-tier gamer, and it's just about knowing whether or not you can adapt in those situations. And I would say that's a bold move, Mimi.
Yeah, I mean, the starting 5 players on this roster, 4 of them are historically Jet players, so they have really had to dig deep and teach pretty much everyone on this roster a brand new role here. I think the only consistency will be Aaron. This roster was built around him, obviously experience from his time back with X.
अगर रात को इंसान को चाहिए होता है जब सुबह होता नहीं है कोई क्लास में तब कहते हैं और क्या
stage, and also with players where they're playing a brand new role, so it's a lot of change here and a very different philosophy.
I'll give you a moment to fix
तुम
your
गलत
hair
करती हो
there,
मैं
but
सबका वो सही
for
कर
more
रहा
though, I think on this very unique team, and I'm so glad you mentioned Aaron. Let's actually go ahead and hear from Aaron and
क्या
SK
देखिए
Rossi.
इसमें बैठ के इंसान एक देखूं शायद से इनका स्ट्रीम ना बस में
वैलोरेंट में स्ट्रीम नहीं हो रहा क्या
Hello everyone, this is Ganesh Gangadhar, also known as SK Rossi, and I play Valorant for
फिर
Team
YouTube
Global
पर
Esports. My role is initiator in the team. Our org name or team name is Global
ठीक ना
Esports,
कुछ
but
चल भी
we
नहीं रहा
went
बे
global with our
दिमाग
roster.
कभी कभी
So it's like we have a player from
बताओ
Canada, we
तेरी
have players from Korea and Oceania and
कहाँ चल रहा है?
Indonesia, India as well. So we
YouTube
might be
चल रहा है
from
तेरा?
different places, but we're all gamers and we have similarities
गायब
between
हो
us. But
जैसे चल
when
रही है
it comes to
गायब
cultural differences, it doesn't feel like they are from very far away. We gamers are like
अभी तो कुछ होगा
we are all one. Our team have like 5 duelists. When we started our practice, we just started trying out random agents. Finally, we came to a conclusion, and now our roles are fixed. But having all duelists in a team is, I think, in somewhat ways, it's really good because if you have like really good mechanical skills, really good aim, all the other things you can build, like agents you can learn.
एक और
My name is Jordan He. I play for Global Esports, and my
ये तो बंद है
name is Aaron. I'm the IGL team, and one of the main reasons I took this role is, I don't think a lot of people would go to the continent by themselves, not having any friends, not really knowing, the management or anything about the organization. Traveled a lot around the world. I've studied, and worked in 7 different countries. And when I got offered this opportunity from Global Esports, it was just so enticing for me.
आ रही आवाज
One thing
भैया आ
I'm
रही
really confident in my ability is to build teams, in and outside the game, like build a
कौन सा
family
इनिशिएटर
culture and
यहाँ तो मैच भी नहीं चालू हुआ
there's very few teams I joined that we immediately become the best in the world, but I've done it across 2 different games where we've won North American titles and where we traveled to major championships, and I don't think it's any different in this case.
Me performing in this big
Let's
event,
spoil it now.
me winning
अरे
tournaments,
रुको
me
यार
winning
तुम तो यार
games here,
तो
it's gonna
आंधा
be
नहीं
literally
हो
boom in
रुको
Indian
यार
esports. It can be inspiring for the next upcoming,
यहाँ क्या चल रहा है
millions of gamers
अबे
from
क्या
India,
दिखा रहे हैं भाई
population
YouTube में
अबे ट्विच पे चला तू सीधा
I am in a
ये
position
चल रहा
where I can inspire them to play games and get better.
Coming into this tournament, there are many people
मैं बफर मार रहा है ना इसलिए
अरे नेट ही पता नहीं बफर मार रहा है बहुत नेट पे ही बहुत स्लो चल रहा है नेट
event in Brazil, we show our best,
चलो हो
give
गया
the best of our capabilities, we have fun.
तो तुम लोग में से कोई एक देखो अपना नेट बंद करके या मोबाइल का डेटा यूज कर लो।
अच्छा नोनू भाई सुनो 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 थोड़ा सा स्ट्रीम का सुनो नहीं हम अरे लैपटॉप ही बंद कर दिया हम लोग ने एक लैपटॉप ही बंद कर दिया
बोलो क्या बोल रहे हो?
Yeah, and you can tell that he really has been developing a family culture. I've seen these guys interact.
हेलो बोलो क्या बोल रहे हो?
They do really feel like a group of
मैं
friends
बोल रहा
that have
था
been together for a
वो
very,
स्ट्रीम
very
का
long
वॉल्यूम
time.
बढ़ा लो ये
Within a
देखो
couple months.
हाँ हेलिक्स और अच्छा मैग्मा यहाँ बैठा हुआ है ठीक है हेलिक्स भी बैठा हुआ है स्ट्रीम का वॉल्यूम बढ़ा रहा हूँ
It's almost as if those exec guys were
बढ़ा
just all
दिया
a bunch of good noodles. Of course, let's move on though to our next roster, and of course we are talking about Vitality. It's a familiar esports org for many, and it is a new roster, but they do have familiar faces.
ये साला बॉल्फी कौन है बेमोट सबका तोड़ निकला हुआ है सबका सब खाते पीते करके है
Picking out an all-star IGL in Bone Cold, to try and create something new for the squad.
I love that kind of stuff because that means you're just putting investment in the future.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't mind a development roster at all. I mean, we've seen it work in multiple esports. So it does put that much more pressure on Bone Cold. We often talk about this when you have that lone, maybe 2 veterans on the team. You have to be the ones to be able to guide these younger talents as they get out on
अरे
the giant stage.
एक सुनो एक बूस्ट पैक डलवाओ जियो का और मोबाइल नेट से देख ले भाई
Stress levels and whatnot.
Yeah, well, and I'm glad Mimi
अरे हम लोग मोबाइल में भी नहीं देख रहे मेरे
mentioned
लैपटॉप पे चल रहा है वो
building the
मैग्मा
lineup
मेरे
around
उसमें
him,
देख रहा है
right?
बैठ
Because
के
this is a guy who, he's really looking for redemption.
चलो
He's
हो
on
गया
that redemption
सही हो
arc.
गया
2022, not the best year for him, but here he is in 2023.
Alex,
New
are you there?
roster, lots of opportunity.
Another one of these players that I think found an early peak. We
बोले
talked
लाइक
about him earlier. He won
तुम भी पतला ये भी पतली
2021.
तुम्हारे लिए ठीक है
After
ना
that
ये
was pretty much
जो कास्टर कर रही
MIA
है
in 2022. So now
हाँ
coming
सही है
back
बात
into this
एकदम सही
roster,
है
this
गुड
is a guy who has already hit that highest
अरे
peak, has
कास्टर की बात
had the
चली
goal that most
Valorant
founders
आईडी ले लो फिर इसका
consider to be the end
सही है
goal
आवाज
of
आपके
winning
स्ट्रीम में सही है आवाज
Now
लाओ
he's gone
अगर
back to the PRL and
लाइकन
is
को नहीं
focused
चाहिए
on
हम बात कर लेंगे
rebuilding something new to re-reach those heights, which I think is a fantastic mentality.
लाइक चार्ज पे
Yeah,
लिख
for
लाइव
sure.
चैट पे
That's right.
डिस्कॉर्ड
When
नहीं
it
देख
gets to
सकता
that
डिस्कॉर्ड
peak, you
देखूंगा तो
wanna
फिर
make sure
इधर
you can
डिस्टर्ब हो
achieve it
जाएगा
again. It's just like when you play ranked, you
क्या
might
हो गया क्या
time in
दिक्कत हो
that
गई
one
नहीं
season,
अगर
and
हिलिक्स
then
को
it
चैट
reaches
करना है
something
तो
your
हिलिक्स
platform
चैट पे लिख
feels terrible to not be able to get back into diamond. You have that
पता
drive,
नहीं
you have that
हीलिक्स
mindset
तो
of wanting to
चैट ही
get back
करता
there.
रहता
And it's the
है
same for Bone Cold. For me as
लाइव
well,
चैट पे
Bone
चैट
Cold,
कर
if he can do what some of these small
कब
guys
होगा
have
मैच
not
बस
been able to do yet.
अब स्टार्ट होगा अबे 10 10:30 बजे
You've
10:30
seen
बजे
them
स्टार्ट
fall
होगा
stars though. Zeke
5
not
मिनट
being
और
able to
है
make it through. So far, it's only been
चैट
Zeke.
वहाँ
So we'll see if he
कर
can
रहा
join him there.
90 90 से
What
90
you're going to want to lean on if you're Bone Cold there is these young players, these guys
तुम
who
लोग क्या
are going
कॉम्पी
to
खेल रहे हो क्या
to create this super team. One of the players I
ना
think we
ना
should
हम तो
focus on
देख
is,
रहे
Mulsi, right, from the squad.
पहले
because
तुम लोग
who
कॉम्पी
knows,
खेल
right,
रहे हो
what
लग
this
रहा है
guy can bring to the table
अरे ना
here. I
हम
know a lot of
हिलिक्स की
people are
बात कर
excited
रहे
to see
थे कि
tickets.
अगर
Yeah,
उसे
you had
VCT
kind
भी
of
ले
two
गए वो
duos that
चैट ही
Steve got
करता
built
रहेगा
on. Two from the old Vitality roster and two
कहेगा
from Ogden.
कहेगा
That
से
was
90
Molesy
से
and
90 और
Destiny.
बंदे मर गए
For
पहली
Molesy, he's a
टीम
guy
खत्म
who within EMEA has had
और
quite high expectations for a long time.
हमारे
Playing
सामने
in the
टीम
PRLs,
टीम
he's been
वो
fantastic
चैंपियन
as
ट्रॉफी
an
उठाने जाएगी ये
individual. He has a
लिखेगा
very flexible
से
vision
90 से
pool, but
90
this will be his first time taking his debut on this international stage. And this wraps back to the point around Bone Cold. They have the talent here, but it's
अच्छा
another
वो
one of those
अच्छी नहीं है
rosters
अबे
where we
वो
have to
कहाँ है
see
बे
what they
बोस्टर
can
की
form
गर्लफ्रेंड
out
था
of
पता
it.
ही
Yeah,
मोटे
and
को
with so many fresh faces.
ये साओ पाउलो का
Of
मतलब
course,
क्या
of
है
course, right? You hear me?
साओ पाउलो
With
क्या?
so many fresh faces, I
साओ
think it's
पाउलो
important
क्या का
that
मतलब
it's a great opportunity for us to go
ब्राजील
ahead
की एक
and
जगह
meet
है
this squad and get to understand them a bit more.
Oh,
So to get a
Brazil
closer
की
look
जगह
into Vitality straight from their 2 stars here, Bone Cold,
Vitality
as well as Twistin. Let's go.
फ्रेंड
and
को
take a
नहीं
look.
बैठाए यार बैठाया किसको समार्ट को बैठा
ये सीक्रेट लैब का चेयर मेरे को दिलवा दो भाई।
हम दिला दे हैं हमारे यहाँ हमारी हॉस्टल की फीस नहीं भरी जा रही, आप वो कह रहे हो।
प्लास्टिक की चेयर में खेल के थक गया।
हम पेस्ट की चेयर में खेलते हैं
मोटा।
यहाँ हमसे एक स्किन निकली थी जा रही। ये
ट्विटर क्रैश कर गया।
Monsi, these are water
Crazy police frog. Destrian is for like smokes player, and Destrian brings this calmness and patience to the team. Then we have Senders or Sentinel player. When we're practicing official, nothing changes in him. I don't know how. He's just always just himself. He's kind of a shy guy. He has like some funny twists. And then from Big, we picked up our future superstar Twiston as our third
ये
player.
बहुत मोटी स्कोर बाहर आ रही है।
यही करेगा गेम।
Energy around him.
गेम खेल रहा है आपके
always like brings up the mood. Also like mechanically just does some crazy things.
अच्छा
Hello people, I'm Twiston.
अभी आवाज डबल ऐसी बोल कब रहा है और आवाज हमारी देख ये आईजीएल होगा इसका पक्का।
And I play as a duelist.
अरे रुको एसके रॉसी आईजीएल बना है।
We prepare for any playstyle we face.
19 साल का
Because we had a lot of
19
practice.
साल का है।
and
यहाँ
I think
18
we
साल
are
में देखो हम क्या
really
कर रहे हैं।
well
एसके 19 साल वालों को देख रहे हैं।
All-stars or any like famous players, but we have like team
प्रैक्टिस तो हमने भी की है, बस हमारे शॉट्स नहीं लगते।
good
सेकंड लॉक आता है
teammates,
हमारे।
nice energy by
सही बात,
really
सही
good
बात।
talent.
हम
Scary
हॉस्टल
team.
में खेलते हैं,
Scary
हमारी
team.
तरह वाईफाई नहीं है।
Come in the chat, V for victory, and support us. We really need it.
अच्छा
workers.
हमारे साथ ऐसा नहीं होता ना टीममेट्स। ये एक मेरे साइड में बैठा गुड टीममेट।
V for victory. Indeed, and I just love the confidence that this team carries with themselves, Mimi.
मेरे साइड में बैठा ना बहुत गुड टीममेट।
This team, it's clear that they have been waiting and prepping a long time.
अच्छा V for victory, G for gun.
They feel ready for it.
Yeah, I'm pumped to see both of these squads hit the stage. But you know, earlier in the show, we put up a Twitter poll. We asked you guys, what is best quality in a teammate? What do you look for when you go into and the results are in. Let's see what you guys decided.
ट्विटर पोल कर दिए यार, अबे दिखाओ या मैं ट्विटर पोल तो
I actually thought that Cool Name might take
शुरू
it.
करोगे?
I really thought Cool Name was
But
gonna take it.
you know, I'm fine with aim.
You know, sometimes you see it.
बेस्ट क्वालिटी
कमांड मैन का।
Sometimes you see
अच्छा
what
पहले
you
खुद
know
खेल
you
के
want.
देखो,
So
फिर
very
पता चलेगा ये
important.
कितना इम्पोर्टेंट
Shot
है।
calling, I'd say they're kind of important too.
Also, sometimes you
शॉट
might know that you're
कॉलिंग
going to win.
ये तो
I
हीलिंग
played
भी
against
पक्का
a
नहीं
guy
है
in
शॉट
Korea.
कॉलिंग ये
Korean
पक्का
ladder
है
multiple
इसी
times.
तरह
His name is
के
just Ion Bucky, and I know I'm going to win that game because he
It's
buys
still
nothing but an Ion Bucky.
Oh, that sounds absolutely wonderful.
तेरा चीज़ों से
Miserable
सबसे
to
हार
play
गए
against.
I had a teammate every single round, every single time he was like, "I'm just gonna get a Marshall." We're like, "Why? Come on, man, help us
इंडिया
out,
वाले
help us
जितेंगे
out."
के
But look,
पांच
guys,
खुद्दू
I
गए
know
थे
everyone's pick'ems
हार गया
got
अबे
absolutely rocked yesterday. Thanks to Team Secret, we love you guys. I'm proud of you all.
Genuinely,
But
thank
here's
you.
the thing:
ये
what
देखो ये भी आ गए महाराज
today? Let's go ahead
आ
and get
गए
into
यो
our predictions.
Speed number
You know
2.
what? Why don't we all reveal at the same time?
सारे
How
मतलब
about
चोर
that? Does that work out? Okay,
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, and
ब्रॉडकास्टर कौन है
Hello, India.
अबे यार मेरा
G logo.
Okay, now that I'm done pandering, here's my real point.
Hello, India,
This
G
matchup
fighting,
is going to be really
Japan.
close. We have two
Global
teams that
Esports.
we both know have very strong
अबे
players,
आप तो
but
मैं
don't
कितना
have a lot of
fighting
experience on the
करवाओगे पागला
international
देख
stage
पगले
and are kind
यार
of both making their debuts here. I don't know what to fully expect from either
तो
of
आ
these
गए
squads.
भैया
I
तुम
think either
पहुंचो
of them could
तुम
win.
खेलो
It might be a big
खेल
upset
के दिखाओ
either
ना, आई
way.
बड़ी
I probably
don't
favor
very-
वही
Vitality
तो
slightly,
तुम
but
नहीं खेल रही
I
वहाँ
don't
पर
know.
है
This
सब
is going to
पहुंच
be a
गए
close
तो
one.
For me, if they have gotten
आई
the
बड़ी-
roles figured out, I think Global should be
बेटे
able to take this.
बेटे
I do
एक बार
agree
वो
that
तो
it could
आइलैंड
be
थ्री
close,
होके
but there's
रिलेटेड
a
वालों का ये
lot of
बता
Valorant
दी
players who have been
बेटे
competing
एक
in
बार
Valorant for
तुम
a very
1v1
long time
करो
and have experience
चाहता
playing on large
पड़ेगा
stages such as
अगली
Bazzi
बार
playing
खेलना
on
भूल
Overwatch
जाओगे
League for multiple years.
हेडफोन
Now he comes over to Valorant. He's been a
ये
great
पहले क्या
player.
ये
करते
Go
थे
good initiator as well. We'll have to
HP
see
का
how it
जो
does. The
लैपटॉप
pieces
के
are there.
साथ
If they come together right, G can take it.
And I think that is
ब्राजील में
more or
लगेगा
less,
पैसा
look,
का
I know
मिला है
all of
तो
us
थोड़ा
are, having fun, of course, welcoming the Indian audience into our
अब इनकी
broadcast
माइक
because
अच्छा
we're
हो गया ना
excited to be able to extend Valorant out to the rest
I'm
of the
welcoming
world.
their
जी सामने क्या है
positivity to my
इनके
Twitter page, which is
कान में
where I
दर्द हो
made
जाता
that
होगा
post.
Exactly,
So,
exactly. All right, guys. Well, look,
Sponsor
before
पर
we kick
ये
off
क्या
our
है
game for
सामने जो
today,
रखा
let's
हुआ
go
है
ahead and talk
क्या?
about what's
ये
next on
रेड
the
बुल की
international
रेड बुल पड़ा है ना
stage.
अबे
As
लॉक
we
इन जिस पे
previously
लिखा हुआ
shared,
अबे वो
the
मॉनिटर है
next
साले वो कैसे देखेंगे
international
पीछे
event will
छोटा
see top teams
पीछे
from
छोटा
each of the
पीछे
international
छोटा
leagues
मैं
travel
लग
to
क्या
Tokyo
लाइक
for
इतना
Masters,
छोटा
and today we are
अबे
excited
छोटा
to
है
share
बहुत
that
बड़ा है
Tokyo
इतना
will
पूरा
feature
बड़ा
a
छोटा छोटा
12-team
बहुत
double
बड़ा
elimination bracket
है
that
बहुत
will
बड़ा वो
include
अबे
not
इतना
only
सब
the
जाने
best
रिटर्न फॉर
unpartnered teams,
मास्टर टोक्यो
but top
अभी टोक्यो आएगा तो
partner
मास्टर
teams,
होगा,
excuse me,
मैं
but
टोक्यो
top
में।
competitors
अच्छा।
from
ये देखा?
China. Reading
ये
is
रास्ता।
difficult. And of course, don't forget,
अरे तो
we'll
उसका
all
करना है,
see
listen,
additional
Fortnite
representation from the International League that wins the lock-in today, or at this event, which means it's going to be an intense conclusion to this tournament, but we cannot wait for Masters. But today, 6 more teams enter this Royal Rumble, and only 3 will leave. Who's getting thrown over the top rope? Let's go ahead and find out as lock-in day 8 starts right now.
कर रहे बैठ। अरे हेलो, आवाज नहीं आ रही रोमो भाई आपकी। ये कौन से एजेंट होते हैं? सेपरेट। ये पकड़ेगा मच्छी में लगा क्या? पंजे गाइस टू ज़ैप यू। अबे क्या करना है? तोड़ दे फ्रैग। तोड़ दे फ्रैग। फ्रैग तोड़ दे। मुंहते बटन। म्यूट बता दे। मुंहते बटन। Join the new era। तोड़ दे फ्रैग। तोड़ दे फ्रैग। हम भाई ये एपिक कब पहुंचेगी यहाँ? एपिक को कब देखने मिलेगा? चुप हो गए थे। देखते हैं क्या चल रहा है। टीम बन जाते तो मेरा तो गए वैसे उधर स्ट्रीम चला के सो गए। चैट में लिख रहे बैठ के।
जिसका रैकेट पड़े
हाँ
वो
पहुंचेगी। ठीक है कब पहुंचेगी ये बता दो भाई। तो इनका जब रिटायरमेंट का टाइम है तब पहुंचेगी। ये डंडियों पे लटका हुआ देख। अरे ये डंडा ऊपर, ये डंडा ऊपर नीचे हो गया। अबे वो नहीं था कि अपने डीआईटी का ये जो स्टेज लगा था जिसमें नाच रहे थे संगीत।
हेलो गाइस,
आर्यवाद
फाइनली सब अपने अपने चेयर पे बैठेंगे और गेम स्टार्ट। जो फर्स्ट पे एंटर किया टीम लीडर वो तो जियान जैसा लग रहा था भाई। देख मैं हूँ जियान भाई, सब मोटे मोटे। बाकी लोग को देख सब मोटे मोटे। हाँ सब हाफ पैंट पहन के आया है।
गरम लग रहा होगा भैया, गरम है वहाँ पर।
ओहो टीम लीडर, ये लोग कौन है भाई? belly fat, belly fat.
Victory or GE fighting? Two unknown commodities taking the stage. Unsure what we're going to get here today. Could very well be an absolute gigabanger, you know, especially with these two teams that are really just looking to try new things and grow here in Sao Paulo.
And trying new things is exactly that. You have two IGLs so experienced on the international stage, coming back in with rebuilt rosters, young talent with different philosophies. Only one of them can continue.
It's going to be a tough one. We'll see
Who will win? Predict करते हैं. Who will win?
Very much
GE.
seats. The rest of Vitality still huddled together, talking about the game
10 spend कर दिया मैंने.
Likely saying, let's keep some cool heads here.
कुछ बोला होगा कि
All that younger talent
बड़ा माउस लाऊंगा मैं।
looking like they are jumping in to go into the map draft.
map select is a complete question mark. GE has not played at all in
अबे
the
ये
offseason.
एसेंट बैन हो गया।
They're not so interested. We have no idea what they're going to want to
I mean, there's so
Fight
many
dogs ban.
to this team coming across from different rosters
I love it.
that we can't really ever get a read as far as what they are going to be going for.
Split.
It's going to be interesting. Again, we have the questions of who's going to be playing duelist on this team.
Split चूज हो गया भाई, ये split क्यों चूज किया?
VIT कब चूज करेगी?
नहीं VIT चूज कर रही है।
VIT पर ले ली।
Heaven
ban.
Harbor, the things that are
Fracture
so
ban.
Another question I have. I was about to say, do they feel prepared on Lotus?
चूतिया भाई,
Must, because they're
Lotus,
loading it as the
yeah, camping map.
I hope we get maps. Anyway, this is the 3 newest maps added to the pool. This series is going to be very exciting because we know about the philosophy.
Lotus map नहीं होना चाहिए था।
But what are the in-game? But you represent some of that excess style. They play a slow split, like when Def was calling their
वही ना, क्यों चूज करा जी? इंडिया का शान रखने के लिए इंडिया मैप इसीलिए क्या?
एक अगर बम्बू हिल गया इधर से उधर तो पूरा स्टेट तो नहीं था।
Right? The veterans, the leaders in the field.
मैं जाऊँगा ना, अगर मैं
There's
पहुंच गया,
a lot of
मैं
pressure on these guys, right? And Aaron knows that.
अरे
Talking to him a fair amount here, while in Sao Paulo, and he's just got a great head on his shoulders. Here we go, Prime Gaming Agents.
Eskerofi chamber.
You can see everyone's a duelist player, but
Three raises on the side of Vitality as well, but Texture, okay,
मैंने बोला था
you asked the question, was anybody going to be playing Raze here? So of course they're going to.
सुनो
Texture
मैं
going
आपको
back
बोला
to a
था
pick
कि
that we have not seen
वो कभी
for a very
खेलेगा
long
नहीं,
time.
एसके रोसी कभी नहीं खेलेगा।
He played it in
हाँ
the
एसके
upper
रोसी
bracket,
कह रहा हूँ ना, एसके रोसी कभी भी डुएलिस्ट नहीं खेलने वाला इस टाइम पे। मनी ये तो उन सबको एक्सपीरियंस है ना।
अरे इन लोग का पांचों का ड्यूलिस्ट है, ड्यूलिस्ट सब खेलते हैं, बट ये लोग डिसाइड करे हैं।
एक डुएलिस्ट लिया है बस।
नहीं, मैं बता रहा हूँ जी, ये जो एसके रोसी है ना, इसका ये फर्स्ट टाइम है यहाँ पर, ठीक? और यही जो
जी का कैप्टन, यो बॉय,
ये आ गया, ये बॉय।
Oh, the death is
ये मोटा दिखा, ये मोटा कैसे हुआ है?
भाई इंडिया के सपोर्टर नहीं है यार, इंडिया के सपोर्टर नहीं है ब्राजील में।
ये जो जी वाले ना, ये सब यहाँ पर सोल के पैसे से खेल रहे हैं। सोल ने इन सबको रहने का पैसा दिया यहाँ।
क्या बात कर रहा है?
इनके पैसे खत्म हो गए थे बे।
Let's get into this match.
yeah.
I'm excited to watch this match. Josh, honestly, out of any of the first round
Oh,
matches,
Muchad.
I'm not even kidding.
अरे मुच्छड़ की है यार,
अरे गंजा।
हेडसेट भी नहीं लग रहा ढंग से।
एक मुच्छड़, एक के पास पूरा बाली और एक के पास एक पूरा एक टकलाई है पूरा गंजा। एक बाली और एक भाई पूरा बाली है सबके पास।
And then it's the ambitious project from APAC coming up against the dark horse team from EMEA. It's not like Vitality is star-studded in the sense that we all know these players, they've all accomplished so much. There's Bone Cold, obviously.
आया वोडका, ये भी मोटे है भाई।
I think the actual
Players are ready. Ready. 1.exe hacks ready.
I think it's interesting that there's a split, I would say, Vitality. But there are just so many bones. It's very hard to call.
अरे सुनना सुनना। अरे 1.exe hacks ready. हाँ ready. एस्केरोसी बोलेगा।
भैया इतने मोटे हैं ना, एक भी गलती से स्टेज पे पैर लड़का के गिर गया ना, पूरा स्टेज नीचे।
And it gives you hope that these like massive global rosters where you're trying to overcome language barriers and cultural barriers, getting all of your players in the same place, and you know, SK Rossi only just getting to play with the rest of his team and meet them because of visa issues. They have had to overcome so many hurdles that I think a win here today would be
मोटे भैया खा के ऐसे हो रहे हैं सारे। कम से कम कुछ तो वर्कआउट कर लिया करो भाई, जिम में चले आया करो, इतना पैसा है नहीं वाले मोटे से क्या ये तो पूरी किरदार का तेज गिरेगा नीचे। कुछ नहीं है बे, कुछ नहीं है, तो मुंह से लगा। अबे छेद कितने भाई चार कैमरा में।
He's such a confident
guy.
When you listen to his backstory, Esports did a documentary on him recently. Fantastic. You should definitely go and watch it. But he's talking about how he didn't really see his parents too much during his childhood because they were working so much to put food on the table. And he just randomly decides to go to a gaming cafe. and then realizes, hey, I might be good enough to be the best in this cafe.
मेरा एक player हवा में उड़ गया,
I can
timer
be the
दो.
best in South India. Maybe I can be the best in India. And that
अच्छा एस्केरोसी अपने आईडी से खेलेगा क्या?
was with him. I mean, making a deal with a gaming cafe for some free time that he would just
यार वहाँ में भी दिल कर रहा है खेलने का यार.
for them in order to get free time because he didn't have the money to play. And then his winnings would all go into travel. I mean,
अच्छा चैट अभी कैसे देखो हेलिक्स चैट
started from the bottom, now we're here. He is unbelievable.
प्रेडिक्शन तुमने लगाया
He
है
does have the weight of the
भाई जी
Indian
जीतेगी.
subcontinent on his shoulders.
मैं बता रहा हूँ.
अबे कुछ भी हो सकता है देख, कुछ भी हो सकता है बे. मनी टेक्सचर को तो मुझे पता है टेक्सचर पिछले 4 या 5 उसमें कहते हैं इंडिया के लीडर कौन है. तो मैं तो जानता हूं टेक्सचर जिता सकता है आराम से.
Okay, let's go. Match started.
No time being wasted.
चलो
Already
शुरू.
a fast take up towards A ramp. There's a flash play as well to push them back, and
अरे पीछे
no ground really being gained as of right now.
अच्छा जी डिफेंडिंग कर रही है.
Response to that one looks like a boom bomb also going to be queued, and look at the fight that's being taken. A call made, an aggressive one at that to try and
3v2
push through the
3v2
smoke.
3v2 come on come on.
Vitality players,
Race
but
is very
they
low.
hold their ground. They do survive.
Global Esports
रुक
really
जाओ
trying to
हो
find
जाएगा
the
निकल
timing,
जाएगा.
but Vitality were aware of it.
एस्केरोसी इज अलाइव.
Quite nice control for a double duelist comp, which would normally be
दूसरा
played
यार.
really
दिया,
aggro.
हक
There's
दिया.
Sendo with 3
ये
in a
अकेला है
row.
यहाँ पर.
That ghost looking
अरे
so
हाय
precise. And he
हकदीस.
puts everything on the shoulders of the new IGL A-Rin.
अगर नहीं बे उसके पास
Player that we've
के
seen.
पास
नहीं ऑप्शन है
घोस्ट
रुको.
Oh,
वो मैंने छोड़ दिया ना. वो मैंने वो एंगल छोड़
भाई
दिया.
रेस 1 HP है भाइयों.
अबे चल
10
रहा है
HP on
यार.
Molson
यार
with the
बबल
spike.
कर गया यार.
This is more than winnable. Aaron really slowing down this round as well. Didn't overstep himself.
अबे दो
And the
अबे
other part
यार.
to this too is
निकल
Molson
जाएगा
has a
निकल
frenzy.
यार. चल
That's
यार
actually
पूरी
quite
टीम पे चला
difficult
तू बे.
to
चला
kill
यार.
Aaron before 10 damage is done. A frenzy v frenzy battle, you normally exchange some damage.
Contact play. Does Aaron even realise?
अबे
Jumping up onto the
इसमें
box,
क्यों
trying to
यार
catch an
मैं?
unusual angle, but Multi missing a shot to the snake bite. Oh my goodness, pushes Multi away for but a moment. That's
भाई घुसना नहीं
gonna be
घुसना नहीं
taken.
अंदर. घुसना नहीं.
Moving forwards, making
ले,
a
ले,
lot
ले,
of noise
भाई,
though.
ले,
Multi,
ले,
very
ले, ले,
aware
ले.
that he's not playing there, but the positioning is
अरे
low
नीड
nowadays.
उसका.
Pushes him forwards, running down. 65 health for run and gun is the play.
Nice one boys.
3 kills in a round for the IGL player.
हो जाएगा आराम से
Captain
डिफ्यूज
for
है.
them.
ये पानी
What a
लेकर जा
clutch,
पानी
what a
लेकर
great way to
Diffuse,
begin.
nice.
Aaron
पहला
leading on
round.
that confidence. The win
इंडिया के
of
खाते में
1v3.
अच्छा फेज
The
प्रेडिक्ट
Red
किया
Bull
था.
clutch coming in there.
अरे
That
एक्चुअली
was-
उसने हक
that
दिया.
was a tense
अब
pistol
समझे
that
क्यों
could've gone
उसने
either way
सेज
for
लिया. आप
sure.
समझे?
भागा नहीं. भागा नहीं.
And I think Split is such a great
और उस
map
ओमेन
to
ने एंगल
showcase
छोड़ दिया ना.
Aaron and
अच्छा किया.
Bone Cold's strengths.
अगर वो
The two
एंगल नहीं छोड़ता
IGLs
तो
of
पक्का
either
मरता.
team. Because Aaron's new to the IGL role, but he used to call the defense sides for XZ. And Split was an amazing map for XZ, an amazing map on the defense side too. So this is comfort zone for
Hello,
Aaron.
full-
But also
अरे
even
इन्होंने full
playing
buy ले
a
लिया
comp
पूरा.
that looks really similar to stuff that XZ ran in the past. And you look over at Vitality, sure, Bone Cold isn't on the Omen anymore, but this is the same comp that Ascend used to run when they were at the top of the world, the best team in the world on Split. Times have changed, metas have changed.
Hello.
And we get to see which
आ रही है
team,
फायरी
which
आवाज आ रही है.
player, which IGL's idea comes out today.
The bold beginning.
आ रही है आवाज भाई फायरी.
Maybe expecting that he could have gained some control of A main, but pays for that with his life. Does hand over that Spectre as well to Twiston now. So Vitality didn't invest too much into this round, only this, I believe, just
कोई
the
ना, कोई
shares,
ना.
it seems like, across the board.
टेक्सचर गया ना कोई ना कोई
Change of
ना
weapons as
निकाल
well
दे.
to players that might be a little bit healthier. And okay, fight
अरे हमें बहुत है अभी इनका सब
beam down there with the wall play.
अच्छे खेलते
Going
हैं.
to be aware that this is
अरे रोम्बो तेरे सर्वर में आने के लिए वेरिफिकेशन का सीन है क्या? ये एपिक लेन में मेरे एक दोस्त को भी आने का है.
कैसे मैं वेरिफिकेशन इसको वेरिफिकेशन कंप्लीट करना पड़ेगा मोबाइल वाला.
एक सेकंड. तो उसका वो नहीं हो रहा, वो ट्राई कर रहा है, 3-4 बार ट्राई किया उसने, उसका नहीं हो रहा सीन बोल रहा है.
You've got to be joking.
रुको मैं कर रहा चेंज कर रहा मैं
रुक जा तेरा आवाज ही नहीं आ रहा. हाँ बोल अभी बोल.
हाँ मैं कह रहा हूँ मैं चेंज कर रहा हूँ सेटिंग एक सेकंड.
हाँ वो ये कर रहा है. अच्छा मेरा फोन नंबर का सीन है. तो भाई मैं तो विदाउट फोन नंबर
फोन नंबर डाल
कोई नहीं.
And at the back of the site, the crossfire was
हो जाएगा क्या?
And honestly, just sheer heroics coming out of these Vitality
ये
players.
स्प्लिट मैप है किसका पर?
Turn that round.
ये पहले वालों का है, वाइटैलिटी का है ये.
ना ना ग्लोबल स्पोर्ट्स का है. देखना ऊपर लेफ्ट हैंड साइड लिखा है. दिख रहा है.
ठीक है हाँ सही है.
Absolutely everything. Sender is incredibly talented.
भाई
I was
पर
watching this game,
lightning
watched him
fast
for
क्यों
a
नहीं खेल रहा
while.
भाई?
Used to play Breach on a full Lithuanian team, and then he's
यार
gone
कैसा
on
है?
to play Chamber very
डिस्ट्रो
recently,
खेल
and
रहा
now
है
on the
क्या?
Cypher.
क्या कौन है
He's played a
डिस्ट्रो?
lot. He's mega talented. For
मेरे को
my
कैसे
money,
पता
he
चलेगा
might be
भाई?
the
मैं
most
वैलो नहीं
talented
खेल
player
रहा,
in
मैं
the
वॉच
server right
पार्टी
now.
कर रहा हूँ
But
ब्रो।
people like
मेरा
Texture
फोन
and
मेरे
people
पास
like,
नहीं है, पर
you
मैं
know,
तो
Twisted and
भाई
Malsey
क्या
will
घुस
certainly
रहा है,
give him
क्या
a run
घुस
for his
रहा है
money.
भाई? दिख 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 ओ ओ भाई भाई
फायरी
भाई
फायरी बता ना, वो अंदर घुसी क्या, मतलब घुसा है क्या?
Punish this play on the
रुक
eco.
घुसा डाइब्लो
Esports, look at that, just trying to
हुआ क्या तेरा सीन से?
collect any more kills, and they're making it incredibly
नहीं
aware.
नहीं यार
Vitality able to just
नहीं
hold these
हुआ?
off
Even
angles,
with
weakened
secret,
as
do you
well
play
from the
Fortnite? Yeah, I
players.
used to play
And that's
Fortnite,
rough.
bro.
Malsey is
I
one
used
away
to
from an
play.
ultimate now.
फायरी
And
हुआ तो
considering
बता
that this
ना,
has been,
तब तो मैं कुछ कर पाऊँ।
you know, a weird situation where Vitality
भाई
in
बता
the
दे
second
जेसन
round,
भाई आप आ
it
चुके हो
actually
कि नहीं?
delays the rifle round by at least one. Right? Because Vitality are now going to...
नहीं हो रहा,
It's going to
नहीं
be
हो रहा
round 4
उसका
by the time
सीन।
we get a proper clash.
या
And that means that
मॉडरेशन
Malsey has an extra
चैनल्स
round to get a big
रुक जा,
ultimate
मुझे यार
online that he can
कंप्यूटर वाला
use
खोलना
to turn the
पड़ेगा
tide of that fight. So
सर्वर में हो।
I think things are starting to look a
एक
little
सेकंड
worrying
तो
here for
सर्वर में आ
Global.
गया। एक सेकंड देखने
Global
दो।
Esports.
सर्वर में आ गया शायद
Malsey
से।
can get in a good
आ गया
position
सर्वर में आया,
considering that
सर्वर
they've
में आ
got
गया।
two phantoms.
सर्वर में आ गया पर वो चैट
Next
मतलब इसमें वॉइस
Global need
चैट
to win it.
मतलब
अबे
कुछ
चला
चैट
ना,
नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ।
Weaponry's looking quite good.
वॉइस पार्टी ज्वाइन नहीं कर पा रहा है ना?
We were building up
हाँ
these
उसका
player spots as
वेरिफिकेशन
well
का
in
सीन
this
है, मतलब
particular round as
वेरिफिकेशन
well.
मांग रहा है ज्वाइन
Player.
करने के लिए।
तो वेरीफाई
Whip it a
करवा
little bit
देना
there, but no,
उसको।
eventually
फोन नंबर
containing.
ऐड करवा दो।
Speaking of
क्या
Salah as
अपने
well, who's the
ग्रुप
coach for
कॉल
Vitality.
बना दे क्या ग्रुप कॉल?
And honestly, it feels like I haven't been able to avoid them. I've just been
रुक
seeing
जा,
them
रुक
every
जा,
time at breakfast in the elevators. I've just been always just meeting up with Vitality
मैं
players
कर
and
रहा हूँ, मैं
coach
कर
as
रहा
well.
हूँ, मैं
But
कर रहा हूँ।
he was saying to me, listen, if you want to sound like a god on the desk,
यार,
hype up Sender. Because according to their coach, listen, of course he's going to say this, but he said that he's currently playing like the best player in Europe.
Yeah.
His own words, obviously quite biased.
Sounds like he's gassing his own player up, but I also think that there's probably
भाई
a
इतना
shred of truth to
क्रॉसर
that
ऊपर
because
क्यों
Sender
रखे
does
सब
look
लोग ने?
fantastic in the run-up in the off-season prior to being picked up.
या
This is
मैं
a
वेरीफाई
massive
कर
round,
रहा
though.
हूँ। हुआ फायरी
Cross.
पूछ अब से
Let's
उससे
get Rossi just
वेरीफाई
hoping
हुआ।
to try and take that angle, but
वेरीफाई हुआ भाई।
Oh, look at this.
Okay, so this
So much pace.
is going to be a pinch, but I'm not sure they were
भाई
aware that
उसने
Aaron
ऑफ
was
लिया है,
going to
देखना
use his
भाई।
ult in mid. Obviously now, Aaron and Monya are not in a great spot, but there's no boombot or really informational tools they can use to help them
और
get inside the
भाई
pit.
उनका वाइटलिटी का ये देख जेट किधर घुस गया है।
Backstab here because the rest of Vitality have been lurking, creeping, and crawling all the way
हाँ,
up to B main, and that's
कहाँ
going
से
to be
घुसा भाई? मुझे
QB
ये
the
रिप्ले
ultimate
देखना
here.
है।
Slow orbit to feed a Multi, and no one is going to be on this side. So
ओ
thinking a couple of layers ahead here, but despite it mid, that is
Twiston किधर से
important.
जो-
Twiston, he wins it versus Munyet, and he's going to be backing away with his
भाई
life.
ड्यूलिस्ट होके क्या
Starting to go
घुस
down.
रहा है भाई?
That's
कहाँ
the
से?
second time that Monya's pushed through a smoke and taken an unfavorable
जेट ने
fight.
पूरा ए साइड का
Bazzi, though,
करके रखा है।
responding, takes down
चाहता था
Sender, who's been a
स्टार्ट
menace
करता था
in some
हमारा।
of these rounds.
अरे
Twiston is
सुनो
miles
सुनो
away from the
अरे
action.
छोड़ दे।
If Global Esports can hurry
हेलो
this
हेलो
round, Sage will
वो बोल
delay
रहा है
everything.
Yeah, just a cross section for it, and no one really aware of it. Destrian does move over to
रोसिया
the
टक
other
गया
side
था
of
ना
the
वहाँ
wall,
पर,
but a
उसने
double
अपनी
face
बॉल
there,
कर
drop
दी
down
और
onto
वो
high-low setup. Destrian
अरे
has to TP back onto to try and help him out, and Multi will be
हो जाएगा, हो
falling
जाएगा,
behind.
निकल जाएगा, हो जाएगा,
Running
निकल
low
जाएगा।
now, and he
एरन
did not
खेल
know
लेगा,
where
एरन ले
Twiston is.
लेगा।
Dash enabled, moves forwards. Trying to
Yeah.
contest this one in a 1v1, but
नहीं
he
यार।
has to stick it.
अरे
Got
सुन
display, he
सुन
needs to try and
सुन
get half, and
जैसे
it sets
आई
up
यार
Twiston
क्या है
with an
रोम्बो
easy slam dunk win.
अरे
Just
रोम्बो
think about how
सुन
different the
उसको
round could have been
कॉल
if
के लिए
Twiston had been dealt
वेरिफिकेशन
with
का कोड
and
मांग रहा है।
cleared out of
इससे
ropes
बढ़िया मैं कॉल
when they
ग्रुप
knew
बनाता
he'd
हूँ,
gone
नहीं तो
into
मेरे
there.
सर्वर
They
में
were
आ जाओ
aware
सब
that
लोग, कोई
Twiston
वांधा
was
नहीं।
somewhere around. Possibly they thought he escaped after he got up to heaven, but I
अरे
would have
उसको
thought
नहीं
that Global
देना।
Esports could keep a better
नहीं
track
देना।
of the Jet player there. Interesting
अरे
pathing
उसका
from
सीन है कुछ
Vitality
तो
early
फोन
on,
नंबर
and it
का
pays dividends for
स्टेशन
them in the
हटा दिया
most
भाई
part.
मैंने।
उसने हटा दिया वो बोल रहा है क्या
And now
सीन
अब
Global
वापस
Esports
करके
are in a
देखो।
pretty horrible position here. Their comp should be great on the defense side.
अरे मैंने
They're
वेरिफिकेशन
going to
भी
be
हटा दिया
looking
ना,
down
मैंने
the
वो
wrong
हटा ही
end
दिया,
of a
वो पूरा
1-4
चीज ही हटा दिया
beginning,
वेरिफिकेशन वाला।
despite the heroics coming out from their IGL Aaron.
We'll see a timeout being taken now for Global Esports. Biding their time, seeing if they can cook up anything in particular. Texture is one away from the ultimate, so it's going to be able to get that
चिराग
हाँ जनरल कोई भी एक बार वॉइस चैट में जाना लाइव लो हम लोग तक कोई ये कर लीजिए इंटरेक्ट कर
अरे
The
बे
players with the least
Four eighty
experience
कर ले,
here
four.
on global are SK Rossi and Monye. Right? They've for SK Rossi, he's been playing a lot domestically, but he hasn't
call लेना
had an opportunity like this on the
यहाँ
big
से
stage
बोलूं?
just
हाँ,
yet.
एक बार
And
ध्यान
those
खोल
two
के
players have
पता
yet to really
चलो
get going in this match so far. Sure, there's only been 4 rounds, but both sat at the bottom of the leaderboard, 0 and 4, and Monye's had a couple of weird pushes through a smoke. SK Rossi got caught out while he was just knifing the wall a little bit unaware. So maybe these players need to settle into the groove a little before you see
किसी एक में भी कर ले, solo, duo, squad किसी में.
for Vitality, I mean, if you smell blood in the water and you realize the global a little shaky to start a match, you got to hammer that home.
DCDM देखो
that opportunity, but so far in this match, what I have been noticing is there's a lot
You
of
cannot
presence
join
towards main
voice channel yet. You must
Heavy
verify
emphasis
your
being
identity
played from them, where they're just trying to take
by
that A-round
phone
control,
before you
get a
can
player
speak.
into position, and doesn't seem to be changing things up too much in this round, keeping it simple for them.
Arey.
Twister moves
But
forward,
मैंने
the
हटा
done position is
क्या
checked
हो
from
रहा है?
Aaron.
क्या तो तेरे
Guns obviously from them. Bazzi just trying to play up behind the wall, seeing if he can get anything
अरे
done.
अच्छा इसको हर वीसी के लिए बोलता है ना. अरे सेटिंग्स में जा और तेरा डिस्कॉर्ड को दे बे. डिस्कॉर्ड को देना पड़ता है मोबाइल नंबर. वो तो करना ही पड़ेगा.
Aware of how
उनमें VCT चलो.
how best to play these positions.
Punish there, he's trying to take the play, texture.
और earphone
Tries to
लगा
make the most of this one, but
again,
just can't withstand that kind of pressure when it's up against the rifles.
भाई हीलिंग भाई और लाइकन भाई साथ में रहते हैं क्या?
Here's the important round for global esports again.
phone में
They
Discord on
have
कर.
massive ultimates to work with, especially textures. And I think setting
Come on,
texture up
G,
in
yeah,
A heaven almost guarantees value out of his ultimate. Vitality have not been going for big B bursts, but actually, Vitality's comp, one of the big reasons why this used to be a meta comp on Split is that it has a lot
अरे
of variety.
सुनो मैं कॉल का ये बना रहा हूँ गुम्बो भाई. उसका सीन एक्चुअली उसका 3-4 अकाउंट है डिस्कॉर्ड का और अभी उसको उसका आईडी पासवर्ड नहीं मालूम बोल रहा है. नहीं तो उसको
They'll just use Sender's cages to apply some pressure over on
उनको
A
भी नहीं
ramp.
पता. कॉल में आ जाओ ना यार सबसे बेस्ट. और कोई आ रहा है क्या बता?
Just a bit of raw spam, yeah, straight through the smokes. Also just
अरे
trying to lurk
कॉल
up
मतलब
behind it.
डिस्कॉर्ड
Trouble,
कॉल
here's good
ब्रो.
information, and there's SK Rossi, head taken clean off from Sender.
2 आवर
Trying to
का
catch that
कॉल
lurk,
चल
but
रहा
obviously his
है. डिस्कॉर्ड
positioning was
कॉल
known
बना रहा
prior,
हूँ.
and speaking of heads being taken off, Munyet needs to play a bit more carefully.
आ जाना रूम्बो भाई ये
Dash
समझ
forwards from Twister, the play to be made from him perhaps, but
बना दिया और इनको भी
stuck in this position.
लाइकन
There's
भाई
going to be
और
a showstopper. That was a direct hit.
और जो भी
What
आएगा
in the
उनको
Lord's
ऐड
name am I
करना
watching?
चाहिए. वही से.
Boncold's attempting to create some pressure in B with this Sage wall, hoping that it opens up the middle of the map, but it hasn't at all. With Sender dying and with the Sage wall being placed from Rossi, the rest of Global Esports can completely flush out this hit in mid.
भाई मैं तेरे को बताता सीन क्या
Pure
है.
confidence on the side of Global Esports. Unwasted moments from them. Smoke across the cut forwards. Destrino up close and personal. And there's another punish.
And what a big round from Rossi and Monye, the players that we were waiting to see anything from. 0 and 4 coming into this round, and they get 3 kills between them out of the 5. With SK Rossi using the utility from Bazzi to flush out Sender early, and then Monye just spamming through the smoke, gets this first kill, and then playing around the smokes quite nicely, but really like the way that Rossi has picked up the operator, flushed out Sender, and used the Sage wall. Good utility usage, and good punish. Otherwise, Sender's going to be a menace over there on A.
Absolutely. A good adaptation. Getting the operator in his hands. In fact, switching up the positioning as well, because SK Rossi now not playing towards the A ramp area, but that is where the majority of Vitality are.
No.
So what is the answer here? A bit of random spam coming through. Slow
मैं सब तो हटा दिया मैंने.
Satchel's up on top of the box, actually. Holding this angle, yet still Aaron anchoring into the back of the site. Flash to push them back. They did push Aaron out wide. It was capitalized on by the Vitality players. You can see that Sender have managed to get themselves in, and that plant will go down.
That's unfortunate because the Viper retake wall is now not going to be active. Big clash in ropes.
Yep, Destrian trying to find his timing in mid is going to be so important right now, and he does win it out. If he stays alive, he's going to be causing issues for them, and still holding that close angle. Re-peek just a little bit too late, and still it has crumbled before their eyes. Operator in the hands of Twist, and he makes the most of that one.
Yeah, even with Destrian finding success, the biggest problem for Global is the trading there through screens.
A little bit delayed.
Very delayed. And I think that speaks to how new of a team Global are, and maybe the comms getting flustered in these moments. Because look, there is just nobody behind Texture.
Yeah.
The next player is almost 2 seconds later, and it's Rossi swinging with an op. So one of their rifle players needs to get on a line there. Okay, operator battle though as we get back into this round happening in B main.
Jump peek to bait.
Nice.
Yeah, that is quite nice. Just to set up SK Rossi onto that angle.
But SK Rossi is in. I mean, he's on such a deep line and he can't escape. Oh, he's actually using the wall. That's a little weird, because now he needs to reposition and get value out of the operator. Vitality are going to be playing quite quickly, so he relies on the rest of his team here to slow Vitality down.
So far, it seems like the early game plan of Global Esports was to play heavy for that extremity control. And it's created this opening in mid. You can see Vitality have already taken up that space. Just exploring. Spike in the hands of Multi. Waiting around, seeing if they can force a fight, a play to be made. They're going to be looking to regroup with the rest of their team now.
Wait a second. Did Rossi put a terrible Sage Wall in B main that Bonkor can just jump over?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, there's a box behind that you can just jump over that.
I didn't realize that he connected it to the box so that you could just jump up. That's inexperience on the agent showing there. Obviously, Rossi playing a new role. Oh, and that's where you don't expect him to miss. Normally so talented.
And look at this, pressure being applied to just every single direction on the map. Oh my word! Stray shot, Bazzi dropped down to 110, spray down, he is low, up in the air, no way! From that kind of range, but Bazzi was weakened. And Aaron seems to be aware of this play that was occurring. There you go, click on the head, and there we go, find the kill. But it is just left up to Aaron, and might be getting a bit flustered now into this 1v2. Destrant backs away again, that kind of patience and discipline. Doesn't want to take the fight, just makes it nice and awkward. Not giving any easy 1v1s for Aaron to be able to take to try and win this one.
And now Destrian gets a sound cue as well as Aaron goes up the rope. This is an almost unwinnable situation because Vitality just haven't given Aaron anything to work with.
Quite aware of where the positioning could be. A bit of spam. Isolate the fight. Yeah, just not wide enough. And well, the shorty up close once more. I mean, Twiston was saying, listen, if you think we've been seeing shorter kills up until now, wait until you see their game, because this guy, he makes full usage of that weapon.
He definitely does. The shorty in Twiston's hands is a different weapon. His movement is fantastic too, though. I think that's part of what sets all of this up. And yeah, we're really seeing there's clearly a game plan coming from Aaron about how Global should play their defensive side, but it's the small mistakes that are really slipping them up. That's ridiculous. The beat dash into the shorty kill. Yeah, I mean, but I think in that round in particular, it's the way that Rossi plays the B main situation just scrambled them a little. If he puts down a better Sage Wall and is then able to op in mid on a more aggressive angle, maybe that round goes differently.
It's just been that consistent uphill battle for Global Esports so far in this half.
And Global are going for a gamble stack on A.
Hello,
When you
Rombo
don't
bhai.
hear anything early on,
Join करो ना यार मजा आएगा.
because Vitality, when they have been ending A, have been at least taking
वो
space
नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ.
fairly consistently.
खाना खा के join
Senders
करोगे.
presumably faked it with the cages, but apart from that,
ठीक है.
there is
पक्का join
nobody
करना
on
यार.
the B
Wait
side.
कर रहे हूँ.
So the gamble not paying off here. It's going to be that easy plan once more for Vitality. Setting themselves up into this position right now for Global Esports, just thinking about not giving away too much. Trying to go down to the spike so they don't give away any more ultimates as well would be quite key. Sender with this late lurk position. Shutting them all down in mid, and there's a re-swing attempt. It looks like Global Esports want to try and fight this into Sender.
The Cypher ult isn't the best one in the world if you have to feed yourself into somebody. But this is going to be a very easy round for Vitality to clean up. I think you can just see the way that Vitality has been built, it relies on pre-existing synergies between the players. So they have a bit of a core from Oglu, you know, and then some from Vitality, and a little sprinkling of Big on the top as well.
Yeah.
But they have some players that are familiar with each other enough to have a bit of synergy, a bit of chemistry there. And with Global, they are genuinely starting from square one.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a much more difficult project to get off the floor, and I think that was the concern that everybody had with this team. How much time do they require? When you listen to the players and the staff, they're thinking about multiple seasons, but still wanting to get wins early on.
Yeah, very long-term focus with this Global Esports squad.
Much better Sage Wall in B main from Rossi.
Not allowing anybody to hop up on top of it. Looks like a fight might be trying to be taken. Again, that spam and just holding for now. Moving forwards inside this Viper's pit. There's a timing taken. Does he know that they crossed? Okay. Bit of whiffage there from Cinder, but did he know that they've been compromised right now towards a ramp? That space was gained. It's a pop flash play. Fazzy nails the target, but Bone Cold was not playing in position for that one, so he does trade it out relatively effectively, and now that resurrected play, Aaron is being squeezed. Convergence on either side. Bit of spam there around the corner, and Aaron's been caught.
Awesome distraction from Twiston when Destrian got inside the ult. Can Texture be a playmaker here on the flank?
Yeah, these positions have flipped all the way around. Just as Aaron was being squeezed this time, it is Texture coming for that late flank. Players in heaven though, is anybody going to be watching for this one? You've got to be aware of it surely that a ramp they could have been playing, and no, Twiston gets away with it for free. The shots just going one after the other. Texture does eventually claim that kill, but so much to deal with right now, and the retake made that much harder by the fact that Rossi is using this operator and just unfortunate timing once more.
Yeah, Global Esports getting outplayed. Vitality with nice protocols to clear out the Viper's pit. To Aaron's credit, he's been getting them into good positions, but Vitality are always able to sneak past them or blast their way through them and then surround them on all sides. The raw talent as well is showcased.
छोड़ो ना उनका नाटक हो रहा है, छोड़
16
दो.
and 4. Sender and Molsey also having a great game individually, just able to farm these Global Esports players currently. We need to see a bit more resistance.
Oh, okay. What is this? Double updraft play from Twiston?
Yeah,
Yeah, with
okay.
the knives as well.
Okay.
Sage wall, updraft.
Not going to spot anybody.
No plays
Bazzi was
inside.
nearly there.
Yeah, could have got his head taken off, but no.
That's actually another Ascend classic being called from Bone Cold.
All the way back in the day.
I've seen CNED do that.
Yeah.
आवाज आ रही मेरी?
So desperate times here for Global Esports. Got to get something else on the board. It's like half by round from them, so the weaponry is that much weaker, but so far on their defense side of Split, it's not looking too good.
They need a miracle here, really, don't they?
Yeah.
The poor weaponry, even a 4-8 half with the pistol, maybe you start to have some belief. Oh, the timing there, brutal for Monnier. Is he even going to think about re-clearing mid?
No, and they've just contacted all the way up behind. Not sure if they've just heard Monnier drop or what, but yeah, as he goes to re-clear it, was just so unaware. Just left out of SK Rossi. He's only got the Bucky, and it's, I mean, just full patience. Really, really well played by Vitality, how slowly they were playing that one.
Didn't
give anything away.
And that is a Prime Gaming Flawless. Vitality currently so in control of this game. And we've actually seen Split be somewhat attacker-sided when people have been running these double duelist
अरे फाड़ दिया ना क्या हुआ?
But then
हम लोग तो setting ही कर रहे
that
हैं
is too, that when people run the heavy defensive comps, they're not racking up enough rounds on the attack side themselves to equalize it. So
अबे सीधा 7 पागल है क्या बिल्कुल ही अटक जाएगा
Loud also playing it on this map.
मोबाइल में सही चल रहा है.
On a masterclass, and I think Bone Cold's calling in general. He just understands this map so well.
Early fight
Final
for control here, and yeah, it is that final chance, Josh, the Cosmic Divide going to be used very early on here by Global Esports just to try and deny control of
bizarre
a lot of areas of the map at once, but I mean, Vitality
अगर ये हो गया तो
there's going to be that paranoia.
9-3 curse, India का श्राप लगेगा.
The satchels were clean, the movement was nice, but he does get taken down on the high ground, and despite the
अरे
fact
इनका
that
aim अच्छा नहीं है
he
बे.
wins out that engagement, Seeker's going to be giving him a lot of information that the players
4v4 है.
onto the site now. But just containing. Twiston holding close now below into hell. He's going to be taking first contact for them. Varying up his angles. Is it going to be cleared? Not quite well enough.
Where's the second player there where Bazzi peaks? Oh!
Nice!
Timing though from Texture.
3v2.
Sender in mid.
A very nice final round now. Texture does have the ult, but he rips it out at just the wrong time. Destrin finding that one, still one player left.
2v2 कर दिया.
Alive, Destrin, you cannot give it this one, but the swing is
अरे ले ले भाई.
perfection.
9-3 curse.
Monye will claim the round for his team and get at least 3 on the board.
Maniet, अरे ये सब अच्छा खेलते हैं. इसके दोस्ती का है ना पहले
One last desperate lifeline.
एस्केरोसी नहीं चल रहा है.
Unless you're on the 9-3 curse hype train.
कह तो रहा था मैं कह तो रहा था इंडिया में कंपटीशन ही नहीं है.
3 किल पे है भाई एस्केरोसी. क्या हो गया इसको?
Something makes me think he's not going to slow down in the next half.
3 किल में तो उनका भी तेज है.
A hell of an opening for Vitality, honestly, on the global stage like this, and Global Esports have to really pull up the bootstraps as we head into that second half because.
ये कहाँ पर व्यू पार्टी हो रहा है? क्लब में व्यू पार्टी करवा रहे हैं. देखा क्लब की पार्टी हो रहा है उनका जी का.
Thank you so much, fellas. And there you can see, I mean, Twistin, what a showing from him in the first half there.
ब्रेक टाइम हो ना उनका ठीक करवाओ ना उनका ठीक करवाओ ना क्या दिक्कत है
the fundamentals, everything that you could want to have in this squad, it's working.
Yeah, it really is working fantastically for this team. That first half
उसका नाम क्या जो बंदा ज्वाइन किया उसका नाम क्या है
for these two squads. And if you look back on one of those rounds, what I was especially
एरन वो सब ना
they built around this double duelist.
अच्छा वो
This one off with Twistin diving into
अरे मैं कुछ नहीं बोल सकता वो घुस ही नहीं पा
his team then goes back and
वेरीफाई करने बोलना
a bit of a blunder from Monier.
अरे उसको छोड़ दो हैं उसका वो वेरीफाई क्यों नहीं कर पा रहा
वही ना बच्चा है क्या
and is ready to push back around again as his team is holding on this post. GE push it a little bit close on this one. Some of these players find some big kills, but Twistin again.
क्या है भाई
comes back in and managed to win that
बट डायरेक्ट क्यों देखने बैठ गया मैं ये तो और अलग आदमी हो my bad
great. I mean, him just being able to get into that position, he completely lost track of him. It was really brutal for him. They need to step up the pace in the next half.
Yeah, but then also for the GE side though, I mean, you gotta give the moment to Aaron here. The guy continues to just show up and clutch in those real pivotal moments.
Sure, he has, and he has been the kind of the pillar for this team. We're talking about him. He is the veteran. He's the one that has that international experience, but it needs to be more spread out amongst the rest of the roster here, because right now he's the only one in the spotlight. Everybody else left out in the shadows. He needs to be able to guide them to a strong attacking half. It's 9-3. It's definitely recoverable, but it definitely feels bad going in with that scoreline after starting on the defending side.
Yeah, on split, that is a difficult scoreline to come back from. We need a better pistol round from them. We need them to not rely on Aaron's clutches. GE, this is going to be difficult.
Yeah, it is going to be quite challenging for GE to climb their way back into this game. But with Aaron on the calls, hey, anything is possible. Let's see what happens. Send it back over to Brennan Sideshow.
Anything could be possible. It's always in the hands of the players of Global Esports to see if they can mount that comeback. But so far, one major obstacle has been standing in their way, and that is the duelist players of Vitality. Twistin and Molson just putting up an amazing performance, and it was Twistin who said in the interview
56 defense rate
that their team doesn't have any star players, but might be weaving a different
ये भी गया मतलब 56 अगर डिफेंस रेट है ना तो डिफेंस भी तो गया है इनका फिर तो जी
some star players later on
देखो अटैक में अरे सब दूर पागल की तरफ
Still, they need to deal with this position. They do take the fight. Making sure that the spacing is good.
कूद के घुस गए अंदर
This one out. Still, Morsi tries to make the play there. Every single bullet in the clip being used as he rattles off the shots from the Sheriff. Let's get that one. Still texture. It's a quirky position. The double faces. They all drop down. A classic right clicks. Definitely working out for them, and they know where to find players. Twistin. He's got the most to do. 100 health to his name. That Sheriff.
अरे ले भाई सही टाइम पे उसने बेट ले लिया ना
फाइट क्यों लेना
है यार इसने क्यों कर रहा है
actually really good I think the swing from Bazzi or swinging off other players' contact in general. There was a trade from Monier that came through that looked really good, and then also Bazzi swinging at the end to shut down Twistin looked nice. So pistol round actually coming out from Global Esports gives me a little more confidence that they could mount some form of comeback. That after winning the pistol, they don't immediately fall to the Sheriffs, because that was the story of the first half. Both pistols going the way of Global, but it didn't net them any momentum in the first.
See now just how they want to play this one, because Vitality, there's that double phase. You can see Sender just holding from Mail as well while all this is going on. And Util being used just exploded out into mid. A lot of space being gained. Now you see that satchel play. Boombot clears a lot of these angles, and it's up to Aaron to see if he can hold down this one angle, and he does indeed. There's no one going to be taking him out with any stray plays there. Classic right clicks in order, but Twistin get a bit of an upgrade in the form of that Sheriff. So being dealt with, but the site should be relatively free now for Global Esports to get this plant down. Need to deny, actually. That's going to be perfectly rebounded, and you've got to be joking.
Safe hands from Rossi. Sender
oh my word, you got to be kidding me!
This Vitality team is so cracked with the Sheriff.
Just finding so many opportunities, and they are just making the most of it. Isolated down to that 1v1. Sender, he's Lodo, has to nail the shot, and the nail that he does. All the players weakened. And it is just a repeat of that first half. Global Esports, they win the pistol round and immediately lose it to the Sheriff purchase.
It's tragic and absolutely
टाइम खेलना चाहिए था भाई, इनको टाइम खेलना चाहिए था.
They set themselves up for success with a great pistol round.
एसके का खेलने का बात नहीं है, एक्चुअली वो शेरिफ थी ना देख.
मैं बताऊं, या फिर इसके रोसी ने गलत एजेंट ले लिया था, एग्रेसिव ही नहीं खेल पा रहा हूँ. जेट लेगा मेरे ख्याल से.
अरे 15 एचपी में साइफर ने क्लच कर दिया, देखा तूने?
स्पेक्टर थी उसमें वो.
उनके पास बाही नहीं है, जी के पास.
Bone Cold's wall here is so annoying to deal with on an eco round for global. It takes every bullet in the pistol just to get rid of it and have any semblance of mid control.
Yeah.
And you've got a nice cam setup there that helps them control A ramp, get a bit of information, or even set up trap plays.
The double face just missing Destrin as he was peeking for that information. Sends out that paranoia as well.
Hello.
Slows down a faster play. Vitality are swarming it now with the rest of their players, making sure they contain that choke point that was being watched for.
But there's less than a minute on the clock. They don't control any area of the map. But Global Esports are 4-10 down. They need.
प्लेट उन लोगों ने ही चूज करा था.
And there you go.
इनका एम बहुत अच्छा है बे. वन टैप लग रहा है क्लियर
Kill
पे.
be found there just from a stray peek.
VIT का.
Backing away, I believe the spiders dropped down to the floor as well off of that, so they know that they're at least attempting to rotate, and Twisting can hear it all. Right through sewers, making all the noise in the world. Flash play around the corner. Nobody hard clearing this. That is a whiff though, and the players do clean up, and there is the capitalization. Dropping down, a little bit inaccurate with the aim, yet still Mulsey will nail the shots and clean up the remaining players.
इन लोग से डिफेंडिंग नहीं हुआ.
Found themselves an opportunity, but again, just no.
वाइटैलिटी तो है ही, वाइटैलिटी तो डिफेंसिव है ना इनका ये वाला.
They'll get there over time, but for now, Global are really
दोनों से 5-5 किल पे हैं. दोनों स्मोकर 8-8 किल पे हैं.
Even offer any utility for Texture to be favored. I mean, look, there's 3-4 seconds before the next player swings there, and no utility to help Texture get into the site. And I feel like that's just been a repetition.
अगर ये मैच जी हार गए तो बाहर हो जाएगी, मिलेगा चांस.
बाहर हो जाती है, यही तो दिक्कत है VCT लॉकिंग का. एक बार हारोगे तो बाहर हो जाओगे डायरेक्ट.
Sorry, I'm just watching the exact same kind of setups that I've seen before on Split from teams like Ascend, teams like 100 Thieves. I mean, this Vitality team has got great protocols on Split.
ना आवाज देख के क्यों घुसना है भाई?
Twisting holding this one with the operator.
मैं क्या कर रहा था? ये
be given any easy opportunities to take a
जी में नए प्लेयर कौन है जो आए?
This might be over peaking from
फ्रेंचाइजी बन गई ना, जी फ्रेंचाइजी बनी है ना, तो उसमें से 2 तो कोरियन है, एक जापानीज है, और एसके रोसी तो है ही हमारा. हाँ, अरे तो फ्रेंचाइजी हो गई ना, वो खेल ही नहीं पा रहे थे इंडियन वाले बंदे.
Holding on top of the rope though, dodge to the side. Good info gained. Now there's 40 seconds left in this round, and it needs to be.
टेक्सचर को तो जानता होगा ना, टेक्सचर तो लीडर बोर्ड में रहता ही है.
But paranoia is going to be again putting a stop to this. There's no fast play behind it. Even that smoke, I think, eating up the flash.
का टेक्सचर और एरिन दोनों तो लीडर बोर्ड में आते हैं.
Not reset enough to take that fight.
इंडिया टीम हार गई ये वाली.
They earn their way to that 12th round, and now one more round stands between them winning this map.
स्प्लिट बहुत खराब मैप है, पता है, बहुत खराब. लेना ही नहीं चाहिए था.
ऑटा तो खेला है ना उसके साथ, मनीएट का तो खेला होगा.
किसके साथ?
मनीएट और वो जितने भी है बंदे टेक्सचर के साथ आया होंगे ना, लॉबी में तो आए होंगे एटलीस्ट एक बार तो, अगर मैच मेकिंग किया होगा तो. ये इमॉर्टल वाले ना, ये सब इमॉर्टल.
ये सब आए हैं जगह.
Vitality is so in control, and the weaponry is brutal here for Global Esports.
क्योंकि इंडियन सर्वर में खेलते हैं तो ये सारे बंदे.
Looks like they're just going to be opting into that B split. A heavy take into B heaven. Sender, the rifle spray down, just about gets the aim online. Now you're going to see that Viper's pit scattered out cross through the choke point, but no one is dealing with this guy. Just perched up in that heaven position, and Aaron, desperation pushing through, but Vitality, they clean it up. And it just looks like another day in the office for this team. We had questions coming into this series, but so far
दो मैच
Vitality,
होते
that
हैं,
dark
best of 2
horse
है.
aura that's just been surrounding them. Looks like people weren't joking.
Not at all.
Simple आया है अभी.
Wow.
Simple आया है.
Twisting the kills.
हाँ,
Is
simple.
that the metaphor there?
Crowd में देखा.
But that was also global esports.
अरे गर्लफ्रेंड के साथ खड़ा था अपने.
That's where Aaron feels comfortable, and I don't think the macro game plans were honestly that bad, but it all came down to the details. The devil is in the details, and global have not found the answers here.
Yeah, just minor moments there, but that's going to do it for map number 1. A short break, and on the other side of things,
अरे
map number 2 will be coming up after
Vitality की
this.
बनती है ना नावी के साथ, इसमें थोड़ा थोड़ा है कनेक्शन भी होता है.
इनका फ्लेक्स बहुत अच्छा है, वीआईटी का बहुत अच्छा फ्लेक्स शॉट है, बहुत खतरनाक वाला.
अरे बोन गोल्ड का एम बहुत प्यारा है.
तो खेल रहे आ रहे हैं ना.
बोन गोल्ड
जो फेल लेके खेला है.
शायद नहीं था, याद नहीं.
नहीं साइफर का और जेट का एम बहुत प्यारा.
ट्विस्टर को देखा वो कैसे बैठा हुआ है सीट में, पैर ऊपर करके बैठा हुआ है वो, उसको फर्क भी नहीं पड़ रहा. वाइटलिटी खेली हुई है ना पहले से ही, इन लोगों को टाइम लगेगा.
एक ही मैच हो गए.
हाँ अरे यही तो दिक्कत है ना वीसीटी का. मतलब एक मैच अगर तुम हार जाओगे तो अगला मैच नहीं खेलने देंगे, तुम डायरेक्ट आउट हो वीसीटी के बाद.
क्या आउट हो गए?
नहीं अभी तो मैप एक और है, पर मैच
तीनों मैच खेलने देंगे कि नहीं?
नहीं, मैप अलग है. मैप तो खेलने देंगे दोनों, पर मैप नहीं खेलने देंगे दूसरा.
अच्छा एक बात बता, उसका जो वेरीफाई मांग रहा है उसको क्या वेरीफाई करना है? फोन नंबर ही वेरीफाई करना है ना? और वो साला फोन वेरीफाई नहीं कर सक रहा है. उसके सर्वर पे बोलता है कि क्या बोलते हैं, नंबर वेरीफाई नहीं मांग रहा है फेरी के सर्वर पे. उसका जो सर्वर है, हमारे सर्वर पे वेरीफाई क्यों मांग रहा है?
मैंने लगा के रखा था ना, बहुत लोग आ जाते थे ऐसे ही, वो लोग मतलब ऐसे ही देखने के लिए आते थे, भाग लेते थे.
कैसे हटाऊं
तो
अभी फिलहाल के लिए?
हटा दिया है मैंने, वो नाटक कर रहा है, पर मैंने हटा दिया.
Well, I guess the Sheriff came to town for Vitality because they managed to pick up a 1-0 win in dominating fashion on Split. Too soon? Too soon? Let's go ahead and jump into the breakdowns, though. Mimi, I think we all were coming into this high hopes for GE. We were interested to see how the experiment was going to work. But I think Sideshow said it best in the cast, right? It is an experiment. This is something that's going to take time, but that does not take away from Vitality, who just look incredible.
Yeah, GE struggled in this map, but Vitality impressed me a lot. I felt like the coordination between these players was on point. Bone Cold had some great ideas as the IGL, and I felt that their implementation of this double duelist comp was quite strong.
Yeah, it really was. And Sideshow also mentioned it to just go ahead and give him some more props. That overall macro strategy, not too bad from the side of GE, but the details are where everything fell apart. You see these Sheriffs coming through. Sheriff Savants, as we've gone ahead and given the moniker. They really just are incredible performance when they have those guns in their hands, when they have any guns in their hands, really. Great consistency from GE to be able to get the pistol round, but it's just tragic that they can't get the follow-up. They can't win the anti-eco, and they just cannot build any momentum off of that. And you have to expect that, especially losing that second anti-eco round, that's just when all the gas just spilled out of the tank.
Yeah, and part of that, I think, is the unforced error of this team is just really, really good with the Sheriff. And part of it is, that's a forced error. And part of it is the unforced error of just GE's coordination was off. And they were giving a lot of these 1-versus-1 duels in positions where they had no business doing so.
Yeah, well, let's actually, go into our Verizon high-speed moment of the match here because, of course, all eyes are on Mulsi and Twistin in this one. And I think that part of the reason why you have to highlight these two players here, they're coming in hot, they're showing what they're capable of doing.
Hello,
They're shutting
Rumbo.
down any ideas that, that GE might try to conjure up here in these situations, and this is one of those reasons.
Yeah, I mean, just monstrous performances coming out from these double duelists, as Mimi was just pointing out. Just been able to perform so well. That reaction time.
हेलो पेरी कुछ बोल रहा है क्या?
हाँ वो आ रहा है, लाइकन ने कुछ तो किया है, वो बोल रहा है वो भी।
अबे भाई वो डायबलो कौन है? उसके पास फोन नंबर नहीं वेरीफाई कर सकता यार।
अरे उसका सीन है, उसका एक्चुअली 2 अकाउंट है डिस्कॉर्ड में।
क्या सीन है? फॉरवर्ड पासवर्ड
मेरी बात सुनिए।
हाँ
अब उसको बोल ज्वाइन कर ले। अब मैंने हटा दिया, कंप्लीट हटा दिया मैंने।
हाँ मैंने उसको बोल दिया।
अरे एक बात सुन, फॉरवर्ड पासवर्ड नाम का भी कोई चीज होता है।
अरे उसका पासवर्ड का सीन ही नहीं है, उसका कॉल का सीन है, कॉल का। वो अभी आएगा ना, वो समझाएगा। देखा आ गया।
अरे छोड़, नहीं समझना, मैच के बाद
सब। हाँ भाई रॉसी का
एम की बात नहीं, वो खेल नहीं पाया, फेज खेल ही नहीं पाया।
पेज 2 ले लिया उसने पहली चीज तो।
एग्रेसिव प्लेयर है ना।
वो डर रहा है वो।
हाँ डर रहा है, सही बात है। ये डर के हम लोग साले इंडियंस डरते ही बहुत है।
वो पहली बार खेल रहा है ना, इसलिए मन नहीं।
तीसरी बार पागल,
पहली बार इंटरनेशनल खेल रहा है।
पहली बार इंटरनेशनल
जानता हूँ,
तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ
पहली बार इंटरनेशनल खेल रहा है, बाहर देश के बाहर जाके खेल रहा है।
वही तो, कोई भी नर्वस आएगा भाई, किसी को आदत नहीं है।
भाई कौन सा
मनी है तो पता नहीं, कस्टम है।
नहीं कीबोर्ड पूछ रहा हूँ तो
कस्टम है, वो कस्टम कीबोर्ड है।
बस पल में यार, पल ले ले बस, पल प्लीज।
ओए सर्टिफिकेट में हो गया शायद।
फायरी, लेकिन तेरे को पता है क्या, अगर कोई प्रोफेशनल प्लेयर रहता है ना, उसको नर्वस
720 में चल रहा है,
अफेक्ट नहीं करना चाहिए ऐसा, ये परफॉर्मेंस डाउन होता है।
वैलो में यही तो होता है, यही तो करते हैं वैलो में, जो परफॉर्म कर रहा है सब उस पे निर्भर हो जाते हैं।
देखो एजेंट दिख रहा है बॉस।
एसके रॉसी केओ फिर से साला ये इनिशिएटर ले रहा है।
अरे फायरी
ये मैप पे ही अच्छा खेलता है, मैंने इसका स्ट्रीम देखा था।
एजेंट क्या लेने का, ये मूवी
क्या
बोला, कोच बोलता है कि क्या एजेंट लेना चाहिए। कोच नहीं बोलता भाई। लास्ट गेम में 2 स्मोक लिए थे भाई, एक वाइपर और एक एस्ट्रा। एक सेंटर
इनका तो कोच भी कोरियन है भाई, इनका तो कोच भी कोरियन है, कोई फायदा नहीं है यार।
अरे ड्रॉप नहीं मिल रहा क्या? लाइक ड्रॉप हट गया क्या?
support, so we
अच्छी
coming
टीम
down
है।
to who can pilot these compositions.
वो ड्रॉप नहीं मिल रहा क्या लॉक-इन वाला?
Looks like Vitality though.
भाई दोस्त से बात
Well,
करता हूँ।
let's go ahead
Hello?
and jump into map 2, of course. Can we get a map 3? Let's go ahead
कहाँ
and
गए
find out.
बंदे यार
Send
हमारे?
it over to Bren and Sideshow.
मैं कह रहा ड्रॉप नहीं मिल रहा क्या?
क्या नहीं मिल रहा?
Very much golden boy. Yeah, that's the
अरे
question.
वो
isn't it? Can
मिलता है
we
ना
get
ट्विच
that
पे?
map 3, but it all starts here on Pearl. So
I
map
think
number 2.
क्या?
Vitality already leading the series 1-0 off the back of some
बंदे
solid calling from Molko. Listen, they
बंदे
came in the scoreboard, but it was the calls that really
points की
sailed
बात
them
कर
away
रहे हैं?
to a really dominant win.
Yeah, I think Boncold's got a crazy journey.
सब
as
चैट
well.
में
He
सब
made it
ट्विच
to
के
the
चैट
top
में
of the
NH के लिख रहे हैं।
mountain, was all the way up at the peak
ट्विच के
of
चैट
Valorant,
में
lifting the
इंडियन है ही साले ऐसे क्या करें?
and then dropped
सब
all the way
जगह
down to play in the French leagues and the VRLs.
साला डिमोटिवेट कर देते हैं बंदों को।
The Sisyphus of Valorant. He just pushed that rock
मैच
all
स्टार्ट
the
हो
way
गया
to the top,
बॉयज।
and now he's back down at the bottom, pushing it back up again. But the struggle itself is enough to fill Boncold's heart.
अटैकिंग किसका है?
Journey in the grind.
कौन अटैक कर रहा है?
Players might have just been
फिर
content for their whole career chasing that goal once. Boncold's there for
जी
everything.
का अटैक है ग्लोबल esports का।
भाई
टीम
टीम अच्छी है, टीम अच्छी है। बराबर है। दो इनिशिएटर, एक सेंटिनल, एक डिफेंस्ट। Players to back them up, spam their protection, gotta be wary because he knows the center's just again lurking his way through, but finally to back up.
फिर से ये लोग पीक क्यों लेते हैं भाई? समझ नहीं आता। चूल है इनको।
In fact, Aaron and Munya would die to just one shot to the body with the sheriff in his hands right now, so they do actually.
लाइकन हेलो आवाज आ रही है?
They do have a crossfire set up.
आ रही है, 1v3 सिचुएशन है अभी। अपना ही है,
ये
जीत का है।
Pushes him back just to the
मैं आवाज की बात नहीं कर रहा। मैं कह रहा इनको पीक लेने का चूल है। पता नहीं पीक क्यों लेते हैं।
Similar tale to what we saw.
जीत का पता है लेकिन साले स्प्लिट में भी यही कर रहे थे। प्लांट होने के बाद पीक ले रहे। पीक क्यों ले रहे? एंगल होल्ड करके बैठो ना।
अरे ट्रेड निकाल रहे थे। निकला ना जीते
Global might be the team with the highest pistol round win rate in the tournament to go home in the first round. I mean, they need to be able
अरे
to convert
देख
the
मेरे को एक सीन बताता क्या रहता है जो अटैकर रहते हैं वो साथ में रहते हैं डिफेंडर्स अलग अलग रहते हैं तुम जितना स्टार्टिंग में फाइट लोगे ना अटैकर उतना बेटर है क्योंकि तुम्हें पिक्स मिल जाएंगे और रोटेशन के सीन में प्रॉब्लम हो
Vitality
जाएगी
have gone for a gamble stack and the Sheriffs are on the opposite side of the map completely.
इधर गया उसका नाइफ।
बी
ना ले गया।
Global Esports are not open. I think this is just going to be
कौन
an
है?
easy win. They're taking their time
लेकिन
early on to set
डिटेक्ट ही
up
नहीं हुआ
A
कोई
in A main.
रेड साइक्लोन कौन है ये?
के रोसिले
क्या
फिर से जा रहा है
Second guess things because that landed very late over towards A main. Faked it with that presence, but no, this time the Global Esports players will be just flooding into that A side.
उसका भी चैनल विजिट कर
Gonna be afforded to them.
8 से एंट्री हो गई है
But also,
भाई बहुत अच्छा मैं बोल रहा हूँ ये
in one of the pistol rounds, or rather
ये
one of the
ऐसा नहीं होता है
follow-ups,
भाई
we saw the
देख,
retake
पागल
just
भाई
so
पूरा
late.
मैच नहीं है भाई
When
पूरा मैच तो
Global
ले
gave them 1v1,
भाई
they
यार,
सेकंड
second
राउंड तो
round
इजी है
trade.
तीसरा राउंड मैटर करता है
हाफ
तीसरा
हो जाए ना
राउंड
तब
जो
तो
जीता
कुछ
वही
गैस
जीता
कर सकता है
Spectre system.
क्योंकि
And the
इको
Global Esports
भाई
players are
भाई
so
कमबैक होने में टाइम नहीं लगता है इसलिए
पांचों डिटेक्ट हो गए
surely.
3 लोग डिटेक्ट हो गए भाई
So the knife there,
तीन
not going
लोग
to be tagging onto the Asher player. Give me a that pull.
फिर से शेरिफ का खोपड़ी पड़ रहा है।
उसका मॉली
Moves
उड़ा दिया
forwards, they're losing a couple of players. Now to C's also claiming one of the targets there. Sticking onto the fuse. Destrian doesn't get half. Not
भाई
sure though he
टिको
doesn't.
रैश टिको
Like that
अरे
at
भाई
least. And the spam through this game plan. A little bit all over the place. Sticking to
Nice.
half. No way. Not a shot in hell. But time running too low for him to make the most of that one again.
ने
So
भी लेग शॉट मारा उसको
well, they
भाई
do just about
भाई
scrape
कुछ
through
ज्यादा ही
and
रे
claim
यार
that round. But Global Esports,
ये
it's
फैंटम
an expensive one for them to win.
They're going to give the
कितना
Global
expensive
Esports
पड़
CEO
गया
an aneurysm.
भाई ये
I mean,
उनका फेड अच्छा
these
खेलता
second
है।
rounds are absurd.
उनका फेड
The decision
हाँ,
from
बोल
Russell to
सकते
push the smoke when Monya had already used his pull. There is
ये
no
सेंटर
chance
बोल
that
रहा है,
anyone is on the
उनका
spike
KJ बोल
there.
रहा है,
And
ये
it's, again, the
साइड
small
उनका
details
KJ बोल रहा है।
making those rounds losable for Global. But all right, they get through it, and they're going to force up. So this is not a bonus round. This is just a straight up rifle v rifle round in round 3.
अभी नहीं
Everything
पता
on the line.
अभी कुछ नहीं बोल
Whoever
सकता
loses this, drop back down to an eco.
कब बोलोगे बताओ यार। चलो ये राउंड के बाद अपना प्रेडिक्शन लेते हैं ठीक है।
So much
पागल हो
importance
क्या
now
3
for
राउंड से
Esports.
कुछ नहीं होता पागल जैसी बात
Esports
करते हो
not
तुम भी
messing around, are they? Flooding that util through. Knife's going to get removed though. Might put a stop here to Global Esports trying to exec into this one because it's a little bit
डिफेंड में
slow
कितने
and
राउंड्स
forced
निकलते वो
twist them. The right time to strike. What a flash through.
3v3
The entirety of the opposing team just blind to that one, dashing
अरे
through to the side.
smoke के through
Smoke's being watched for. Twiston, you absolute animal. 3 kills claimed, but Bazzi will answer back, but he's left in this 1v2.
बाजी मार भाई, बाजी कर.
Bazzi.
This is going to be difficult for him. He tapped the spike. And just trying to at
Sab
least
head
take down
मारते
one
हैं,
of the
सब head.
players. So intelligent by Destrian. Doesn't give him an easy task of just trying to hunt him down.
We saw Destrian playing exactly the same on split too. Never offering opportunity.
P3 push किया हूँ अभी P1 में अटका हूँ.
Because of his passive positioning. Twiston is playing like a monster in this game though. He's
कम खेलता हूँ मैं अभी.
and because
ऑफिस
the
भी रहता
trades
है.
are so poor from
नहीं खेल
Glove,
पाता.
he's just able to take one-on-one, then another one-on-one, and another one-on-one. He always gets
Diamond
the opportunity
Ascendant
to
हो
reset
सकता
his
है
spray,
या फिर
reset his aim, because Global are just not quite sharp enough.
Ascendant पे पहुंच जाता. 20 RR रह गए थे पहुंचने के.
Kills end up flooding through, but then there's just a
और
1-2
तब
hit
तक
on us.
इतने स्मर्फी आ गए कि साले रैंक डाउन कर दिए.
The flash repeat play, just never letting Global Esports regain that kind of balance.
Eco बहुत खराब हो गया भाई.
And so push down to that eco round. We were highlighting the importance of it.
थर्ड राउंड में तो खराब होता ही है.
Buying into that previous
बोनस
round.
राउंड.
Global Esports just taking their time for now.
उनका bonus
Playing for that heavy A main control, just trying to grab some orbs, get some ults online potentially for the next one.
होना चाहिए ना, लेकिन वो लोग second round में इतना
Twiston's
expensive पड़
going
गया ना.
looking,
सब
hunting for the
Phantom भी नहीं
fights.
मिला
So
था.
greedy.
Second round
But also so confident, right?
I mean, he's not going to give away a gun. He's got a shorty in his blade storm, so he can afford to make a play like this.
हाँ तो भाई.
को second round बहुत expensive
Be
पड़
frowned
गया था,
upon.
इसलिए वो लोगों ने भाई
Might be donating a rifle, but
Did he catch a glimpse
देखा
of
वो
something?
निकला है, इसके निकला.
He knows they're in art either way.
fight now. Just being taken and that swing timing around the back. Reset there of the knives. SK Rossi doesn't get any sort of bailout there.
2-2, let's
2-2
go.
going to be that scoreline.
Guys, don't forget to hit the like button and make sure to subscribe. Support Indian teams.
Their footing.
They've got some big ults to work with. I mean, there's nothing really happening in that prior round, the anti-eco, but this is one where Aaron needs to cook up a strategy. They've got lockdown, they've got nightfall to work with. These are big ultimates to apply a lot of pressure. I think Global Esports composition is probably going to want to play towards the A site more often because they don't have
subscribe मारो guys. जो नए बंदे हैं subscribe मारो.
in that direction. But I think the question of how to apply B pressure has also got to be asked. Both teams, of course, run in the same comp, so.
Peek दिया तो आया.
Twiston's drafted up onto this box ahead of time. With an operator in his hands as well, he can watch all the way down this angle. The Util didn't clear him away.
It is also a dangerous position to hold because we've seen Texture could double updraft and get the kills on him with the knife.
But okay, contact reclear now.
अरे इनको check करना चाहिए brown डब्बा.
Slide off angle now behind this box. That wasn't really an attempt there.
Oh, nice shot.
Holding the angle. The crosshair placement was good, but does not get the kill.
Phantom moment.
Yep.
Nice shot, KJ द्वारा.
It survives and Global Esports are just picking apart Vitality at the seams is what it feels like, and now it's on Twiston.
घुमा के दे दिया.
Just a bit of an ego peek there with the operator through that smoke, gets the one kill. Horn going to be spotting out Multi, drops down an aid, and when yet otherwise,
situation.
his astral form.
Look where SK Rossi is here. He's gone all the way through B on the world's longest flank.
They know.
Twiston's watching for it.
Yeah, he's watching for it. Seems to be just aware of the possibility. Angle's being watched. Pop flash play as well for that re-clear. Now time needs to be paid for. Yep, the flank not being watched for.
Jaldi yaar, Rossi.
And all the pressure is on him.
Oh, nice.
Swinging down, but beams them down.
Oh, nice.
For Shorty, man. Shorty's a strong gun, but it won't save you against that.
Now the line up there from Vitality.
नहीं off क्यों लेना? Off. एक में थोड़ा slow हो जाता है.
Great play from SK Rossi. I was worried that his flank would be either way too late or watched for, because Twiston felt like he had to read the whole
Timing पे आया लेकिन Rossi.
coming around. I don't know quite how Global Esports got read like that, but still Rossi coming up with the goods. That's the first round where we've really seen him take control of the game.
Come on.
So back and forth. That's a fast play with a blade storm. You can see Texture, he'd already dashed across to take this A main control. Now that Cosmic Divide as well. So Nightfall's going to be used as a response to this one. Vitality, making it difficult for them to commit onto this. And Global Esports should be second guessing this now because there's 3 players of Vitality just ready and waiting.
That is great work from Bone Cold as well. He had to use that exactly in reaction to SK Rossi's ult. So he was prepped.
अच्छा B पे KJ घुस गई है.
Read the play and counted it.
No.
It does feel like Global Esports have been thrown a bit off balance here because now it's just a scramble. 5 players now grouped up. Use that Prowler to re-clear deep into B main, but
I would have loved to see Aaron use his lockdown as a fake re-hit onto the A site to allow Global Esports to go for this pivot, but they're making it really noisy. A lot of utilities stomping the footsteps all along, and Vitality are just booking it to the B site.
There's no nuance in this.
फिर से साला ये ऑफर लगा के
Making all the noise in the world right now. Angle not being watched for. And what a timing to take, Monye. Ripping off the header sender, swinging through, and that spacing just not good enough. A collateral in play, and one after the other. They try to take the fights, but they will all fall.
भाई गलत हो गया, कोलैट हो
Absolute
गया.
masterclass in his performance, but again, it's just those little errors piling up for Global Esports that just doesn't allow them to sail away with a round win.
And when you leave these openings, a player like Twiston, especially on Jet, that allows you to take timings and then dash away to safety, and he's just loving it out there. Twiston's had one of the best opening games I can remember. He's 11-4 already after 6 rounds have been played. He had 20 kills at the half on split. I can't remember exactly what he finished on. But this is an insane opener.
Now a fight to be taken. So risky a play, you've got to be kidding me.
There's another one.
Yep.
It's over in a flash.
I mean, collateral after collateral.
The word flawless doesn't quite even sum that up. It's an understatement.
And yeah, it was an eco round, but even still, it's been a recurring theme.
उनके पास बहुत eco है.
Dropping a couple of these rounds just from the fact that they haven't been able to swing with enough spacing between them, and that honestly it feels like right between the elbows.
हाँ साले तुक्का है और कुछ नहीं.
Not sure how I
हंस क्या रहा है?
Sure, I'll take it.
अगर तुक्का रहता तो फिर वो पहला मैच टॉप रैंक नहीं करता.
Global need to find an answer. They still have
ऑफ की बात कर रहा हूँ. ऑफ में जो लगे शॉट वो तुक्का है, कोलैट होने से लगे.
Trying to push and pull the different pieces that he has on his chessboard, but he hasn't really found enough opportunities to get involved himself, and Aaron was actually one of their biggest players on
कोलैट थे ब्रो, कोलैट थे. तू देख स्लो मोशन में देख.
Diligence there though from Global Esports, making sure to jump peek these corners and if they bait that op shot, they know the Twiston's playing the other direction. Now the util's going to be sent flying through. That's going to be a prowler up close. Lockdown as a response though.
And they know that this is going to get value because Bone Cold had cleared out the whole of A. However, Bone Cold running into Monye there does open a path for Global Esports to just pivot back.
Expect there to be players there, I suppose, but Lockdown used ever so slightly later, so yeah. Clearing out this side, but there was space at the back of Hall. Someone needs to break this turret. Texture just being whistled down to no health at all, but players are weak.
Do they
एक से एक बंदे हैं भाई.
Do they know the lockdown?
No backhalls control, and that's an immediate punish from that one. Just on a heaven position, he was offered a free shot, but it just about missed this one. Are they going to be able to get this plant down?
Backstab कर रहा है क्या
They
कोई?
haven't cleared these players out of backhalls again. Just seeing limits to it, and Destrin, he's caught this flank timing. No one's watching it. So many gaps in the play. And just like that, picked apart. Munyet. One star, has the pull, he can disrupt this one, but so much to do for him. Good timing off it, he is smoked away though, but that's going to dissipate, and it's all on this.
They don't know where he is.
What timing can he take? Buys his time, has to hit the shots, reset one at the avenue, but it's just being stuck.
क्या मार रहा है आपका शॉट?
Hitting the no scope after someone tries to shorty him.
ये वाला अच्छा शॉट मारा वो.
15-4, and Global Esports just not able to put together a round again. The gap that Destrian exploits is inch perfect. He got into this position because he'd slunk his way, on the flank through B link. So while Bone Cold ran through spawn, Destrian managed to through the shop area. And he knew the Money wasn't watching it.
हाँ वो जंप कर रही थी ना.
Enough layers.
But also, Vitality are doing such a good job of just abusing all of the holds, right? It's one thing to know that your opponent's making mistakes, but Vitality are getting the punish every time.
Very intelligent gameplay from them. Another instance now where it is Global Esports knocked down to the weaker by. You can't have a repeat of that first map. Said earlier, they can regain it.
ये पूरा स्टैक है यार. अच्छा बी पे जेट ने पोजीशन ले लिया है.
Between these rounds, 5-3 being that scoreline, it's not too wide. Still, a lot could be done.
वही ना बी पे देख कहाँ रुका है वो.
Obviously chances back into this map. Chances back into this series. Especially if their players were feeling the nerves and And that impacted the game and they can get over it.
Flash through, Horn's quite good, lands into the back of the side, but ever so slightly mistimed. And okay, Texture, let's see what you can do. Cloudburst laid down, his gun wasn't ready. Util good there, multi-weakened. Dropping down quite low, that's a double swing onto a high-low setup, and the Frenzy, just not enough bullets to make the most of it.
Next round, the most important one though for Global. It's an opportunity to get the momentum back and put a round on the board where you'll still be able to buy next time. Cosmic Divide can be massive. I mean, we've seen teams just pop a Cosmic Divide down on B, go for the plant spot behind the box, play post plants off the back of that. There are certainly options here. It's about how they navigate the space and make it so that Vitality aren't just stacking the side of the map that they want to play. Oh, Vitality are looking like they want to fight really heavily over B here.
Feels like a hard read almost. They see that the Astral Wall is available. Giving them easy access to the top side there of B main.
And the brutal thing about this, Bren, is that if Twiston scares them away from B, look what Destrian's got for them on A. He's just sat in secret with an Odin, waiting to deny the plan.
With a turret covering his head.
Yeah.
I mean, the setup is just so well thought out right now, and the alarm bot's going to give all the information for Sender to know that they are lurking their way through Art.
Salah and Bone Cold have been cooking.
Setup's looking nice. They'd close though, that should push them back off that corner, but they haven't broken the alarm bot. So, full knowledge to be gained now. Vitality know that nobody's committed off the back of that utility through Art.
भाई इनका अटैकिंग करना इतना मुश्किल हो रहा है क्या? बहुत रेल इसमें क्यों नहीं लिया? रेल चलता है इस मैप पे.
That's a good knife though. We'll at least deactivate that alarm, but the players are there to just, again, fill up the pieces. Twiston holding this one. It's a flash and a nightfall. Does push him back. Absolute ego plays, fully blinded up.
Nice.
Well, just some blind fire it seems like. Now Bone Cold needs to be the difference maker. Because Vitality have dropped like flies, and his timing is absolutely everything, but the shots just do not land still. One after the other. SK Rossi, does he expect it to be a second player? The answer is no. This high ground position, a bit of spam there with the Odin. Destrian does reveal his position.
4v2, don't pick, guys.
2v4. Double swing there, and a weapon just not good enough for that job.
Good double face, though. That's what we've been missing.
That is what we've been missing, and despite the fact that Sender's crosshair placement was immaculate, not going to be afforded anything else.
Pathing from Global there. I think they found a really nice opening through B Link. But what on earth was Malsey doing? Flashing with his knife out, running through the smoke. That's a major blunder. And so far, all of the unforced errors have been in Global Esports camp. And that's the first round where we've really seen Vitality make a play and then fumble it completely. But you've got to give credit, the utility pressure from Global was great as they went through B-Link. They pushed Twiston away, they just also got gifted the kill. Can they string together this one opportunity into a decent half here? They still have this Cosmic Divide. A B site hit would be nice, but I think Sender's got the read. He's got nanoswarms in the common plant spots on B.
Counter knife is very nice. Really getting off onto the two players there, so it suppresses them and it pushes them back.
My big problem though is Global are creating no pressure on the other side of the map. Destrian has already been confident enough to just poke his head around A main. Oh, yeah, nothing there. And there's 4 players already on the B side. Global need to have a bit more of a spread presence, a global presence, if you will, on the map.
So I'm looking for a new co-caster. I'd like to send in your applications.
I think Pansy's in need of
Peek लेगा तो मरेगा उधर ऑफ लगा के रखा है.
Okay, so now actually Global cutting a bit of noise and offering the tiniest of noises and pressure in mid has made the defenders spread out a little bit. But not enough.
Aware, surely, because look at this reposition. Close to the corner, Sender's there. And is there going to be util to clear them out? Usually there's a seize that accompanies this push. Lassie does have it available, and they just push forward. Shorty's in their hands. Right up in the air, inaccurate, still finding the kill. They have been pushed back for the moment now. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me! Oh my goodness. Weakening the players. Still they answer back and into the back of the halls.
Claim
that area of the map for them, down to Destrian.
अरे भाई पीछे backstep.
Is anybody going to be watching for him? Aaron tucked behind the box, just waiting it out. A lot of fights he needs to take, but with all that pressure, there's no way. Good swing timing from Aaron though, but left now.
2v1 ना.
2v1. And Twiston is running out of time. Exchange there for the rifle. Has one more cloud burst, but now the swarm. Tags onto him. 55 health drop down. A bit of random spam. Finds the first kill, but he did not get half on this defuse. Dash enabled. Aaron sticking all the way through. And oh my goodness, almost making the play, but salvaged in the end.
That
is an incredibly close round, but I think Esports has done a great job there. Their ability to get into the site and use the Cosmic Divide to get into a favorable post plan, I like that. They're finally being able to string a couple of rounds together, and this is already a good half. 5 rounds on the board. If they can push it to 6, they're really starting to apply the pressure to Vitality. And you're seeing the players get a bit more confident. They're waking up.
Waking up indeed. If they can make this an even half, it'll be beautiful for them. Lovely setup. This fight is about to take place with the guess what? Bit of a jet diff occurring right there and then. Should making a name for himself, honestly, as well as that Korean jet player of 2023. And Twiston has been so far an absolute demon in this series, shutting him down early. It's going to be quite good for them.
Yeah, taking out the final boss in the early stages is definitely going to be useful. But there are other players in Vitality that can be just as problematic. Money is going to have to control this.
Yo, the timing there was just so unfortunate. Money dropping into his Astro form, but now there needs to be some pace. Moving all the way forwards, can he take control in the back of this site? Oh my goodness!
Oh my god.
Just beamed all the way down, nothing covering them as well from that position. Bone Cold's handed some of the easiest kills of his life. And now the lockdown. Just layer after layer, pushing the players back texture, just cannot quite get out of there. And SK Rossi in that 1v3. Pride of India, but with 25 seconds left, he's put in an impossible task.
We saw Aaron win a 1v3 earlier on to give Global Esports the first pistol on. Rossi's got the talent.
Fight being taken, but not much time left into this one. Util just being dumped through and a wall watched for Destrian knew that time pressure was on, and 7-5 will be that scoreline. Global Esports fighting back in their own way, making it quite respectable.
Yeah, I think that is a respectable half. That's what you're
अरे ये हेवन का स्मोक ही हट गया भाई, क्या स्मोकर है देख, जब एंट्री ले रही थी तो स्मोक ही हट गया हेवन का, उनका कॉम थोड़ा ढीला लग रहा है.
This is still a really close map.
Yeah. Now a very special halftime as well.
नहीं स्मोक हटना ही नहीं चाहिए हेवन का, इजी तो मिल गया ना उसको VIT को.
That is right, Bren and Saisho. I've got Rishi with me, the co-founder and owner of Global Esports. You waited a long time to see your players up on this stage. To finally see them play.
Rushi.
Supporting them as well.
Yes, it feels amazing. It's crazy. We didn't think we'd get this far, but here we are, playing on the biggest stage in the world.
Yeah, I love hearing you guys cheer for them as well. All of the GE fighting coming on as well. What do you make of their performance so far? That was a really close half.
Yes, it's been okay so far. I know this is usually how the team starts, so even when they're scrimming, the first map is usually the slowest and then they pick up pace. It's looking so far so good. I think we should be able to pick up and take this map out and hopefully take it to map 3.
Oh, you have faith?
Yes, I have to.
Now, if you could, talk to your players right now, give them a little bit of motivation, what would you say to them right now?
Oh, wow. It's easy. GE fighting.
GE fighting?
Yes.
Anything else? Because I feel like a couple of them looked a little bit nervous in the beginning, but they're really picking up the pace now.
No, I think they're okay. A lot of them have experience on stage before, and the people that I was worried about are Monye and Texture because they haven't played on such a big stage before. So I think they're doing pretty good. I think now the team is just getting warmed up. They'll be good.
We're going to get to a map 3. You're promising me this. You're confident?
If not, I'll get you a jersey.
Oh, I'll take it. Okay, let's get a GE fighting at home for the fans that are watching.
Okay, perfect.
GE fighting!
GE fighting.
Yes.
And also shout out to the 300+ people watching at our watch party in Mumbai.
Oh, okay. I love that. I love that shout out. Thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to see what they can do in the second half, and I'm going to pitch this back to Saisho and Bren to get it on the way.
Location दे रहा है मुंबई में watch party.
GE fighting. That's the key. That is the key, Josh. The key to victory. And listen, this map is looking much better for them in comparison to that first map that we were just watching on Split, where it was very one-sided. You know, when you have new rosters being formed in this fashion, like Global Esports, talent coming from many different directions, different teams as well, different nationalities, there's always a risk that they might just falter on the big stage like this.
Yeah, but heading into this pistol round, it's going to be so important. I think it's almost too much to ask that Global Esports could win 4 out of 4 pistols. But so far, they've been good for it. They've had set plays, and I feel like maybe quite a lot of their prep focus has been on winning those pistols.
Yeah.
And, you know, they tripped up on split. They weren't able to convert, but that was a different map. Maybe they were in a different place mentally, too. This one's really important.
And so a lot of focus being placed now onto this pistol round, but you already see it. Waves of that utility being used. Hammered into the back of the B side, Twiston up close, and there's that Nano Swarm. Texas trying to evacuate. He was dropped down low and does fall, but SK Rossi still alive, still in the fight, and he answers back. 2 kills claimed, making it that much more difficult for them, and still the flank being watched for.
Nice
play. Yeah, controlling that spray down, so watching for the flank now. It's down to 2 players of Vitality. Bonko will get this plant off. There's not going to be any pressure applied to disrupt them, but Destrum with the timing. No one really watching that one, and now taking the swings all together. Monyet inside of his Ashley, finally the swing is there from Aaron. The team captain, the IGL, making sure that they can slam dunk once again another pistol round.
Yeah, 4 out of 4 pistols for Global. They look clean in these rounds. They just need to extend it, that kind of focus to the rest of their game. What a performance. And what a 2K from Rossi as well. This one really crucial, the shutdown center. But the anchoring from Rossi there was very nice. The kill onto Texture so important. And Brent, I know we've talked a lot about Rossi, but I feel like he's just such a cool player in terms of his backstory and his motivations. And I was watching a recent interview that he had with Yinsu, and he said that he's done well domestically, but that was never his goal. He said, in India, we always worship foreign idols, foreign teams. We never had an Indian team to look up to or an Indian player to look up to, because we had no achievements outside our country. And SK was saying, I need to change that. I am in a position to change that. This is my moment. I need to do it. I mean, that just speaks, I think, to the way that Global Esports is approaching this game and the way that Rossi's approaching this game. And this is a winnable map for them.
Yeah, so winnable. That importance as well for India as a region. We really have been hammering this point home, but it's a region that's just been, you know, marred, I think, by issues with the infrastructure as well. Just really kind of like putting a damper on it. This is a massive moment. Make the most of it here on this big stage for SK Rossi.
Yeah, can you capitalize? And the rest of Global as well. I mean, it's players from all over the place with different backgrounds and different stories, which makes it a really ambitious project. Texture, picking up both of those kills over on A and shutting down one of the biggest threats. A 3v5 for Vitality. Surely it's unwinnable, even with the Sheriff potential.
Even with the Sheriffs, I mean, oh my goodness, it's looking a bit awkward. Nowhere near as awkward as it has been in the prior map. Already just layering into the util. Sees the horn, everything being used. Multi.
पिछवाड़े में पड़ी थी Multi के.
Make it difficult for them, but Texture's watching.
Nice shot, Texture द्वारा.
This time, Global Esports able to win out in that anti-eco round. Not too much damage being done as well to their own economy, so a much better beginning to this half.
Yeah, super important. And if you recall last time, round 2, Global Esports barely kept anybody alive, and they had to buy up for round 3, so they didn't get a bonus. With how cleanly Texture dealt with these players, they've got a good bonus round. Yeah. So do we see a set strat? Can they damage the Vitality economy? Can they keep some momentum going? For the first time in this entire series, the play is actually in Global Esports' hands.
A battle is not going to be taking place just yet, but that slow take of A main control from Vitality. Have the rifles, of course. At the same time, that util being set forward is just bomb covered alone. Just trying to make sure that they've got presence, and this time the swing timings are there. They were spaced up, overlapping each other. There was potential for that spray down, but the site going to be gained. So Vitality realizing it's been offered for them. And now the flank timing. Twiston is so pushed all the way into their spawn with the rifle in his hands right now, and it has been cleared, but where's the trade? It's not there.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Them down, and a dash back just to disengage. To play with the rest of his team in his high-low setup. Brutal to try and break through. Texture, in the midst of all of this, it's managed to find himself a rifle, but 2v4, might as well try and play it. Random spam again, just onto that common angle means that Monyet's dealt with it. Oh my goodness, the reactions, just dragging that one all the way down, finding a final bullet.
The spray control from Twiston and Mulsey
भाई अगर
was
मैं
impeccable in that
तो
round.
कैसे खेलता मैं?
And once again, the same as Split. This duo, this relatively unknown duo to the global stage is pounding. Yeah. And if you talk to any fans of EMEA, Twiston and Mulsey, they're primed. They're ready to take that next step up to the big stage and show everybody how talented they are. Underrated, but very skilled.
They have just been waiting for that opportunity to showcase what they can do on the global events, on the global stage.
And that bonus round from Global didn't actually do very much damage to the Vitality economy. So...
Flash play! Oh my goodness, that's a little bit awkward.
Oh, Texture didn't take a point of damage, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I mean, just about gets out of there, doesn't he? Still, another pop flash play, and that angle was just...
Nice.
Oh my goodness! One yet just running in circles around them, spraying them down, a bit of inaccuracy helping them out, and well, the main choke point also being watched for.
Flawless चाहिए, flawless चाहिए, flawless.
A bit more of a defensive position from him, but this round so far just entirely secured up from Monyet, really.
Yeah, I think the biggest player that has improved from map 1 to map 2 and maybe shaken off some of the nerves that Rushi was talking about is Monyet.
टीम के बंदे नहीं मरते तब किसी को नहीं मरना चाहिए.
Fight, not be there for a trade on Split, and now on Pearl he is in the right place at the right time more often than not.
Timing of that was just insane.
It was, yeah. I mean, he's playing anti-flash and he swings to help his teammate, sprays them both down. Second kill, maybe a bit of run and gun.
Sender's going to try and
nice, flawless.
his best to win out that round, but no swings, no easy fights being afforded. And so a prime gaming flawless here for Global Esports, 8-8. Being this scoreline.
That's major. Yeah. And Vitality are actually now put in a difficult spot. Their economy is good enough to force, but it will leave them with a bit of a worse setup. How Sender quite beats that first engagement, I am not sure. Sender should have had...
Monyet का तो भाई अच्छा मार रहा है Monyet.
Sender should have had the kill on Texture 10 times out of 10 there.
But that flawless round working out, and now it has pulled out a timeout from Vitality. They're feeling okay. Setting up the heat a little bit. Map 1 was nice and easy for us, but this one is a bit of a different task, and so feel pressured to take that tax timeout and decide what they want to do.
I think part of the decision will be, do we want to force on them? They can afford 4 rifles, so I think the best option is to force in that situation. But Destrian's only going to have a Sheriff. Yeah. So it puts him in a bit of an odd spot, but it's pretty fine to have your Astra play passive on the attack side and mostly just control one area, look for flanks, play the post plan.
Some good ults that are online for Vitality and are going to be coming online as well. So you have that Nightfall and Lockdown available to them. One away from the no command.
But I think from a tactical perspective, from a strategic perspective, there's not too much that's talking to them about here.
Global Esports कम से कम 8 मैच तो जीत ले.
Through the map have been relatively
टीम VIT को हरा के जीत जाए मजा आ जाएगा.
Towards Arc. I don't think that's really like something you need to change the map.
अरे ये मैच पे डिपेंड पड़ता तब तो लोटस जाएगा.
Again, the battle of the Jets, you're going to be witnessing this head to head. Recall start up close. It's just a star popped actually off the back of that one, and it's left ever so slightly. Texture. Beautiful shot from him, just finding the target. Twiston though playing up close, flash play as well. Let's see if he wants to try and play through this one. A dash forwards into it, and the angle not watched for SK Rossi with the anchoring. Might have just overcooked it though. Tries to take the wider swing, wanted a little bit more, and he is going to be punished. And that lockdown, Texture just mistiming it.
Okay, doesn't look like Texture's going to get punished because this would be wild overextension for Sender, but they might catch a rotator, a retaker.
Yeah, pushing forwards, just trying to take this fight forwards. There's a Prowler, and a whole lot of utility just jumped through. Texture though, what an answer once more. The Blade Storm ripped out of his hands, and 4 kills were found in that round. Wonderful, wonderful response, and you know, for as much as we have been highlighting Twiston as that player, as that guy, who's just been the spearhead, the entirety of Vitality, just putting up monstrous numbers. Texture finally coming online and finally really just showcasing what he can do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was worried when he got caught in the lockdown, but they'd already shut down the player that could punish him. I think if Twiston was alive, he would have
जेट ने क्या 3 पिक्स निकाले भाई, मजा आ गया.
Pop off. Aaron's happy with that. Texture's not a bad replacement for Cryo on.
अरे स्प्लिट बहुत गंदा मैप है भाई, रीमेक होने के बाद भी अच्छा नहीं है।
Have we seen Vitality on an eco round?
I mean, we have when they've been losing these pistol rounds.
Sure.
But outside of that, it feels
nice.
I can't quite recall, but it definitely feels like Global have got the best opportunity they've had.
Oh, nice.
Again, Monya, though, gets a 3K out of that position, even though he's pushed.
Being pressured there by the Stingers as well is difficult.
कॉम्बैट घुस गया, पता है कि नहीं किसी को?
Remain unscathed, so the fact that he did get 3
हाँ,
is
पता है।
impressive, but they have handed over this rifle to Destrian.
मिड घुसा है, ये पता है ना?
Afforded for Vitality.
अस्त्रा मिड घुसी है।
It's going to have to be again heroics, lurk plays maybe. You can see him throwing out the starter just to throw in a bit of subterfuge, but I believe there's an alarm bot just before it. Yeah, so they're just fully aware that he's not going to be pushing.
उसको पता है कि मिड घुसा हुआ है।
And he was hoping that the smoke would draw more players to A and allow him to get a lurk off, but Bazi was watching that area no matter what.
Heavy round था तो क्या सेव करेंगे?
Opportunity for Vitality to turn this one around, especially with only 30 seconds, but we've seen them win some crazy rounds so far.
Dash popped off, that's in response to that. Asher Star's just being placed down, and yeah, down to Destrian, but he's contained, taken care of. Global Esports.
Come on, GE, come on.
Losing prior control of mid in that round, so they have taken the lead in this map. This next round now going to be so important for Vitality. Ton of ults available to them if they wanted to try and swing it around, but Global Esports not even on their map hit. They are finding themselves with a steady lead. The potential is there now to try and take this all the way into that map 3.
And I think that the level that Vitality is playing.
हाँ ये जी, अगर ये राउंड जीती ये बहुत मैटर करता है ये राउंड.
To me, the big
उनके पास फिर बाय नहीं होगा.
Global Esports stepping up to the challenge. Bit of a fight happening in mid here as Global Esports look like they want to pressure. Nice shot. Again, tip of the spear off.
Just able to do that one on LAN apparently.
And now Vitality, without the tip of the spear, are just left with a stick.
Again, it's a recurring theme, it feels like. Texture just removing that threat. Twiston, the guy is supposed to be leading the charge.
The defensive side probably just favored, you know, in the jet head-to-head. That's what you absolutely need to do. You can't allow Twiston to just have his way, which he was able to do all the time in map 1.
Prowler does push away.
अरे मिड घुसने नहीं देना था.
Now opting to play at the back of the side, but there's going to be that no command sent through. Watching for the smoke push. No one there. It's going to dissipate. Now a Cosmic Divide as well. And Texture, you got to be kidding me. You can't be trying to push through this one. I mean, can't use any abilities whatsoever. Doesn't even have a dash. Does he still want to try and take this one? Planted out into the open.
It's a great plant spot.
Yeah.
I think the key player to watch here is going to be Monya.
Timing is being taken into mid. Could be a bit of a backstab play. Prowler goes through the wall as it does fade away. Monya now. Not the smokes, it's a double face! Okay. Contained, just that flank, that one play that was happening. Now to Nightfall, scatters his way across, but it's that 3v3. Bazi sticking it, does manage to get half the shot. Not fired, but eventually they deal with him. But has enough been done for them? The smoke again fading away. Texture sticking it now. Cloud burst, but eventually enough shots fired off into the cloud burst that they find their mark. And Vitality.
Mid नहीं देना है यार. Mid दोगे तो भाई यही होगा.
I think though the strengths of Vitality's post plant would win them most of the time that round.
Yeah.
The fact that they control Art so heavily, and this kill here to me just closes the round out, because without any pressure, they have 3 players holding this angle, and the spike is just right in the open, right in front of them. Unless the spray
उनके पास तो पैसा होना चाहिए डिफेंडिंग के पास. हाँ पैसा तो है.
There's the punish. I was wondering if anybody would try and pull that out. It is such a dangerous position to opt from when your opponent has knives.
For exactly the reason that we just saw.
कैसे भाई कैसे?
तो सब head-to-head, that battle that's taking place between these 2 players. Twiston. He answers back, doesn't he? Gets up to 20
nice!
on it, but
Twisted का मिल गया भाई.
Dash was just about fading. He couldn't get out of there.
And that was a really bold angle to be taking. The defenders have the advantage there almost all the time. And this lockdown is so early from Aaron. Monya can't overheat.
Offsetting of the movement. Do they want to try and punish this? They know where he's going to be isolated. Jumpy is going to be spotting him out. Bazzi has to try and bail him out here. Util drop forwards, and there we go. Swing is just perfect.
Nice.
They did
3v2.
rebound against the wall and take out Mon yet, but
VIT अंदर घुस गई.
but they have offered up the entirety of A now. This lurk timing.
अरे भाई, B खाली
He's
है.
managed to find his way deep into the back of A.
समझ गया. Alarm board बज गया, समझ गया वो.
That position is compromised. So
Fight in mid. There's something going on here. Destrian
what is occurring?
clashing with Aaron. They're walking back to back.
Yeah, I mean, just right down into sewers, watching it. And timing! Needs to be the trade. Bazzi contains. Pushed into the corner. The position is known. The flick of the wrist is there, but is there time? That is the question. He's going to be sprinting all the way with a knife out now.
Rossi has nade.
And it's not really planted. A quick tap of it right out into the open.
Nice.
It should be a slam.
Nice.
Indeed it is. SK Rossi. Safe hands from him. So that 11th round. Going to be claimed now here for Global Esports, one step closer.
Something we haven't even mentioned thus far.
Indian map देखना है भाई, Indian map देखना है.
Global Esports, from what we've been told, were not intended to play with this roster. They were intended to play with Bronski on the team.
Yeah.
And so Global Esports have like a 7-man rotating roster, but they had found the core that worked for them.
ये कैसे खुश हो रहा है?
Coming into this event. And the fact that they are now on the precipice.
Oh भाई, Sushi भाई,
True vitality. A dark horse squad from EMEA with a lot of skill on the roster. This is already impressive. Already impressive. Global Esports though need to keep their foot on the gas. You can't allow vitality to come back into it. And
कौन टीम नेपाल की है?
It's going to be their aim this time out.
Yeah, this next round though, they're taking the timeouts.
ये मोटका साला. Sushi.
Their economy is really poor here, Vitality. They can afford like a rifle or two, but it's not great. So I think Salah's going to be saying here and having.
तो स्टोर को जो चमाट पड़ा ना भाई, सही हुआ.
I don't know what you would do in this spot. This is so tough.
It's a really hard ask, isn't it? It seems like what they are opting into is half bite. Rifle in the hands of Twisted might just be good enough.
Yeah, it's a hero rifle.
Yeah, but a bunny's running.
दो के पास इको मतलब गन्स नहीं है.
That's all in the camp of Global Esports. You look at that.
पुश करने वाले हैं क्या ये लोग?
Try and offset whatever might get thrown at them.
नहीं.
Global Esports are going to be pushing a B long, but that's going to open an avenue on the map for Twisted. And with Twiston having the hero rifle, he's the player to watch here.
He's going to be trying to carve out a path for them, but Texture watching this one. Operator tries to go for the flick, now being pressured.
Nice!
And Sender wasn't watching the right angle. Still, Texture is under a lot of pressure right now, just being flooded in. And out of trap position, still, how does he claim?
But 3v3 कैसे? How?
It is even though, 3-3.
But now they've got rifles.
And yeah, they have exchanged weaponry around. Fight needs to be taken. That is such a massive one to win.
Because that also gives up the entire part of the map that the spike's been planted.
Alt गलत मार दी.
Destrian has an awful position here. He's not going to meet anybody. He's going to stay alive, but he can't spam the plant.
The wall blocks him away.
Nice, Esperossi.
Flank timing. Just
Flank time अच्छा दिया वो.
Not expecting it. And this task ahead of Destrian. Just to try and salvage this. It's an impossible one. Doesn't have any util. Not going to be watched for either side.
Nice! Esperossi ने फ्लिक लिया.
Finalizes it. Global Esports now on the precipice. One.
Red Bull मांगता है भाई, Red Bull मांगता है.
Bringing this to map number 3.
Their defense side has been so impressive on this map. 4 out of 4 pistols won, but also starting to get the rifle rounds really working.
ये कोरियन जेट है क्या? Texture Octa?
Monia playing really well too, and even when the rounds are getting
Octa, hello, तू है क्या?
they're finding the punishes and clearing these areas of the map out really well.
इनकी आवाज कम करना. मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि ये कोरियन जेट है क्या?
One more round required.
कोरियन जेट तो शोल्डाउन था.
हाँ पता है, बट ये थोड़ा ये भी इसको भी कोरियन जेट बोल रहा है. स्टार्ट हो गया.
वो कोरियन जेट की तरह खेल.
अरे पुश नहीं करना चाहिए था भाई.
Position SK Rossi. He's swinging wide right now. He's being forced back and forth. Flick of the wrist, it misses. Texture doesn't land the shot. This is painstaking right now.
पुश नहीं करना था भाई.
It's not 1-for-1.
But I think Rossi panicked a little bit. He used his ultimate in the midst of all of this. Maybe just to try and keep himself alive. That's a big tool.
Yeah, it was a big tool. Not going to be available now. Aaron. His job just to try and hold down this angle. Doesn't pay for it with his life, but the util was cleared out. His turret not going to be watched now for any space that it's gained, and it forces him to
एक खाली है पूरा एक खाली है.
physically himself. Doesn't have that util. Does have his back being watched though. See the util there with the alarm button, and Nanoswarm needs to stay alive though, and there we go, timing. Nanoswarm's popped off, and it has separated them. Split them up. SK Rossi right into the corner. Does he realize? Finally spots it. Spike drop down. And out of replay. Insanity aim one after another. SK Rossi. It was
नाइस भाई, क्या शॉट किया है भाई.
Taking them all the way now to map number 3 in this series.
जी भाई.
What a map win and what an
अभी एक और गेम
emphatic
होगा
way
ना
to
इसके
do
बाद.
it.
हाँ हाँ.
World
भाई.
close to global esports.
एस्केरोसी में कॉन्फिडेंस आ गया.
Have been
देख रहा हूँ.
completely
सारे
aside
ट्विस्टेड.
not expecting to give that map up.
भाई.
We got a game. And I have
मजा आ गया भाई, मजा आ गया. वादा किया था उसने, सुशी ने, कि अगर नहीं जीती तो अपना वो जर्सी दे देगा उसको.
But I'm so glad that Global Esports woke up after a shockingly poor display on Split. But they finally demonstrated what they're actually capable
बोल रहे हो फेरी? हेलो?
Absolutely massive obstacle, but we will be.
मजा आ गया भाई, मजा आ गया.
We're going to take a short
मजा आ
break.
गया
On the
भाई,
other side
मजा आ
of this,
गया.
of course, continuation of the
रोफी ने 4 फ्रैग्स निकाले लास्ट में. ओह
बहुत भाई क्लीन शॉट मारे ना, वो ज्यादा अच्छे.
हाँ, क्लीन शॉट मारे. हेड टू हेड मारे.
हाँ. और ट्विस्टन का कोई भी कोलैड कुछ भी था, उसका कोच को देख.
हाँ, कोच को तक ज्यादा एतरा रहा था भाई, वो गया पानी में.
भाई अभी लोटस भी जीतना चाहिए.
हाँ भाई, जीत जा लोटस, मजा आ जाएगा. टेक्सचर ने भी क्या निकाला है भाई, टेक्सचर ने. और बहुत मतलब क्या ही बोलूं, कोई वर्ड नहीं है बोलने का.
कौन है, कौन टीम में एमवीपी कौन है? क्या मैच है?
टेक्सचर ही है शायद.
नहीं, बेरोसी रहेगा टेक्सचर. और इसके बीच में कुछ ज्यादा यूनिक
फिनिशर ऑफ ही नहीं दिया भाई, मजा आ गया.
क्या मजाक कर रहा है? एक्स्ट्रा के 26 किल्स.
अरे भाई नाइस. दुआ करो भाई, दुआ करो नेक्स्ट मैच अपना जीते.
और ये भी तो
you believe in magic? Oh, well, it seems like all the GE fans definitely do as they pick up a pivotal win, tying the series up 1-1. Welcome back to the desk, everyone. Golden Boy here alongside with Mimi as well as Achilleos. And, you know, it could have gone poorly for them, but they managed to find a way. GE managed to find a way round after round, and you got to give credit to a lot of the superstars on this team. Players like Texture, players like Rossi, finding those opportunities and those moments, Mimi. What a match that was.
It was really a great game, and it started off, in my opinion, GE looked really, really rough on that attacking side. The spacing was bad. People were pushing in front of their jet player.
GE fighting, GE fighting, GE fighting.
Over with, but we get into the second half, they win the pistol and play a fantastic defensive side.
I knew they had it from the moment that they didn't drop the anti-eco. No, but you're completely right. There was a lot of roughness, but then as we got over to the defending
Twisted ना कुछ ज़्यादा over confidence हो गया था समझा.
Absolutely activated for the side.
और तेरे को पता है Twisted Texture ने जो off shot लिए ना बहुत प्यारे shot लिए हैं, बहुत प्यारे.
I mean, huge. This is why, if you can look back, he's played now 119 maps of Jet compared to 18 on Raze. He is a Jet through and through. This guy could very well be the Korean Jet of this year.
Jet, he is that guy.
Korean Jet किसको बोल रहा है?
Between both these teams on their attacking side, Team Vitality, same struggled, spacing fell off. Our Jet player is pushing in front, struggling to trade on those B-long executes. You saw it in the clip.
यो चाचा जर्सी का पैसा बच गया.
And their side execs as well.
क्या लिख रहा है भाई जर्सी का पैसा बच गया.
Yeah, actually, you know, speaking of the anchoring, I do want to give a shout out to Aaron as well, because he has been such a reliable hand for this team every single time. Put him in the midfield, he'll get you one. He puts the utility where he needs to. He's locking down these sites.
On X set, Aaron only called one side of the map, only the defense. This is where this guy thrives, and he did it again. The anchoring from him was fantastic, and same from Munye. He had a great map set.
He really did, and that was one of the more surprising things because we didn't see anybody on GE on that first map of Split, but Munye in particular was also struggling as that second controller. It was Aaron who was really the only one who was able to get anything done, and then Bazzi as well in that second half. But
shot लग रहे थे.
From him constantly coming away with 3
Maniat को ही तो मिला
MVP performance from this guy.
Well, and here's the thing, right? One of the things that we were really highlighting, especially in the split game, was the pistols. If they were able to win an eco, maybe there's a chance.
वही तो मैं कहता हूँ जरूरी नहीं कि हमेशा ड्यूलिस्ट टॉप ट्रैक करे भाई. हमारे इंडियन सर्वर में क्या मुंबई सर्वर पे ड्यूलिस्ट लॉक किया है बॉटम पे साले सब.
It felt like they cleaned up, particularly in that second half. If Split was defined by a lot of unforced errors, the nerves, your first time on stage, this map was kind of defined by
कुछ ही मतलब चल रहा है.
and showing us what they can really do.
And that just goes back
BJP
to
सब
our
chat में
interview there
BJP
with
लिख रहे भाई,
What
Lotus है
he said in their scrims, they
क्यों क्या भाई?
drop that first map, they
कुछ भी मतलब बीजेपी सपोर्टर्स कुछ भी.
and then they take the scrim from there. And that might just be what we're looking
इसीलिए बैन करवा दिए ना सारे गेम्स तो मोदी ने बैन ही करवा दिए.
Right at the end of the game there, SK Rossi doing it big on the world stage, and I'm sure everyone in Mumbai was watching and losing their mind with this, because this young man, we know the skill is there, Mimi, and this was the moment.
शॉट अच्छे थे, प्यारे शॉट थे.
SK Rossi, welcome to the VCT.
और ये
यही शॉट चाहिए ना, यही तो मैच में चाहिए, यही शॉट चाहिए.
कितने एक्साइट हो गए.
But also from that watch party that you're talking about, it means so
Octa
much
सुन
to
रहे हो?
Indian fans. This is the first time that entire
चला गया क्या Octa? Hello.
so many millions of people has had someone to represent them at an international Valorant tournament, and it is paying off.
Yeah, it is a wonderful thing to see. But let's go ahead though and move into our last map here. We're going to map 3, folks, and it's gonna be.
Let's go Lotus.
Global Esports, and they certainly deserve their moment. But let's talk about the fact that Vitality were flustered coming out of that game, and now you're going into, well, an unknown commodity yet again with Lotus.
I mean, it went from easy breezy, you know, shrugging, saying, like, I don't know what these guys are doing, you know, them feeding each other, miming feeding each other at the end of the map, to just looking completely lost in that second half. But now we go to Lotus, and we have to once again say, what is going to happen?
Prime Gaming Agent Select is about to take place here, and you see what the players have hovered before. Harbor from the Strain, maybe? That could be nice.
I would would like to see that one out of Destrian. It looks like if they do go through with it, it would be a solo controller answer to this map. For GE, they're going for kind of a simple comp. You see this on a lot of maps. The Omen there is a kind of the double dive with texture on that Jet. But for the other side, Vitality go for the fade raise. They're going to be good on their defense at Gambits. They're going to be good at stalling out, retaking with that Harbor Wall as well. But it's a solo controller. A lot of pressure is going to be on that Harbor player.
Absolutely.
Well, here we go, folks. Map 3, one more to decide who moves forward in this competition. Let's go ahead and send it right back over to Brennan Sideshow. Hope you guys are having a good time.
Certainly am, yeah. This series is delivering so far. And yeah, this final map going to be deciding who moves forward and who goes home for teams between Vitality and Global Esports. So far, honestly, and now we're heading to Lotus, honestly. Even more unknowns. We didn't know anything before we were heading into the series about these two teams. You know, we had rough glimpses, I suppose, of Vitality from the off-season. But now we really don't know what to expect.
I mean, just nothing. You can look at how you expect the compositions to work, but we've seen a range of different comps have a lot of success on Lotus.
Valorant
So I don't know
के
who to give
official
the advantage to.
Twitch के channel पे सब chat में वही लिख रहे हैं.
A lot of early pressure, it looks like, from Global Esports towards A main. There's going to be a fault line there, nice and early through the connector. The goal of this is just
इंडियन तो क्या कुछ भी लिखेंगे.
भाई ऐसे थोड़ी ना कि
Vitality willing to pivot, taking it. Controller B main actually, and now going to be using the wall to just rotate her all the way around. Try and
जब
claim a
3 backstep push करे, 3 backstep push करे.
Just to clear it out, making sure that if anybody is there, they're going to be scurrying away, but it is going to be afforded now a free plant, but it's
ए पड़ा.
Oh my goodness! Punishing this one, still running backwards, backpedaling from Sender.
रोसी तोबा खेल रहा है.
Yep, it was good, caught onto him there, and now this pressure is really on them. Sender needs to come up with the goods and just can't quite deliver it.
भाई GSC का भाई कॉन्फिडेंट पड़ गया है बड़ा.
The spike's been dropped down.
अभी खेल रहे
Vitality
लोग
were getting ahead of themselves. They took
comfortably
complete control of the connectors with the back of their spawn ahead of time, thinking that it was
तीनों 3 एंगल देख रहे हैं.
वो लोग जैसे खेलने वाले खेल रहे हैं.
अरे बफरिंग क्यों आ गई?
I mean, how do you play?
मेरे को भी आ गई.
Not much util you've got available to them other than the wall from Destrian. Let's see what he does here. Splitting up the side now. They can isolate a 5.
अरे आरिन भाई नाइस.
Whatsoever.
किसने हार्बर किसने लिया अपोनेंट में?
Time and time again from Global
हार्बर ये मैप पे
Esports, winning
एक्चुअली
another
लोग
pistol
खेलते हैं.
एक्चुअली ये मैप में पता है सबसे अच्छा क्या है? देखा जाए तो ओमेन ही बेस्ट है. देखा जाए तो
ओमन ने ब्रिम बेस्ट सकता है.
नहीं भाई, ब्रिम के स्मोक्स इतना अच्छे नहीं रहते मैप पे. ओमन की स्मोक बहुत यूजफुल है. क्विक रोटेशन मैप है भाई.
ब्रिम के लिए मिड खेलना पड़ेगा ना उसको फिर.
तू एक जगह रहेगा मैप के अंदर, तू अगले सेकंड ना अगले ही साइड पे
अगर इन लोग ये जीत गए तो इन लोग का परसों.
And I'm not even worried about this round.
पता नहीं भाई.
Probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah, what a way to curse it.
But I'm not worried
Yo,
about this round
BB
because
घुस
Global
रहे हैं.
Esports, since Pearl, just feel like they've fixed that issue.
Flooding through into it.
Nice.
Drop down to the corner.
Good. Eco round है ना वैसे तो VIT का इसलिए.
खेलो भाई.
Do some real damage here. Okay.
अरे भाई.
You should be worried, Josh.
3v3 उसको बाय करना है.
It wasn't my fault.
Kills are offered up. 3-3 still in this round now.
भाई लोग शेरिफ पे बहुत अच्छा खेलते हैं.
Versus 3, I should say, and now
पिक्स बहुत अच्छे निकलते हैं.
slowing it down a little bit here for Vitality, making sure that they wait it out.
I think Vitality's composition is usually
दोनों
going
का
to
टीम
have
सेम है
a
क्या?
lot
स्पेक्टर पड़ा हुआ है भाई सामने में. अरे
in these early rounds. They
नहीं,
can't afford all of it,
डिफरेंट है
obviously.
उनका. और उनके अंदर ड्यूलिस्ट भी नहीं है, देखना.
Global Esports should have
ड्यूलिस्ट ही नहीं है
opportunities
उनकी
to
टीम
get
में
much better
VIT के.
retakes early in the
है ना
game.
रेस
Later.
कौन?
अरे
तो
लेकिन
इधर भी तो एक ही है.
ये मैप पे फिनिक्स और रेस का डुओ बहुत क्रेजी है.
अरे VIT को सी मिल गया खाली.
तो पता है क्या?
Players are not going to
रेस और
have
फिनिक्स
any
बहुत
idea
broken रहते हैं.
whether Vitality have pushed deep.
वो लोग इतना स्पेस लेते हैं
They're
ना.
miles.
They've got it all the way up. It's always awkward, honestly, retaking
अभी खेलता.
this
मैं
C
भी नहीं
site when you
खेलता.
don't have any control of the inner workings of the map, the connectors, because you really do have to clear everything carefully. You don't know if they could have pushed up.
हेवन पे और
See
ये
Aaron.
मैप पे बहुत अच्छा है.
अरे इनको ऐसे पुश नहीं करना था यार. इको राउंड था, इजी खेलना था.
Waterfall.
Time is going to tick, but Vitality again
भाई
have
मैं
no
तेल
util,
की मैप
so
पे
no
खेल रहा
post-ban
क्या
ability.
थोड़ा
Watch to push them through. One player holding at water there. That's
Liquid
Bone
है
Cold
नेपाल.
back. They want to fight this one.
Nice.
The sheriff's in their hands. Anything
Nice.
could happen. Running gun.
Nice.
But Aaron
Oh
will
my.
out the fight eventually. Dropped down to 17 health, but
पर ये OT तक
not as clean as we've seen, at least from Pearl being able to convert those anti-ecos, but it does get converted nevertheless.
There was no
भाई
need.
बचा लिया भाई. आरिन ने बचा लिया.
Yes.
नेपाली ने बचा लिया भाई, आरएनजी कर दिया।
But yeah, global esports really important that they convert that one. And Aaron has been a rock for them to hold on to. It was Texture and Monye really dominating map 2, but Aaron was there solidly the whole time, and he pulls them through with another pistol, just like he did to open split.
Let's see what happens here with this next round. So Global Esports not opting to buy into the rifles. It's a much weaker buy from them, just continuing the bonus.
Well, enter लेते हैं।
A lot of util being used though, and that flash. Oh my!
Oh bhai, oh bhai, oh bhai, oh bhai, oh bhai, oh bhai.
Corralled into the corner, slowed all the way down. Twiston making a Vandal look like a phantom.
ये मैप
though up close. Oh my! Trigger discipline, just can't quite find the second shot.
Could have been everything, couldn't it?
Yeah, makes it dangerous for them though. Jump peek, SK Rossi taking it again. There's a bit of a Marshall moment.
Nice pick,
That's quite good, by the way.
Any damage done here is actually huge.
अबे तो भाई ये बोनस राउंड था।
रॉसी सेव करेगा, रॉसी
सेकंड राउंड में देख सिर्फ एरन अलाइव था, तो ये बाय राउंड
भाई लिख के देता हूं, मैं लिख के देता हूं,
रॉसी सेव करेगा। Rifle in his hand.
सेव ने वो
he should be playing.
हाँ, सेव सब करेगा।
Yeah, I think he wants to be playing pretty aggressively. I don't think saving the rifle here is the right move. But
exit frag निकालेगा।
looks like he just wants to take a cautious
exit frag निकालेगा वो।
And that's going to let Twist and Bone Cold Multi, that's going to let those guys off the hook.
एक निकालेगा ये ब्रीच का निकालेगा मतलब।
Not willing to give them.
ब्रीच आएगा तब तो निकालेगा।
Bone Cold ना आना तो चाहिए।
Yeah, there's always a risk reward.
क्या खेलता था एक टाइम पे।
Away from Bone Cold.
And there's a lot of ways to play Bone on this map.
मेरे को तो पहले का याद बहुत बढ़िया खेलता
था।
Okay.
कौन
दूसरी टीम का था ना?
Taking the safe approach there.
हाँ वही मेरे को याद आ रहा है कि मैंने VIT में मैंने बोन कोल्ड सुना था और एक और स्टार करके एक और बंदा था उसका स्टार कुछ करके नाम था जी यार स्टार कुछ करके नाम था इसका जो कैमिट को पूरा क्रॉस करे उसको वो बढ़िया खेला
You can't just allow all of you guys to get flashed and stuck in a corner. That was a massive miss. Texture with an operator in his hands though was such a major win condition on Pearl. And here we see it again.
It might be just that.
हाँ.
Once more, that is a heavy stack though.
बे ओडिन पता है भयंकर से कैसे ओडिन का जो एम पंच है ना बहुत भयंकर है बहुत भयंकर बंदे की मंडी क्यों
ये देखिए
ये बोला
And they are once again pushing up on the back of this drone. Now they did this prior though. They did this in the pistol round, so it should be contained in a way. And look at this vitality. Oh, they've got all four of their players ready for the approach, but it is just an absolute slaughter back and forth.
I don't think they were expecting as many of the global players to be there. Vitality have called an immediate pivot into C.
4v2, 4v2.
That's the game plan from Aaron. He wants them to run into the nano swarms.
Look at this angle.
4v3 है.
Operator in his hands, Texture.
अच्छा, उसका तो
for it. The clearance. Oh my goodness, the spacing. Just got enough, still a bit of damage done there through the war. Bone Cold dropped down to 5 health.
तमिल में कैसा रहता पता है जो तेरे पापा का नंबर
damage is being done now in his 2v3. Still can't afford to give up too much. Paranoia play. Twisted tries to spam the angle that he was expecting a player to swing through on.
बैंगलोर में बहुत मिलियन थे.
Down into that 1v3.
5 HP है भाई, क्लच तो इसको नहीं करना चाहिए.
Really pull out all the stops to be trying to win this one, and it's just not possible.
क्या ओडिन चलाया?
Available to him. So Global Esports.
ओडिन चलाता है ना भाई, पैमर लोग का याद आ जाता है.
Yeah, I think that round was fantastic. I mean, the stack from Global Esports on one side.
याद है अब हम लोग कितना छुट्टे थे जो ओडिन स्पैम करते थे याद है?
Into nanoswarms and the operator on the other side. That is really good. And also,
पता है ओडिन को काउंटर करने के लिए ओडिन को काउंटर करने के लिए सिर्फ एम अच्छा करो.
हाँ
हेडशॉट देगा ना.
आज ही तो खेला था ओडिन के खिलाफ.
And because of the weird situation that Vitality's economy is in, they're almost baited into force buying again. They've had 2 back-to-back rounds where
फोर्थ बाई किया उन लोगों ने.
This is scrap metal.
Another clash though. That's what's going to be happening here towards.
तुम लोग क्या
done. The fault line is there, but yeah, a bit of spam through the doors and when Odin's in your hands, I mean, that thing can seem like paper. Still the fight needs to be taken. Got to be careful. Don't want to give away too much. And what's going to be up for the while has the shot flash, and as he does, it creates that opening.
It's the same breach flash ruining Global Esports control over A, and it's opening up for Twiston.
Oh yeah, and just with the door opened up, that was the prior fight being taken. Lurks his way in. Zorb it over for Global Esports. I mean, Texture's doing a lot, just very disciplined there as he just tries to slowly pick up onto this angle, even a crouch peek as well. Nade pushing them back.
Twisted ने अच्छा खेला ये round.
I think if you are global esports,
Twisted ने क्या लिया है?
weapons that you
अच्छा
got.
रेज
मुझे लग रहा है सेव करेगा
Don't want to be giving away the operator.
Save क्यों करेंगे?
Yeah, if they can
Off
play
save
exits,
करेगा वो,
that
off
would be
save
beneficial,
करेगा, लेकिन
just to keep
मोनिया
damaging
शायद
Vitality's
से
economy.
hold
But
करने का बाजू में
this map, you can just exit everywhere.
ये गन उठाना आएगा, देख इसको लेगा ये।
हाँ हाँ छोड़ दिया।
A lot offered for them, but we're just to talk about this round that actually ended up happening as well. A recurring theme.
अच्छा वहाँ पे कवर नहीं था।
Like you said, Josh, that breach flash that's not being dealt with when they fight over that A main control.
It's
I think
devastating.
Vitality's comp is much better at fighting for that early A main pressure.
They have a lot more utility that they can throw into that area. Yeah, and also, I feel like whether it's players getting blinded or players having to turn away, that breach flash is ruining them. And it might be something where Texture wants to free cloud burst the area. Just so that just to block it off, so that when the flash pops, he doesn't have to worry about it. You just saw it there in the replay. It blooms kind of really high in the defender's sightline. But you could cloud
मैं
burst
सारे खेलता हूँ भाई।
if you can predict the timing.
अभी तो फिलहाल रेस खेल रहा हूँ। अभी तो रेस खेल रहा हूँ।
Alternatively, have somebody play from kind of the A side position so that they're anti-flash and they can swing, but the angles are awkward.
बेस्ट एजेंट फिनिक्स है भाई, तुम्हें क्या खेलते हो?
Round 6.
Phoenix का scene.
अरे भाई क्या ऑर्डिनरी स्प्रे मार रहा है?
There wasn't too much else behind that
फिनिक्स
one. Maybe
इतना
just a little
अंडररेटेड
bit
है ना?
of stun
अगर
that
लोगों ने फिनिक्स यूज कर लिया ना
This
ये
Odin idea from Monya, it is working.
अगर लोग फिनिक्स यूज करने लगे, ये उसको भी नर्फ कर देंगे।
अरे नहीं,
Cloud getting good usage of it actually.
फिनिक्स पे कहाँ कुछ है बे? उस साला उसका फ्लैश बहुत कम सेकंड के लिए है सबसे पहला बात। उसका अल्ट को सब नाइफ कर देते हैं।
A lot of tools to work with. You might start to see some of them offloaded.
मेरे से दिखा ना फिनिक्स कैसे खेलते हैं।
हायर रैंक की बात कर रहा हूँ, बंदे उसको आसानी से ये कर देंगे।
नहीं नहीं, हायर रैंक में ही तो नहीं होता, लोअर रैंक में छोड़ के चले जाते हैं भाई।
हेवन पे अच्छा है फिनिक्स।
याद है हमने 62 किल करे थे
हेवन पे,
याद है 62 किल।
हाँ याद है। अल्ट पे अल्ट भाई।
वही तो, अबे उसकी अल्ट बहुत जल्दी आती है, उसकी अल्ट बहुत जल्दी।
So there might be a pivot in play. Yeah, there's a Nightfall. Moves them back. No more audio cues from one yet. There's a Rolling Thunder. That's used in response. Global Esports pushing them back, but still pushing their way through. Aftershock into the corner. It's going to be causing it to be a little bit more awkward, and time is running so damn low now. The wall's still blocking off these sightlines. Plant's going to go down, and no one really disrupting this up close to the wall.
Nice!
What a shot.
Nice!
It has to be now. One after the other. The double swing, not spacing themselves out, and it is just crumbling before them.
Nice!
What was an opening? What was an opportunity for
साला हक दिया। कितना अच्छा टेक्सचर ने 2 किल लिया था।
It just crumbles. The same errors we were talking about in map number 1 just rearing their heads.
क्या कर दिया भाई?
That's a 4v2.
अब ये साथ में पीक लेते हैं ना, और हक भी दिया, दोनों ने हक दिया भाई।
दो नहीं वो हगा नहीं, पता नहीं क्या हुआ, वहाँ पे शायद कोलाइड हो गए लगता है।
हाँ ये भाई ये ऑफ एंगल है भाई, ऑफ एंगल है।
Kind of crouch peek
सीनेट के लिए बहुत प्रिफर्ड ऑफ एंगल है वो। वो इसको देख।
ट्विस्टेड कितना चिल्ला रहा है।
Not too good, but
set sender up for a 4K. Holding on and Vitality now powered up.
देखना फुल उनका वो खराब हो गया अभी।
So forcing Global Esports down.
वो जितना प्रेशर में आएंगे ना उनके लिए उतना ही अच्छा होगा।
A heavy stack over towards A.
Willing
to fight over some of that A main pressure, so they've realized the mistake prior. Like, okay, well, we don't really have the util to go pound for pound and try and fight for that.
भाई ऐसी पनौती लगाओ कि साला VIT हार जाए साले।
The A stack though, the rest of the map is so weak.
VIT कहाँ की टीम है?
पता नहीं कोई आंडू झांडू टीम है साला, कुछ भी देख उनके बाल देख भाई, आधा लाल आधा काला।
ऐसा ही होता है भाई।
उनके बाई बर्थ ऐसे नहीं होते भाई, छपरी उनका करवा लेते हैं।
अरे अपना सीन क्या है, फायरी
अपने भी करवा लेते हैं भाई। पैरोसी को देख, ये सारे गेमर लोग छपरी हो गए
भाई। क्या कर रहा है, क्या बोल रहा है?
नहीं उसने बीच में करवाए थे।
आप ब्लॉन्ड किए थे ना?
Maybe off a bit of util, but revealing a couple of these players, fault line, and a nade as well.
Okay, the pivot into B here makes more sense to me. I think
a lot has been showcased so far. I think Global Esports making it quite obvious that they've stacked this, so now
भी आ गए भाई, इनका डिसीजन देख रहे हो?
Should be a free plan, yeah, especially with the cove. It's going to be blocking.
बाजू में है साइड।
हाँ।
Damage obviously the position
किया साइड आ गया
in the first place, but playing for this retake, I think
बहुत
narrow sight lines, narrow angles as well. Could see that the pistols get a bit of work done. Dart pushes the players back now. Vitality feeling the pressure. It's definitely on. Shorty right up close. And personal still twisting. Looks to around. No one is dealing with this guy at all. Shorty in play.
ये साला शॉट ही चलाएगा ट्विस्टेड.
Looking like it could have got a bit dangerous, but no. Vitality win it out. 4 players remaining alive.
हार जाए भाई, हार जाए.
I think at this point,
कितनी बार जाए मैं ये चाहता हूँ.
7 rounds have been played. Vitality should have a really good
अच्छा अगर अपनी जीत गई तो कहाँ जाएगी?
a good attack side caller
फिर सेकंड मैच होगा.
is going to be able to give you
किसके साथ?
a lot of other good ideas for the rest of the
पता नहीं क्या नाम है, भूल गया मैं.
और अगर ये पूरा टूर्नामेंट जीत गया तो क्या होगा?
पैसे मिलेंगे और क्या?
क्या ये वही है क्या? चैंपियन ये?
हाँ, जैसे चैंपियन है उसी तरह ये लॉकिन है. लॉकिन इसका नाम है. अबे ये इंटरनेशनल हो रहा है. ऑक्टा तू कहाँ है?
And global esports have taken a timeout. That also allows Salah to talk to Vitality.
कल Sentinels और Fnatic का मैच.
And I'm concerned because global's defensive
हाँ भाई OG. Sentinels और Fnatic तो OG है भाई. उनकी राइवलरी OG है. अबे हाँ भाई डैपर को हटा दिया, स्टिक को हटा दिया, ज़ॉम्स को हटा दिया.
It's not like Sentinels का roster में. It's not a bad idea, but they don't have the tools to really execute the plan.
One of the best looks that they have showcased so far, at least, is putting that operator in the hands of Texture. Honestly, one of the weaknesses of Vitality's comp, I will say, is that this Harbor is solo controller. You have smoke, just A main and fake that you're pressuring A. So an operator is really powerful from long sidelines.
Counterpoint. What if SK Rossi on Sova ops?
Accordingly calls banata
okay. Hello India, I'm ready for it. Let's go. I mean, sure. Why not?
It's very unusual. He's probably going to have to send out a recon dart early for some control and then operate. But I mean, look at Vitality. I think they're going to go for the play that I talked about. Double blast pack with the Razor into C.
but ऐसा support रहता है.
Util being dumped through, so control of A.
Omen TP मार रहा है ना.
Immediately pivoting. They know that they're pushing up a lot of the player base. You can see a lot of the team of Vitality. Dumping a bit of utility through, and now you see it reckoning in the showstopper. Great combination. Clears out the side entirely, and this ult is a little bit really awkward there from SK Rossi. Yep, dashing away just to avoid that showstopper rocket that was right towards their spawn. But
and one of the problems is, I mean, if SK Rossi had ulted as the plant was going down, then maybe they don't get that one off.
Oh my goodness, the lurk.
It's
all just a bit hidden, isn't it? Monyet, will he be able to be aware of this? This reflank has just been brutal for them. Backstabbing them. Moving forwards though, Aaron doesn't deal with this one. Now how does this retake happen? Until after
Monyet
the corner, SK Rossi moving up. Has the operator, does he suspect the player is close? Time is running low. Texture trying to stick this now. The raw spam, the random spam. Trying to go for the quick scope, half onto the defuse. No one's dealt with Twiston. And he was just that extra layer that they needed.
Good execution from Vitality. Nice post-plant play as well. And Global Esports finding it very difficult to rotate with Rossi and kind of setup here makes it really difficult. That post-plant spot that is miles out in the open. And they're able to get that plant down because there was nobody on C. They're leaving C open super early in the rounds. I think you're probably going to see some
गेम टैक्टी है बे. देखो फिर इनके पास बाय नहीं.
And they meet too much resistance.
अबे Monyet ने उसको सुनना कैसे नहीं भाई?
Again, the double flashes up into the top corner. This time, no Texture. Nice! The Blade Storm, Monyet. Backing him up. Paranoia now, going to be ripping through, and it does land on a couple of the targets. All that util being dumped forwards. Going to be able to win out this fight. Question is, can they fight and claim over this next right? It's there, just trying to take the battle to them. Making it awkward.
Yeah, 3v3 है.
Yeah, they trade a kill but get 2 rifles for it, so it's still good for Global Esports. Double Vandal, 3v3 retake. Vitality are favored for sure, and they've got nice post-plant positions. But it's winnable for Global Esports.
It becomes really hard to try and clear out.
Multi's away where he is.
Yeah, it's revealed. On a headshot angle though, there's not going to be a re-swing. Dart push back now. Has to be aware that there could be a push, but time, again, starting to run low. He's post-plant position. There are a few players there holding it. The timing. Someone needs to start sticking this. Where are the protocols? Where are the layers? A tap onto the spike, but it's just so difficult to try and win out now. And left up to Aaron. We'll claim a rifle in the middle of all of this one, but another round tallied up now for Vitality. They're going to be the 6 on the board.
अरे वो लोग राउंड कितने राउंड जीते?
And this is where global esports
तीन राउंड लगातार जीते हैं.
setup. And you can't just do the same thing every time and expect it to work. When Vitality have got the read, I think you need to be putting pressure. Maybe you fight Sand this round, or maybe Texture opts towards C this round, or you go for a stack towards B and play retake A. I don't know. There are different options here. But the point being,
मेरे को आज तक समझ नहीं आता भाई ये कितने टूर्नामेंट करते रहते हैं.
7th round, 8th round, 9th round.
हर एक साल में 2 होता है शायद ना.
is going to be set up with the operator on C. But they've still got the Killjoy utility behind that. Might have been better off putting Aaron on B.
क्या बात कर रहा है बे साला
This is a new team, and I'm sure Aaron's scrambling to come up with the adjustments early.
Oh my goodness, Bazzi, given the timing, you can still be taking that fight though. He does back away with the aftershock, so early kill found. Pretty vital target as well, in the form of Twiston, but an instant rotation now by Vitality. They noticed that early utility wasn't being used towards a main. Chance out of not playing it, but SK Rossi gets some really good mid-round information, and that drone spots at least 2 of the players.
And there's 3 players ready to defend A.
Swarming back onto the site. Operator, Texture pushing forwards, that's a risky maneuver. Yeah, missed times, risky timings, there was a gap into the smoke. The spam.
भाई क्या था? ये इसका राउंड था.
Really play for, and the operator's going to be salvaged, picked up, backed away.
भाई इनका राउंड था यार.
Just to save for another day.
3 साल में.
Vitality looking clean. I like the pivots as they move around the map. I think one of the big things that Bone Cold's done well here is make his team quick to react.
अबे यार इनका राउंड था यार.
When they realize that there's pressure in one area of the map, very fast to immediately group and hit somewhere else.
भाई ये
Not trying to play the clock, they're just trying to play the rotation. Make sure
वही ना उसने इन्फो दे दिया था ड्रोन के थ्रू की सब सी आ रहे हैं.
अरे बाजी को चेज डाउन कर रहे हैं भाई.
Vitality overwhelmed them as that sloppiness came back into their play.
देख फेड और केजे सराउंड कर रहे हैं.
Maybe it's different in texture, ends up landing a shot. This could be really dangerous. With the nose, he can't even save the weapons into it.
No, that's brutal. Absolutely brutal. Not only do you lose all of your weaponry, but Vitality didn't have to use their breach ultimate or their Killjoy ultimate. They still have 2 enormous tools to win another round.
main से आ गया था.
On C, on B, you know, wherever they want to use them, maybe a post plan A. There are just so many options on this map for how you want to work the ults.
Steadily gaining a lead.
भाई fully को ये round भी गया.
Obviously, the map has found itself to be quite attack-sided so far at Lock-in.
9-3 वापस क्या?
So
वाह यार क्या हो गया भाई?
Yeah, I mean,
यार इंडिया का तो कोई भी जीतने दो.
4 in the pistol, I think, might be the minimum, but we'll see. Still early days, still a new map.
वो ये अच्छा timing हो सकता है.
Half buy, that's what Global Esports have been forced down to, and it's pretty obvious this pressure. That's a paranoia, but doesn't catch all of it. And the Horn has to be dealt with, which resets the aim of Texture. He can't even get a kill out of it. Nano Swarms down low into the corner. That nade, Aaron forced out wide into the open. Doesn't pay for it with his life. Could spam the common angle. No, there's a cove in the way, so even the bullets would be blocked.
Nice.
Quite interesting though. He has managed to lurk his way into a slight timing.
Scene क्या होता है?
Defense रहता है ना. Just slowing him down. Lovely siege just to delay this one. Phone call as well. Right at the back. Angles are being watched for and played for. Even that lockdown, but no, they just wade right into that common angle.
And I think at this point, the defensive ideas are reeking of desperation. Global Esports with an attempt at a sand crunch, but no one was pushing on C.
Bit half-baked.
Very half-baked.
हाँ, 3 ult है ना.
Retake के लिए needed more time in the proof and draw. Sad deflated.
Retake के लिए breach का ult.
If Global Esports can get this round, their dominance in the pistols might be able to carry them through to still make it a map out of this.
4-8 है भाई, 3 ult है उनके पास. 4-8 easy हो सकता है.
Yeah, already to flash over the top. Texture dashing forwards. There is a dart in play. No one was dealing with this one. And yet again, okay.
Bazzi used his ult.
Yeah, that was an ult to push them back. I mean, he used the smoke, I suppose.
4v4 हो गया. एक कप कहाँ मारा?
Of course, all the way into B. You can see the players have already taken up all this space. The spike though, out in the open.
देख नशेड़ी बूम बॉट को.
Contain this. It could be anywhere right now. Nightfall now being used for a fight towards A main. Smoke's going to be fading any minute now. And the fight being taken out
Nice.
They shut that one down. Have to be aware. Bazzi backing away.
Nice.
Twiston's position known, but now All down to sender. Still, looks like it should be an easy one for Global Esports.
Yeah, I think the
मैं तो खुद बोला कि 3 आउट है.
all the difference. Trade off. We take A, you get the rest of the map. Normally not a good trade, but when the spike is down and there's nowhere to pivot, Global Esports have the advantage. Good double face, making sure Sender doesn't have a crumb of it. And then 4-8 at the half. Could this still be winnable for Global?
Potential is there. Like we said earlier, it's a bit more of an attack-sided map from what we've seen so far at the tournament, but we're going to need the pistol round as we head into that second half. That's going to be the big question. But before we even get into any of that, the first half is done and dusted. Let's send it down to the desk to break it all down.
यार जीत जाए जी यार.
Thank you so much, fellas, and it was definitely
Astro से 3 kill पे यार.
For Vitality, especially at the closeout, Mimi. I mean, just undefeated until we got to the half.
Yeah, GE really struggled to shut down on their defensive side, and I think a lot of that came down to the read on the game and the way that they were playing towards A long. In, I think, like quite a few of the first 5 rounds this half, we saw this squad going for a lot of these early long fights, but against the composition that has been brought out here for the side of Vitality, it's really difficult to win that.
वहाँ पे अभी दिखाया ना रिप्ले जहाँ पे 2 लोग मरे वो बहुत गलत जगह है. वहाँ पे होना ही नहीं चाहिए था किसी को.
And then if you ever lose that fight, you're leaving so many of these gaps that Vitality's mid-round was really good at exploiting.
Yeah, I mean, the mid-round movement that we're seeing here from Vitality has also been fantastic. Just getting a sense of where these players are positioned from the side of GE. You saw that shift. It was a thrifty attempt coming through from GE. They're all stacked up on that A site, and they just get a sense of that. Immediately cut through, get onto B, get that plant down. And it was fantastic for them. Do want to take a closer look, though, at Twisted, who has been impressing. Wasn't sure how he was going to look moving over to the Raze. I actually had to flip back, and I saw that this is his most played Asian, actually, of all time, overtaking his Jet. His Jet looked very, very good on that first map. Was curious to see if it was going to be him or Mulsey picking it up, but so far he's had a pretty strong performance on that attack.
Yeah, and on the defensive side, the gambit you can have with this Raze is really good. It's, again, going to be a stronger comp. Fight early space and B. You can get a lot of value out of that nade. But here is where push comes to shove. GE, they have had a great series thus far. They have debuted, proved that India can compete on the international stage. But they're on the precipice of going home. This is where it matters most. 5 out of 5 on pistol.
VIT,
this 6-1 will be the most important.
If they can get the 6th, it would be monstrous. Bren making a mention of how so far in this tournament we've been seeing a lot of success on that attacking side. Let's see if that still remains true here for GE. And the pistol is the way that it all kicks off.
Yeah, they had found Lotus attacking or defending. Can they claw this back and pull off something out? I think Vitality was prepared for in this series to send it back over to Brennan Sideshow.
Attacking है भाई, attacking है, clearly attacking.
Let's get back into it now. Final map of this.
लेकिन कमबैक मैप है. आराम से जीत सकते. कमबैक मैप तो है ये.
Quite the display. There's that stat again. 5 for 5 so far for Global Esports with these pistol rounds, and now potentially one of the most important ones they've ever played coming up.
Attacking बहुत crazy record.
Almost looks like fake pressure towards A, but they are going to follow the flash recon play. At least initially here. Vitality have taken Sam.
Copyright लग
So a bit of a flip.
Deep position there onto C, and that's pressure being flooded through now into this B site. Sender. Smoke is just a little bit off in terms of the angle. Tried to take an early fight. Doesn't know if they pushed him. Backed away. Plan's going to get off, and this repush. They don't quite claim too many more kills, but Destron falling is a big one.
This is wonky now, though, because Vitality control every other part of the map. They're going to ambush Global Esports.
Reflank the post plants. There needs to be some plays made, and guess what, Monyet?
But he looks up low है भाई.
Handsome and easy kill in the form of Bone Cold. Aaron's reflank is everything, but doesn't buy this time. Just back the bullet, and it does the job.
Oh, flanks on flanks for Global Esports.
The IGL just doing the most right now for them. Last player known, Twiston is finished, and
Texture Twiston का अलग ही चल रहा है.
Beautiful stuff, and it sets off Global Esports on the right foot to try and.
हाँ देखा भाई. Shot मारा है.
Even if Global Esports end up going out of this tournament in the first round, I think they've showcased that their pistol rounds at a minimum can make matches happen. Lisa, the head coach, and Aaron, the IGL, have cooked up some really cool stuff.
ये गमछे वाले बाबू निकल यहाँ से.
Flank there was good. The push into spawn was a nice idea too. It's not simple. There are layers. Okay, are they aware that Twiston went for this push before? Because Vitality are doing the same thing again.
Close stun.
Nice
That's
boy.
it. Looks like he wants to clear it. Yeah, stunned up. That was
Nice, nice. 2 picks easy.
Good work. Almost taken off the head of Azzy, but yeah, they show a lot of patience with clearing that one.
We saw Carmen Core run the same kind of play.
Nice, back कर दिया.
That one worked a treat.
बहुत HP
So
train
good play from Global Esports to clear that out. What is this?
Yeah,
The Harbor Circle of Doom.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of angle, I suppose, that a player could be wading in and out of, but Paranoia rips across, so doesn't seem like.
Rossi भाई, ये wait कर रहा था.
चलो इसके रॉसी ने थोड़ा ego
There
fracture
we go, nice and easy. Another flawless. Prime Gaming.
Nice, nice, nice.
Keeping all those weapons going.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for Global Esports to have a really dangerous bonus round because they have just hit him with the Prime Gaming flawless.
मैं भी बुलडॉग ही बाय करता हूँ.
Any opportunity the global players have to get their confidence up is going to be dangerous for Vitality. We saw that momentum build on Pearl and Vitality could not stop it.
बुलडॉग ओपी है.
Obviously the halves flip
Bulldog
here.
Spectre
Now has to do it on the
स्पेक्टर नहीं चलाता, मैं फेंक दिया भाई. स्पेक्टर अब चलाता ही नहीं मैं. Second round में.
Careful of though. Vitality, this comp was so good at punishing this and looking at the nade. It's actually landed intentional for any sort of player that might be TPing behind that wall.
Yeah, it was actually a C's nade as well. There was a crazy lineup from Mulsi.
Yeah, so that's a set play, anticipating that Munyet on the Omen would be TPing across, but no one deals with the haunt. Lights him up through the wall, and it offers that easy kill, but you do get
4v4
for one.
हाँ, बस बोनस निकल
I
जाए.
think this breakable wall is such an interesting dynamic on Lotus.
Bonus निकल गया
Whoever
ना, पूरा game
controls
जीत
this
जाएगा.
A segment of the map probably wants to break.
सी बस केजे होल्ड कर रही है.
So the Vitality players don't have any info about whether they
इसके रोसी रिवील का वेट करेगा.
very passively in the 4v4. And from our point of view, we see that Sender might well be under a bit of pressure.
टीम आ गई है, accordingly खेल लेंगे.
Zart bounces into the back of the site. It's going to be broken, and there is a wall in the face of some of these players. An instant pivot now, though, moving their way into B.
Another gorgeous lurk timing,
Remain and Aaron
अरे नहीं यार, यहाँ पे.
A second too early.
Yeah, the timing just slightly off, and as usual, the Bone Cold is just offering out to them. It's doing quite a lot. There was a cove.
अरे यार 2v3 है.
But again, feels a bit awkward once more. A bit of panic maybe just being injected into this round, and Sender, he could just anchor this fully for them. Turret dealt with right at the back, and making sure that he can't be pushed.
Get this kill,
It's down to SK Rossi. But Sender again, just that off angle.
Decent था भाई, bonus था.
Damage done though on the bonus. And remember that is the goal for Global Esports, is to keep
निकलता तो मजा आता. निकलता तो मजा आता ये राउंड.
There's going to be, you know, one of the players had to rebuild.
प्रेशर बनता, मजा आता.
प्रेशर क्या भाई, पूरी ये वो लोग फुल डिप्रेशन में चले जाते हैं.
वही तो हारना चाहिए था उनको साला. वो अगर केजे निकाल लेते ना ट्विस्टेड का वो पिक अपना गेम था.
Can A-Ring get an ult orb and get some kind of lockdown play going perhaps? SK Rossi with an operator.
Yeah,
the attacking Sova op. I haven't seen this since Prime Wardell days.
It works out, I suppose. Listen,
there we go.
Angle watch, Sender. Either trying to go for a jump pick or what, we'll have to see that in the replay. But now you're seeing all
अरे नहीं,
no
अरे.
one was watching that angle, but the dart reveals his position, and Texter's good for it. Just slightly just moving around there. Sight going to be gained.
Another good plan position. Oh no, Bazzi actually wants to go for a safe plan.
Drops back now, and you're seeing this lockdown being used. The backside lockdown. See if they can get this space, but there's a contact in. Fight being taken. Twiston opting into this.
3v2 situation.
Oh my goodness, and the fault line, Twiston. Oh my word, did he get detained there? Looks likely.
Nice time waste.
Just couldn't quite satchel his way out of there, but there's no punish. Still, the plant goes down, leaving Twiston alive. Might be a costly error.
But it is a safe plant, which is a bit more difficult to work with. You can see A-Ring's in a spot to swing up
into the corner, Prowler as well. Monye needs help. Going to be TPing away, actually.
Nice TP देगा, इसीलिए मैं कहा था इसमें ओपन अच्छा है.
Now, control of water is going to be so important to just hold this one. Sees into the back, double swings there. It's beautiful. And the Seas catches on to two. Just
नहीं, आई ये क्या कर दिया?
Moments like that just getting so dangerous, I said it. Twiston was detained, but they just did not want to try and push it to punish.
Shit, yaar.
Yeah, maybe that's going to bite them.
Detained हुआ तो उस टाइम push करना था.
Retake there looking so good. That duo that has just been so
यार ये round बहुत important था.
of Twiston and Mulsi. The duelist duo, if you want to call it that, but obviously Mulsi playing Fade here. But the way that they're syncing these things up, sees the nade, the swing timings. They have got such great synergy between them.
magnificent.
वे 3v2
That
था.
puts Global Esports firmly on the back foot.
Yeah, this is a really rough position now for them.
वो चूतिया भाई झरका रहा है
Is
वो.
in hand, and
भाई
SK
वो
Rossi
एमपी
picking up
स्टैंड
a
वाला
hero
वो
rifle.
डांस स्मोक कर रहा है पागल की तरह.
So it has to be the playmaker. Vitality though pushing forwards. It's a
Arre
heavy
bhai.
take towards the front side of
क्या है ये?
Any attempt of a punish is just offset immediately, losing two players. It's a pivot though. Global Esports moving forwards. It's still the right
Pressure में आ गए.
Be the playmaker. A difficult side for them to take fault line into the back of it.
अबे एक दूसरे को कवर ही नहीं कर रहे.
Is there, but the wall blocking them off. They need to move past this. Playing forwards deep onto the site. Rossi wins the first duel for them. First step of the miracle plan. Tries to take the second with a wider swing. Dealt with. Flash timing ever so off.
अबे यार गया.
Just a classic. There's only so much you can really do.
फिर भी अच्छा था इसको अच्छा.
I love that play with the Harbor Cascade. Pedestrian using the cascade and the push out of B.
अबे 11 स्कोर हो गया भाई ये तो देखो.
It blocks off the long sight line where you might be able to get punished by somebody in spawn.
अरे वो राउंड नहीं है वो राउंड.
They're slow. So it's really difficult to help this player that goes slow.
हाँ वही वो राउंड बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट था जिसमें एस्केरोसी ने ऑफ से पिक लिया था.
Going through molasses.
ऑब्वियस सी बात है ना उस एंगल से कोई ना कोई पिक लेगा. ऑब्वियस सी बात थी.
उसको कवर नहीं करते भाई.
वही कवर करना चाहिए था.
तीनों एक एंगल देख रहे
हैं. So Global are going to be able to get a full buy. But if they don't win this round, it is game over. It is goodbye India.
Substitution रहता है अगर कोई शिफ्ट
So this is the round that everything hangs on. And it's brutal, man. Even if Global get into a plant, all of the retake ultimates are available for Vitality. I don't know how you cook up a favored round situation here.
Seems so difficult.
Just in case के लिए
6-11 being that scoreline, Vitality on the cusp, being able to take away the series, take away the map.
यार वो राउंड खराब हो गया इनके साथ. इनका लकी साथ नहीं दिया.
Slow down हो गए वो लोग अभी थोड़ा. Cook up a plan.
I think it has to be around texture. If texture is going to be using his knives, you want to put him in a spot to capitalize on that early on. And so either you want to be dashing him on top of the bank on A, playing inside his smoke and then swinging out of it with a flash, or I think you want to be sending him fast into C with an updraft dash and seeing if you can overwhelm send. I think those are the two best options for getting value out of your jet.
आर्मरेस्ट के बिना नहीं खेला जाता भाई.
I mean, you look at the positioning on the mini-map and this looks almost exploratory towards B early on. Maybe they're planning to use a cloudburst and connect with their C players.
But again, SK Rossi has been afforded this operator.
It's strange, isn't it? But it's not just faith. It means that he's going to be disconnected from his team and can't use the recon or the dart to set up Twister. They're splitting their win conditions and it might be a compromise.
उसने हाफ शील्ड लिया वैसे तो फुल शील्ड लिया ही नहीं SK Rossi.
The name of the game in a rolling thunder. They want to punish this one, and SK Rossi the nade into the corner. Can't move anywhere, still alive for now. Where's going to be dealt with? And he is finally the spray.
कोई नहीं दिया कवर SK Rossi को मरवा दिया भाई.
Vitality grab hold of the tempo, never allowing Global Esports a moment
वही ना.
to print their pace on the map.
There needs to be an instant response here from Global Esports. You're seeing it.
क्या उठाइए.
Jayrin, a critical kill for him. Late lurking into mid, finds his mark.
He's been good on them, hasn't he? These lurks have always found value from Aren, and it's a better plant position now.
What is the play here? One yet. So close to the smoke, just about to fade. He's pushing forwards into it, and it's a running gun. Deep into the play, he dash forwards to try and disengage here. Yuto being held, a bit of running gun, and somehow Aren wins that one. It is so damn awkward, but it's down to that 2v2. Wall blocks the sight line, Cove as well. It needs to be spammed for. The Blaze-Storm just not catching it, and Texture forced to spam, forced to try and find the fight, but he can't do it. Stuck all the way through. Vitality find themselves now on series point.
अबे SK को क्यों लेनी है SK Rossi को भाई?
अरे इतना आगे क्यों?
Any mistakes from Global Esports, and they are gone.
अरे ये मैप ही टट्टी है भाई, बहुत गंदा मैप है.
Buy doesn't look its best, but they're still going to have rifles. One last desperate run for Global Esports. But Vitality look like they've done the important work.
I mean, this is them in the driving seat. 3 big ultimates to their name. The util combos this time. Lay it into A main, doesn't grab any kills. Dash forwards, Manel actually sticking this ultimate as well. He's deep into the back line. Position's known though, Multi's going to be backing away. He does dodge that paranoia, but it's creating an awkward timing right now. What does Multi want to do, holding the edge of this smoke? Meanwhile, Global Esports not wasting any time with this kind of pressure. That's going to be the aftershock, pushing them back out of the way. Fight needs to be taken right up close and personal. It is traded though, but still pound to pound. And it's all down to Texture. 1v2 to keep his team in it. Just to try and survive. Texture up in the side, dashing forwards, dodging that showstopper. He knows where the positioning is. Spike in his hands, a tap of the plan, needs to force the fight, but a double-up position is there. Vitality safe, hands for them. 13-6 in the scoreline. They have sent Global Esports on.
Fuck.
Global Esports definitely made them work for it, but it is a win on the board for Vitality. I think both teams demonstrated some really cool stuff in this series.
ये मोटे-मोटे भाई.
Split looked really well thought out.
अबे इनको पुश करना चाहिए था वहाँ जब डिटेन हुआ था साला वो रेस.
Push on Lotus from Vitality. The breach up to isolate SK Rossi in those final couple of rounds.
क्या बोल रहे?
नर्ड है सारे.
सब नर्ड्स है, सब गीक्स है भाई.
But also when you look at Global Esports, there were so many doubters who just thought this team was a
ठीक है भाई.
thrown together at the last minute.
SK Rossi खुश है. ये लोग भी खुश है. पहला टूर्नी था इनका.
पर नहीं बेस्ट ऑफ 3 है कुछ.
अरे तू चुप हो गया ना. बेस्ट ऑफ 3 भाई 2 मैच जीत गए ना.
अरे बॉटी ऐसा नहीं मतलब और 2 मैच.
ये देख इसको बहुत मजे कोच को.
चूतिया है भाई ये. बेली फैट फुला के है ये.
भाई कैसे जा रहा है वो कोच. इतना डिसरिस्पेक्टफुल है भाई. हाँ एक मैच क्या जीत गए. खुश हो रहे.
उससे हार जाएगा ना जो अभी नेक्स्ट मैच जिससे होगा.
हाँ ना. ये देख बहुत खुश हो रहा है. पीस भाई. ये तो थोड़ी अनएक्सपीरियंस टीम के सामने क्या जीत गए. बहुत फ्लेक्स मार रहे हैं.
2 इंडियन टीम को खिलाना चाहिए था. अयान को क्यों नहीं खिलाया साला. सिर्फ एसके रोसी खेल रहा है
भाई. डेथ मेकर को खिलाना चाहिए था. उसका एम बहुत ओपी है.
अपना इंडिया का है वो.
हाँ भाई उसका
वो था
बेस्ट टीम है.
वो टीम में था. इनके टीम में था ग्लोबल स्पोर्ट के.
हाँ मेन रोस्टर पे था भाई. मेन रोस्टर पे बेस्ट प्लेयर था एक टाइम पे.
अबे मतलब ब्राजील इनके साथ उनका नाम दिया हुआ है उसका.
क्या बोलूं भाई उसको.
ये टेक्सचर भी अच्छा खेला बट मैं क्या बोलूं इनका लक साथ नहीं दिया
भाई. वो एक राउंड हार गए ना उसकी वजह से. वही पूरा गेम मैच फकअप हो गया उधर.
वो गेम चेंजिंग मैप था वहां पे. ये जो 2v3 जो क्लच हुआ ना बहुत गंदा क्लच.
ये वाला देख. ये वाला.
हां यही वाला.
भाई कैसे
कर दिया. कौन नेक्स्ट मैच देखेगा.
ट्विस्टेड हर बार 2 को कोलैट नहीं लिया है.
अबे हमारी टीम चूक गया. इन्हें कोऑर्डिनेशन आता ही नहीं है.
हमारी टीम क्या वो सिर्फ एसके रोसी खेल रहा था ना. एसके रोसी का वन टैप देखने.
एसके रोसी भाई ऐसे बोल रहा है जैसे कि अच्छा खेला.
कोई है ही नहीं.
मतलब कौन सी इनकी टीम में ऐसा लग रहा है एसके रोसी ऑफ लेकर उधर क्यों चला गया.
वो ए कितना वो डोर के वहाँ पे चले गया अकेले. वहाँ पे कुछ कवर ही नहीं था. देख ट्विस्टन के बारे में बोस्ट कर रहे हैं. अच्छा खेला लेकिन वो भाई.
हाँ
चलो जी भाई क्या बोले.
जीतना चाहिए था यार. डिजर्व करती थी बात.
ग्लोबल ई-स्पोर्ट जीता ना भाई. बहुत हाइप आता भाई. बहुत ज्यादा हाइप आता. तू शायद से लाइक अगर सोच ग्लोबल ई-स्पोर्ट्स ना ये टूर्नामेंट जीत सकता है. लाइक टूर्नामेंट नहीं आगे जाके थोड़े बहुत गेम जीता रिस्पेक्ट कलेक्ट किया ना शायद से इंडिया में गेमिंग भी डेवलप हो जाए. क्या पता. लेकिन ये वाला तो नहीं था टूर्नामेंट का. ए फायरी देख तो सही. हैंड रेस्ट है नूबी.
क्या
हैंड रेस्ट है देख. कुछ भी बोले रहे जा रहे.
तो ग्लोबल ई स्पोर्ट्स में दोबारा आएंगे कि नहीं आएंगे ये लोग मैच खेलने.
पता नहीं. देखते हैं. पता नहीं आगे जाके क्या होगा. उनको क्वालिफायर्स खेलने पड़ते हैं.
करती थी भाई. जेई ने हगाया भाई. एक दूसरे को कवर ही नहीं दिया.
हाँ कवर का वही मेन दिक्कत था. जैसे ऑक्टा पे बोलता हूँ ना. ऑक्टा पे मैं ये एंगल दिख रहा हूँ तो ये एंगल देख. भाई वहां पे जब एस्केरोसी ने ऑफ से पिक लिया था तो उसको लेफ्ट से कवर देना चाहिए था. कोई उसको कवर नहीं दिया.
जब ये सी पे घुस रहे थे ना.
हाँ वही वाला. वो ऑब्वियस सी बात है वहां बंदा छुपा हो.